Hi everyone, hello. Thanks for joining us. This is CPL 6 Grand Finals cast again, just getting my brain sorted and allocated. Welcome everyone. This is Grand Finals, day two. Joining us today is Saint Zero once again. Thank you for joining us. Today we're covering Tier 2 play. I think it's all of Tier 2, is it? I'm pretty.
It's almost all of tier two.
Yeah, I
There's
think.
not. I think there's one match that's going to be done tomorrow. We kind of kept all the days around the same amount of length of time, so
Mm.
that way casters aren't getting burned out of control. It's going to be most to tier two tonight, and then tomorrow's going to be finish up tier two and most to tier one, and then we're doing a finale closing out the end of tier one where we got for 2-0. So it's going to be a good time. It's we don't want anyone to be casting it for like 6 hours or anything, so we split it up to making it fair for the casters.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it should be another good series. Again, following on from yesterday, with hopefully we'll have equally castable content today as well, following on from this. But yeah, like I say, today we're covering mainly majority of tier two, and this is Team IKEA build orders versus Amigos. I guess we'll have a look at who we've got on screen now, and we've got starting off the game. We've got Zinni versus Gathang, Sergling versus Yote Splash, Yavola versus Ruzo, Slayer versus Balansaci, Bale versus Ashen, and Bug versus Mean Seeds. We can see here that unlike yesterday, there is actually some Prowess players, so we're gonna have a bit of variety other than PVZs all the time, really.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be a good time. We do get some Protoss. I'm happy to hear that. It is. We are continuing from yesterday. The scores have not been revealed just yet. So to give us the update, do you have the scores from yesterday posted anywhere?
I don't. That's the one thing
Well,
I
well,
forget.
that's okay. That means we can just say it loud and proud. We finished up tier three with
Mm.
Team IKEA taking a small lead, like having 3 points compared to Amigos two. But anything can still happen. We got a lot of games ahead of us.
Absolutely, absolutely, and you can see on screen today we've obviously got the scores for each match, so we can kind of keep things tracked as we go through as well. And we'll keep you posted by the end of the cast about where those final standings set up. And yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a scene for this overall score because I'm lazy and I completely forgot. But it's the way things go sometimes, unfortunately. Yep. See you guys joining us in chat. Hello, thank you for joining us. So, I guess we'll kick things off with the first games then between Zinni and Gathang. It's gonna be good old PvP, and I'll be relying on knowledge. So let's get things underway.
Yep, sounds good to me. We're gonna get started off. Can't wait to cast some more StarCraft tonight.
Oh no, absolutely. Yeah, I think there's no greater way to uh, finish off an Easter weekend or a bank holiday weekend over here in the UK, at least. Anyway. So in the top right we have Zinni, spawning as the red Protoss, and in the bottom left we've got the dark blue Protoss, is Gathang, and yeah, again, got the same maps as yesterday, so we've got Eclipse first, then moving on to Polypoid, and last was Sylphid, I want to say. It was in the Sylphid. I can't remember.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
it
was
was.
Selfie because we don't have no Shakura's Temple. There's no
Uh,
circuit breakers. No dark color tile sets other than for a little bit here on Eclipse. No big deal.
no, and we've got that variety again of a two-player map, four-player map, and a three-player map. So let's see what these players want to do.
Yeah.
Again, my PvP knowledge is lacking, shall we say? So I will be leaning on you heavily here. So how's things work for you in this matchup? How do you take things?
Well, I mean, don't rely on me. My PvP. I thought it was nice, and then I lost in the playoffs when I played. So you know what? Maybe it's not nice. Maybe it's not as nice as I thought. But typically there's the old school way to think about it that has it's kind of like a little triangle of build orders that's like you're getting an early expansion or you're getting a lot of units and then you get, it's like there's like a check for detection. It's like,
Mm.
are you going DTs? Are you skipping detection? So you tend to see a lot of gateway and robo openings because they get you enough units to stay alive. You get those reavers, which are so robust early on, and then you
Mm.
get observers, so DTs can't kill you for free. But there's definitely other builds you can see. 10, 12, 2 gateway kind of play is pretty popular right now, which that looks like what Gurthang's doing. So
Absolutely.
mixing it up here. And actually, Zini doing the same thing. So we're gonna see different kind of openers. Not a rush to tech, but still definitely has the option to take a gas, get a cyber core reasonably early. This just gives you a little more muscle early on, force your opponent to know how to deal with zealots.
So if both players going for 2 gateways here early on, will there be this awkward zealots meeting in the middle of the map and attacking each other, or does one player tend to be the aggressor in this regard, or what?
It really depends on where you want to go from here. You can do 2 zealots into an expansion. You can also take the gas. Now, Gurthang doing a gas steal, I don't love
Yeah.
it. I really don't, because your opponent made 2 gateways. They're making zealots. Like,
Yeah.
they're already gonna make them. The simulator will die reasonably fast, but it does slow down the gas time. You can see Gurthang already took their own. So you're kind of forcing Zini into doing an expansion kind of build, which would typically be you're getting a Forge, you're getting an early Nexus. The Forge is your detection against DT play. And you're just trying to survive until you get your eco up.
That makes sense.
But he's gonna have to kill this assimilator. Otherwise, Gurthang knows exactly what's going on here. It's gonna be a little bit annoying to deal with. That first Zell going across the map from Zini, you're just kind of eliminating any chance of anything weird happening. It looks like it attempted a mana pylon, but didn't get placed in a spot that actually stops anything. So you see immediately canceled for Zini, not really getting anything done. And you can see a Forge on the way for Gurthang. Even though he got the early gas, that's a little unusual.
This is yeah, quite a strange build here. Obviously, this Zealot coming in and will spot everything that's going on. Should have tabs on everything. Like you say, just no secrets at this point for either player. And actually, this probe's still alive in the base as well. If that survives on top of everything, but yeah, we'll have to see how things go off in that regard. So, like you say, the kind of being forced a bit into maybe an early expansion build here for Zini. Like, is that something? I don't know. It feels like very strange to not strange, but hard to do, hard to expand. Whereas like,
hard to expand is exactly the word you're looking for here. You see a little bit of a zealot fight happening. Is he trying to be aggressive, but the defender's advantage for Gurthang allows him to deflect this without too much issue. He started to build up a decent amount of gas. Actually built a cannon for the extra defense, so Gurthang, while being proactive, got that early gas steal, trying to be proactive here. They got early gas, but didn't take a cyber core. They cut a lot of probes. You already see a 7 probe difference Zini favored because Gurthang is just building this extra defense, which honestly he didn't need to. He didn't need this extra defense. So Gurthang doing some wild stuff here, but I'm not sure how planned this all is, but he's actually going for the style I was talking about. You get a lot of these zealots. You can see 5 Gurthang zealots on the map. And then he slams out an Nexus behind it. You have enough muscle to kind of get you through a little bit early on. And some of the plays you would do against this early Nexus, you need a gas and tech for. So the fact that he got the gas steal off, maybe this is planned. It just, it looks really unusual to me. But everything still is working out pretty reasonable. Zini's going to get a Forge of their own, probably expand behind it, but they have such a worker lead. It's kind of ridiculous if you want to look at it.
Absolutely. The simulator finally does go down, so that's going to allow Zini to finally get up his own gas behind this. But yeah, see some zealots now moving into Zini's base, but it doesn't feel like it's going to be able to accomplish too much. A few zealots not engaging properly, and others coming down, and yeah, might get by the way here. We'll have to see. Zini just chasing things away, and yeah, these zealots are going to have to go home or at least stay outside and spot for move.
Well, you don't need to even do anything. Gurthang should be thrilled right now. Moved across, saw an equal number of zealots because Zini got reinforced to get the 5 zealots, and got forward far enough to see there's no Nexus. So there's an investment in a Forge. Your opponent's making the same kind of units you are. You can even see back in the base, Zini actually, this is the more defensive play you're used to seeing. Getting a shield battery just in case things go wild and you have to be ready to defend. But Gurthang bought plenty of time. The Nexus is up and running, or yeah, it just finished up, so should be able to transfer some probes over there and get that online. But the Cyber Core is working, spinning for that Dragoon range upgrade. And Zini's not tremendously far ahead in response. Like, he's starting to work on Dragoons, but didn't get the Dragoon range yet. No expansion, looking like finally about to go down. So, very different opening between the two, but this work account still has me so scared. That could mean so much more than you ever realized.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, like in all mirror matchups, work lead is such a huge thing, such a huge advantage, really, and that, you know, it's a few probes difference, a few drones or anything like that, it can all spiral out of control very, very quickly. But with these two Nexus, you know, Gothang might be able to build up back to where Zinni is, and that they might weirdly balance out. We'll have to see what goes on, really.
I don't think you should be able to catch up too much, but you are seeing a tech choice. Gurthang starting to work on +1 weapons, which doesn't mean a lot, but a Citadel's on the way. So Templar will be a quick tech. It could be an opportunity for DT, force your opponent to have some detection, which he saw the Forge at the front wall. I don't like going DTs here. It could stop any kind of attack because it forces observers to keep an attack going. But I like the early Templar or just getting a lot of Zealot legs, because it makes these Zealots already made useful, and then you're going to go towards Storms. You can kind of bypass Reavers, like make do with the build and how it went through. And you do see the probe count for Gurthang. It's catching up a little bit, nothing too crazy, but Zinni's moving a probe out to the side. I wonder if you're going to take a fast third base while Gurthang's all turtled up.
Absolutely. And most of the PvPs I've casted, I actually never see the game get to a third base. This is quite interesting, really. It seems to be, players dying before the 7-minute mark. So this is going to be the longest I've casted up to this point, really. But so I don't know. Zinni has obviously got the probe lead and now transferring workers, so he will cement this advantage. So how do you think Zinni should play things out from here? Obviously, getting up his own Citadel and stuff like that. So do you think this is just to sit back and take the economic advantage and just play things out?
Well, the players in the game don't know how far things are different because there hasn't been any action between the two. Bazzini's up like 20 supply already. Absolutely. It's pretty ridiculous. Gurthang's going to poke forward, see how many Zealots are made, and should realize I don't want to take this. Even without that cannon there, you really wouldn't want to take this fight. No, Bazzini does have one Zealot out on the map too, so that could be some easy scouting info. But still, like, as Zinni, if you got an observer and got to your opponent's base, like, I'm way up on workers, I got more units than you, like, you don't have a lot of extra gateways or anything, like, Gurthang, like, when we're looking at it with that, we're omniscient, we see everything. Yeah. What's his advantage right now? He's gonna have slightly faster storms, I guess. Well, actually, now notably faster, because Zinni gonna stop in for the robo, not gonna keep being greedy and not getting detection.
No, absolutely. Yeah, this is quite interesting. There we can see that the robo obviously finishing as well, and probably pump out some observers and we'll give him some vision of the map, and actually Gurthang getting up his own third base as well. This is long before Zinni.
Yeah, well, I mean, Zinni got the probe in position. I actually don't mind that at all. Get it out there in case you start getting contained, you won't be able to get it out. You don't have to rush to slam the Nexus down. You don't have to do any kind of stuff like that. So everything seems pretty reasonable here. Both players buying a lot of time, starting out on more gateways behind everything as well. Storm's about to finish up, but there's not a lot of Templars made, but still, Gurthang's got that tech advantage now. But Zinni's army, like, that's a big supply lead considering there's been no actual fights. And it looks like he's going to start moving out here as Zealot legs are nearing completion.
Absolutely. This is, like I say, this is quite strange because there's not been huge shifts within each player, and the fact that there is a now 33 supply lead, it's, I don't know, Zinni's macro seems to be really, really kicking in, and really good testament to his macro skill, I would say.
Well, it's just that probe lead really snowballing out of control. It made such a difference in this because the units are so expensive here. Oh, if he can pick off those 2 Templars, this could be massive. This, good Storm goes down, does a lot of damage, but this isn't drones or Hydras. You don't melt the units away like this. The one Templar's going to try to get away, and that goes down. There's no units here to defend, and Zinni can attack forward. He's going to break through his cannons. Probe's getting pulled immediately, trying to defend this. Reinforcements for Gurthang being pulled back, trying to defend, but Zinni just has so much stuff here. Big damage, and he's got reinforcements behind this. This might be very critical damage.
Absolutely, and even if he stabilizes off the back, there's so many probes going down, so much. There's Templar going down as well, and the damage is only going to increase here for Zinni as things go on.
Yeah, that's a great little counter move. Caught some of the Gurthang units in the middle of the map too, so that's why there's no real reinforcements here to defend. You see things are trying to get pulled up out of the gateways up at the top. If this Templar can survive long enough to get his Storm energy, he does not, unfortunately. So now, Dark Templars, this is the kind of thing, it'll slow down the attack because there's just no mobile detection for Zinni, as well as talking about not having that early robo, not having the observers. But DT's going to do a decent amount of work. There is actually an observer, though. I don't know when that got made, so never mind. These DT's not going to be enough to get the job done, unfortunately. The army's slowly getting dwindled away from Zinni, but still quite a significant amount here. No reinforcements behind it, but you can see that third Nexus does get taken. Big probe damage done. This attack from Zinni really put themselves in a great spot.
Absolutely, yeah. Even though it looks like Gurthang will stabilize here, like, the damage has been done like 29 probes to 53. Like it's only going to get worse and worse. And you can see a few extra reinforcements coming out. But yeah, Zinni doesn't have to do anything in this sort of position. As soon as, even if these forces do get picked up, he can just sit back and transfer more probes to his third, and yeah, really just snowball things even further.
Yeah, everything looking great for Zinni right now. He didn't actually add on a lot of gateways. That'd be the only advantage everything has. But since he lost so much economy, the Nexus actually goes down. I thought things were gonna cleaned up before it actually got killed, but that's pretty big as well. So the Nexus down. Should be able to camp that low ground. A free robo to get killed off, so you know there's no detection available. Can't make any observers that aren't already on the map. So there's definitely a lot of choices for Zinni. The Temple Archives just get finished up. They can have shuttles, they can make reavers, they can do whatever they want here. And that of shuttles up on the top side, it's going to find that third base, and then Gerthang's only hope is probably going to get foiled really quickly.
Oof. Yeah, I was going to say the only thing really remaining is this third base, but like you say, it doesn't even really matter at this point on top of the production of Gerthang, and you know, these zealots will come out, but there's so little here, unfortunately, and now we see this shuttle finally going to go in, and yeah, like you say, just unfortunately finish off all these probes that are here, and let's see how good these scarabs are.
Oh, that's brutal.
Their
pro's not gonna get out of that third base under siege now, and you can see Zinni's still attacking the front too. Not gonna lose control of that, but whenever they want to back off, that third nexus easy kill. They got their third base established. Started adding gateways behind as well. A decent storm, but it's a drop in the bucket at this point, considering how far behind Gerthang is.
Absolutely, and like I say, there's more production now coming down for Zinni, so I guess the one thing that was missing from this, but you know, these forces, I'm going to try and pick up the third base, but it's a shuttle. They can just pick up this reaver and fly away, fly into the main, and just carry on wreaking havoc.
Yeah, I would actually like to see that. You can see he's actually out of scarabs. He was scarabing the Nexus, that takes so long to do. A DT does come up. He's got to notice, does save the Reaver from the DT. It's enough to save the third base Nexus, but still. Zinni, whenever they want to just focus on macro, like you can see things are getting reinforced a little bit sloppily here. They're not really consolidating an army. So all you gotta do is use this advantage. Like you shut down a base, you completely stop the mining at another one, and you have plenty of production. Just sit back at home, you don't do go crazy. Taking a little bit of a fight in the middle of the field. This Reaver trying to get some damage done. Does get saved just in the nick of time. And you can see this is why Reavers are so good in this matchup. They just get a lot of opportunity to do big damage. Big reinforcement wave from Zinni behind this. And Gerthang, I mean, he's got some basic ground forces, but he's not even making the splash damage anymore. This is going to be harder and harder to hold as the game goes on.
I guess one saving grace is that Gerthang does still have an upgrade advantage, but again, it doesn't really matter. The supply lead is so monstrous at this point, and you know, Zealots versus Dragoons, Zealots going to take that absolutely every time. It's very, very hard to scout, and Zealots with legs.
I mean, even the upgrades in this matchup really don't matter that much. I've seen games that it's like you see like 2-0 upgrades for nothing, and it doesn't matter. It's about like what the unit composition. It's about a good storm or a great concave, much more than, because it's not like it's not critical. It's not like Zealots versus Lings or tanks for tanks or any of these kind of critical upgrades. It's helpful, but everything just has so much health that it doesn't really matter that much.
Absolutely. And yeah, even Zinni now taking a fourth base at the bottom, which I don't know, it's just adding insult to injury at this point, really. And I don't know if Gerthang ever spots that, he may leave. But yeah, this is really tricky. I'm like going to try and maybe transfer some probes now out and push out these Dragoons to, you know, kind of break out. But there's such a huge force, another huge force moving across the map for Zinni here, and as soon as this third base gets taken down, you can see the Scarabs being dropped already. I mean, the Reaver being dropped already. So that's going to be an unpleasant surprise when those probes arrive. And yeah, there we go. And send them all the way back home.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere. You see Zinni keeps pushing forward. The army comp finally starts adding on Templars with Storm as well. It was the later Templar attack, but gets added on now. Has DTs of their own as well. And there's just, like, remember that robo for Gerthang was on the low ground. No detection. This is just too much force. Gerthang's going to tap out of game one.
Absolutely. And yeah, there we go. Zinni taking really commanding lead there. It's yeah, very, very surprising. Again, it just shows you how quickly, like I say, the pro bleed can really snowball things in this matchup. And yeah, I don't know. PvP is all mirror matchups are I suppose strange in that regard, is that all it takes is one slight advantage and you can run away with it.
Yeah, I would say in comparison to some of the other mirrors though, it's It's not like ZVZ where it's like, oh god, it's 2 drones and that's it, the game's over. It's not out of control like that, but because you have a variety of different openings, like I say, you could open DTs or just gateways. You got to get your detection, or this 2 gateway style we're seeing. You can go for fast Nexus, like even Nexus first can work. Like if you want it one try. So there's a variety of openings, and then it's not just like 2 units over and over. It's still a lot of Zealot Dragoon, but there's still Templar and Reavers, and like there's a lot of variety here. So it's about knowing what your advantage is and leaning into it, which Zini did beautifully.
Absolutely, absolutely. Right, let's get on to the next game then, and moving on to Playpoint here with game 2 between Zinni and Gerthang. So, in the top right of Playpoint, we have Gerthang in the blue again, and in the bottom right we have Zinni in the red trunks.
You can't say trunks for one person,
dude.
It sounds so weird. It sounds so weird if you do that.
Oh, okay, he's in the blue trunks as well in the top right. Okay, did I fix it? Did I save it? Was it? I don't know. Okay.
In the top right, in the blue without pants on, it's good.
Good, just making it weird with his no pants on at this point. Yeah, but you gotta put all the strats if you want to win a game of StarCraft sometimes. But yeah, so Polypoint. Does this really alter things in terms of what build you go for? Like, you know, in ZBZ, typically coming from my area, a lot of players like to go 12 hatch before pool. You know, in ZVZ on 4-player maps because it's obviously harder to scout your opponent. So is there a same sort of thing in PvP? Is there like say a Nexus first or anything crazy like that?
I mean, you can go for early expansion builds in Protoss. It's a commitment to a style that you're like, I'm willing to take defense, or I'm challenging my opponent. I don't think you can break me. Like, there's definitely options to do early expansion. I would say one of the things that makes more of a difference about maybe your build order selection is like how much is there like high ground and low ground variation. Like, how important are Dragoons particularly? Because if there's like a lot of high ground and stuff, or like, you know, way back in the good old days of the ladder, remember how you used to see a lot of those reverse ramps like Gladiator and Jade? That's like Dragoon heaven right there. That's what you're looking for. Or even stuff on Sylphid where there's no ramps to play around, nothing to help you.
Absolutely.
So it's more of those makes a little bit of a difference. Unfortunately, Girth ain't gonna get that first scout. It's gonna get in here. Both players now they're going for Gateway and Gas instead of that 2 Gateway opening we saw in Eclipse. Yeah. So Tech's gonna be much more of an option here than what we saw in Game 1.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yep, there we go. We see the Cybercore coming down. No gas being mined yet for Gerthang. There we go. Finally start to move things over. But yeah, this is it's interesting. I was going to say I've seen a lot of the 2-gate opener within PvP with this CPL. So is that just something flavor of the month at the moment, or is that sort of an old build that just a lot of pros rely on?
I think it's something a little more recent, because the old version would be kind of like what we saw in the first game, which that's not really your flavor, where you're going for a lot of Zealots and early forge, fast expansion, the cans cover you, and you go DTs behind. Absolutely. That's like kind of the old version of this. That like modern day, because it's easy to disrupt the Nexus, you go to 2 gateways, you get a gas a little bit later, and it just lets you get some extra Zealots up, a little more robust units, so you can put some pressure on. And then play from there. It lets you tech. You can go for a Nexus if you want to. But both players leading into tech. We got a second gateway on the way for both players as well. Cybercores are done, but neither player's starting Dragoon range. Finally, Gerthang doing it at the moment I say something about it, just to make it look stupid.
The curse continues, as always.
Well, this is actually much more important in this matchup, like as a note, because if you're not getting your Dragoon range, you're either trying to get an early expansion or you're trying to like save your gas for tech, usually DTs or something. Like, because it's 150 gas for that upgrade. So you want to be, and it's a massive difference in Dragoon versus Dragoon fights if someone has range the other person doesn't. So typically you don't delay it without any kind of real good reason. It does look like Zinni is just kind of delaying it a little bit. I'm not really a fan of it, if I'm honest. Like, it's rare where that's ever actually important. On 2 gateways, you should be able to keep production up. It's not like you're cutting Dragoons to get it done. Yeah. The scout still in Gerthang's base is going to confirm it is robotics. So that's not something you'd like canceling trying to be tricky. But that's still, it gives you the option to get observers. You're going to be able to get reavers if you want them as well. And it seems like Zinni doing the exact same thing. But so very mirrored build so far early in the game.
Yeah. Conversely to the first game where Zinni got a good probe lead in the beginning. It looks like he's fallen behind by 3 probes already, and yeah, everything just feels a bit slow for Zinni this game. Again, like mirror matchups, small little things like this can really pay off, should I say, and yeah, we'll have to see how whether this continues. The third gateway is coming up for Gerthang as well behind this.
Okay, so this is typically what we're seeing from Gerthang. It should be 3 gateway Dragoon, and you're getting a Robo just for the observers. You're not rushing the Reaver tech. The fact Zinni's still on 2 gateways probably means they will be getting Reavers themselves, whether just to defend an expansion or try to make use of the macro map a little bit more, or if they're just going to try to build up a decent force, get the shuttle and Reaver, and then attack once everything's ready.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I will say, like, Reaver micro in this matchup is a thing of beauty. If you see people pull it off correctly, it's absolutely fantastic. So let's see if either player can really pull this off. Zinni in this sort of position, really. And then I think it was last ASL where Snow, he was in a PvP versus someone, I can't remember what it was, but he survived like 20 minutes purely just off Reaver micro, really. So like Reaver shuttle micro, I should say.
It was probably Snow versus Flash when he was playing random, I think.
I think it was that, actually, yeah. And I think Flash opened something tricky and caught him off guard.
He had he did a hidden nexus in the top left corner. I think it was on Eclipse.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason, like, Snow kept fighting his way through. I didn't realize he was a base down the whole time. I was like, Snow's Reaver micro doesn't count. There's no one else in ASL that can control Reavers like that, let alone CPL. Reaver micro definitely a very key part, though. We see Gerthang moving forward now, has the Dragoon Rage done, and you can see has the first observer moving across. He's a little bit ahead of it, and he has to be careful. Zinni has the units consolidate, doesn't want to push too far, but this is some of that high ground advantage I was talking about. You can take a fight like this. It's a great big advantage here. And both players are going to see that his observers gets the observer killed, so Gerthang now has that little bit of advantage. And should know, like, if he wants to push forward, see what's going on, he should be able to without too much issue. Or he's going to keep reinforcing forward. But we don't see either player try to take a Nexus. Zinni's actually trying to maneuver around the army, maybe set up a flank or some kind of counterattack instead of trying to fight head-on into that high ground advantage.
This is very, very tricky, and these units will unfortunately miss this. Mivalachi is going all the way around behind this. So this feels like, I don't know, really pushing things to the extreme, really, because, you know, if Gerthang pushes out here, he's dead. I guess there's a Reaver on the high ground that will help hold things, but I don't know, this is tricky, really tricky.
Yeah, I mean, if you got the reinforcements, you could just delay on the ramp, but look, Zinni's force so far ahead. Gerthang's gonna have to make a choice what to do. Gerthang tried to get the Nexus first. You can see it, and catching a couple reinforcements. They're on move. They're not even fighting here. These are 3 Dragoons you cannot afford to lose right now as Gerthang. Gets those killed, has to cancel Nexus immediately, and retreats all of his forces. This is an opportunity for Zinni to get a Nexus for free, but he's gonna charge up in there. He doesn't care about getting the units out. He wants to get damage done.
Absolutely, and I feel like going for the probes in this sort of situation, just get as much damage as you can, get back that lead. You can see only going to increase further and further, and these Dragoons are going to have a nightmare pushing up this ramp here.
Zinni's pushing down the ramp, though. If he had the Zealots blocking the ramp, this would have been a little more effective, but still a lot of damage going down. Gerthang losing a lot of probes behind this. It is going to be a lot of army getting killed. If this gets cleaned up and Gerthang has any kind of decent army left over, there's an opportunity to counterattack behind this. You can actually see, like, the supplies are, there is an advantage for Zinni, but it's basically all workers, so he's going to lose all of his army. Gerthang still has a lot of Dragoons ready. This Reaver is going to have to do a little bit of magic, because if I was Gerthang, after the damage I just took, you're counterattacking, because you have to.
Absolutely.
You have to do it.
Absolutely, yeah. You know that your probes are down in that regard, but you've killed a bunch of army. There's not going to be much left. Go for it in that regard. And this shuttle moving out now will unfortunately miss it by Gerthang, just by the skin of his teeth. And here we go. It's ships in the night again, but so it's going to be tricky, very, very tricky for Zinni. He might have to retreat up the ramp again and maybe cancel this Nexus. Depends how hard Gerthang commits in this sort of position.
Honestly, I don't like this move out with the Reaver. It's an opportunity to do more damage. Where you've already done the damage, you already have your Nexus like on the way. You're ahead economically by a massive margin, and once you see that shuttle going in, this is the trigger. Gerthang knows the Reaver's not at home to defend. He's going to attack forward. There's a couple pilots that might help. This Reaver getting a lot of damage done back there. Gerthang's going to lose a critical amount of probes. The game's probably going to be over if he tries to play out of it. So he's got to move forward, try to get the attack. Zinni does not have a Reaver being made right now for defense. And you can see not a lot of army. Gerthang still has a lot of Dragoons. The pylons up at the front are being taken out. The army dwindling. Gerthang should move forward, should be really aggressive. Don't care about the probes. Like, at this point, You want to get in there, clean up all the army, and camp that camp the production, so that way there's no way for Zini to get back in here. He really needed this Reaver to defend.
Absolutely, absolutely. The Reaver is obviously coming home now in the shuttle, and like I say, camping this production, so it's all going to come down to what this shot can do. Is there some magic that can be pulled off here? I'm going to pull probes actually to try and fight, and this is desperation, but it's what you have to do. You know you've still got the probe lead. If you can stabilize, you're going to be golden, and oof, big hit.
Oh, yeah, good Reaver shot, killing 2 of the Dragoons here. I think it's going to end up doing enough damage. The shuttle's going to pull away. You see a couple Zealots helping out. Reaver gets dropped again. These Dragoons taking so much damage. This counterattack had an opportunity to do big damage. I think just in time Zine is going to be able to hold off and defend it. And while both players are kind of in a rough spot here, Earthing's moving in with the shuttle of their own, trying to even something up. But, I mean, there's so much damage done at this point. There's no anti-air for Zini. He made Zealots to help defend this instead of anything else. So let's see. Can he get something done? He's falling into a cannon. This is not what you want to be doing. It's big damage, but not enough. Loses the Reaver, and that kind of solidified the lead for Zini. Any chance for Girthing to outplay his way out of this one, I am not expecting it to happen anymore.
Absolutely. Even with a second Nexus, it doesn't matter if you have 2 Nexi. I don't know, with the 11
Nexi.
It's not much here. And you can see sending 1 Dragoon here and a Zealot, and that's all you need. There's not much left, unfortunately, for Girthang in this position, and it's unfortunate, very unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a big attack. This is the problem with like balancing things. Remember I was saying, you gotta know what your advantages, lean into it. And it's so easy to think I can be aggressive while I'm taking expansion. Yeah. Probably not, man. Probably choose one. Like it's because you saw that, like, a lot of damage got done, and Girthing still almost broke through Zini after the attack with the counterattack.
Absolutely.
So it was like real close here, but just not quite enough. Zini sends in a bunch more Zealots behind this. There's a shuttle here just trying to micro Dragoon. It's not even a Reaver. It's about to come out soon, but still a lot of damage going down. I would just go straight for probes, get more kills, keep slowing down your opponent.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there we go. Like I say, moving on top of probes here. We'll pick up this Reaver immediately, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Other side of the map, Zini just, getting up more cannons here. You can see to protect his drone, his probe, I should say. And yeah, this is tricky. Actually, he might lose this Reaver again. It does pick up in time, but yeah, this is desperation for Girthing at this point.
Oh, that Reaver shot, Zini reinforcing with the Reaver behind it. There's still a little micro fight. Girthing's gonna lose game 2 as well. So, ooh, that's a pretty clean 2-0, or did I remember?
Yeah,
just write that down.
2-0.
Yeah, that was a 2-0.
Yeah, it was surprising actually. Again, I don't know. I don't feel like Zini was. I don't know. Neither player. It doesn't feel like Zini was massively, the better player in that regard. It's just, again, a few decisions that unfortunately spiraled out of control, really.
Yeah, and that does, unfortunately, give another point. Well, not unfortunately. I'm not either of these two.
Oh, hey, hang on a second. Here I was yesterday bigging up my team and get called out for it, and now you're trying to bring him down a peg. This is outrageous.
No. It's another good one for IKEA. Currently, the score being 4-2, IKEA over Amigos, as we're going to continue with some Tier 2 play tonight.
Absolutely. We've got another PvP on our hands with this time Circling and Yo's Flash. So let's kick things off and get things on the way.
That seems good.
Let's see if IKEA can continue extending their lead or whether Amigos can bring it back. Let's just do this, and because I'm bad, I need to do... There we go.
Well, I'll introduce the players while you're doing your stuff. In the top right, in the pale yellow, it's Circling. And in the bottom left, in the purple, it's Yo's Flash.
Yeah. Again, another PvP. Let's see where things go. Circling, NCX in the chat. Shouting out Circling here. I've got to shout out the players. I didn't shout out Zinni last game as well. I feel awful for it. But Zinni and Circling were team admins for IKEA, along with myself and Bale, and they helped out tremendously this season. So, just a shout out to them for admin more than anything on top of anything else, because it's a lot of work doing admin work.
Well, no, dude, no. Don't say it's a lot of work. You're supposed to be like, it was so easy. It's so easy to help. If you want to help out your team with CPL 7, make sure that you volunteer to be a team admin. It's not that hard at all. We can always use the extra hand. Like, come on, play it up. Get people in.
Yeah, I take it back. It's no, it's a dream. There's you don't chase people every week about uploading replays and stuff like that. It's yeah, it's one of those things. I think after running admin for CPL this season, I don't know, it gives you a lot of insight into what goes on for a lot of tournaments, really. Like, sometimes I think the casual observer sees a tournament and it's like, oh, it's easy, anyone can do that, really. And then it's only when you get into the thick of it that you realise how many mechanics are working behind the scene and stuff like that. It's really cool to see everyone working together for a common cause, I think.
Yeah, like I've been a part of a decent amount of gaming communities, running tournaments and like online stuff, offline, a whole bunch of things. And trust me, you don't know the frustration until you try to do it. Where you're just like, nah, come on, people. Now we are seeing certainly 2 gateway opening, just what we saw before. But now we got the variety. Yo's Flash going for the classic gateway gas instead. So a clash of styles here. We'll see who's more familiar with what they're doing. I know a lot of players, because I was trying, like, when I played my semifinals match and I was playing PvP, I was prepping against this 10-12, the 2 gateway style. With the follow-up, I was expecting. Like, I got some help from some lovely players. Shout-outs to them for being cool. And they were, like, trying to help me out. It's like, oh, this is what you do, and, like, some of the things. And then I played against nothing but what we're seeing from Yo's Flash. So I was like, what the hell did I just practice?
I've had
God damn it.
Exact same thing. It's like, I know I should prep for mech. It's gonna be mech. Absolutely, you get into it, and then suddenly Marines and Firebats are walking into main, and you're like, how did this happen? What went wrong? It's tough to prep sometimes, and it can really catch you off guard.
Alright, well, we are seeing the build I was talking about. Circling does have 2 gateways working on Zell production and gets that simulator around like 21. So this is kind of what I was expecting from this kind of build. The Zell not blocking ramp all the way. Circling's going to get a probe in the base, confirmed that it's 1 gateway. There's a cyber core, and it's not spinning just yet. Which, I mean, that's not critically important just yet, but still, we're going to see if Yo's Flash, is he trying to be sneaky? Because he's got about 200 gas now, and he's still not starting an upgrade on that cyber core. This is like some red flags. Like, you got to kill that probe. You got to see what's going on. And we're seeing a shield battery up at the front. Yo's Flash respecting what could happen, adding a second gateway as well as these first 3 zealots move across the map. It's going to be hard for Yo's Flash to defend this without that shield battery, so I respect just eating the loss, building it to be sure.
Absolutely. See that there is obviously this block in the ramp, and we'll see if these zealots can push up and maybe get a bit of damage done. It's going to come down to a bit of control, probably holding position here as well, so looks decent so far, and might actually end up killing this Dragoon. He does kill the first zealot, and now the Dragoon is exposed, actually moving back and forth, not attacking, and suddenly 3 zealots are left over. There we go.
Yeah, I like the idea what Yo's Flash did. He tried to block up the wall, but having the 2 probes behind the Dragoon actually trapped it and kept it in melee range against the Zealots. So they get through the base. The opening's done. The shield battery did do some good work, but still, 2 Zealots are going to get in. They're going to be able to start working on that probe line. And already look at Yo's Flash. He's cut so many probes just to try to get things here to defend. He's already down 6 probes before these Zealots killed anything.
Absolutely, and looks like this Zealot will eventually get chased away, but it's just been annoying. But again, like you say, so much disruption for Yo's Flash at this point, really, and being down in probes and having to pull probes constantly as well. It's very tricky. And we can see circling around the other side of the map. It's just going up to 3 gates and is getting up his goon range as well. So looks like another 3-gate goon.
Yeah, remember, Circling started with 2 gates, a late cyber core, and he's starting his Dragoon range first. And because of how delayed all this stuff is, like, Circling knows there's no Templar tech. I don't need this detection. So he's going straight for 3 gateway production. He's going to be able to get a really strong army out here, and he's still keeping this Zealot and Probe alive. They're just being annoying in the base, getting all this scouting info. The Flash wanted to try to be cute, cancel that upgrade, get something done. They're not going to have any opportunity to do so. As both players started to work towards a mid-game army, but Circling supply already 11 ahead this early in the game because that build order. This is why this 2 gateway stuff's hard to deal with, and I was trying to practice against it. It's just really robust. It gets you some strong units early, and you got to know what to do.
Absolutely. Ooh, it's sniping the probe there as well. How do you feel about this move out from Yo's Flash here? Is this something you'd recommend? But it kind of feels like a bit, I don't know.
No.
Surely Circling is, as we see here, just going to have a massive army right waiting on top, and yeah, if US Flash loses this small force here, he's gonna be hurting even more.
Well, I mean, Dragoons can always run away. You should, unless you're being really like reckless, you're not going to notice him. The
Mm,
Probe Scout finally gets killed in Yo's Flash's base. That's what I wanted to see immediately. He had
mm,
Dragoons covering the ramp. Kill that Probe Scout. You were trying so long to delay that Dragoon range, or try to do something tricky. You can see now the robotics finally getting started, piling behind it,
yeah,
but everything got delayed so much because I don't know if you're just trying to hide the scouting info.
yeah,
And it's like you move out across the map, you have 3 units. Like your opponent hasn't reinforced anything. Of course they have stuff built up back at home.
absolutely.
Circling's got all these dragoons. He's moving really far forward here, and he can just set up a beautiful concave down to this low ground. Make sure Yo's Flash is stuck on one base and expand behind it as we're seeing that probe get in position now.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and yeah, Seguin taking command and lead, absolutely reading the situation and knows how to push the advantage. Really, I think, and playing a good game so far. See, finally observatory coming down and support base. So it looks like Reavers will be tech of choice, obviously, for US Flash in this sort of situation, whereas Robo just finishing for Circling as well. But like I say, there's that expansion, and yeah, this is all Circling has to do in this sort of position. He has control.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything here. Massive probe leave, even without that Nexus, but still the faster Nexus, more production online, equal as far as Texas. Not like there's an advantage there. He's not rushing towards the support bay. He's just going to get the observers, make sure, like your opponent hasn't tried to move out in a while. You've only seen a couple goons, so being careful that it's not DTs or anything. But look at this like concave certainly has. He's making sure US Flash cannot move out on this map.
Absolutely.
I would like to see this more by the mineral line because that way you can make sure they can't move down, can't get an
Yeah.
expansion. Get a lot of free damage, but still, this is very safe positioning and just making sure that they enter this mid game well ahead.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I say, that sort of reverse contain you can set up here. Obviously, if anyone's played StarCraft Brew War before, trying to move Dragoons down the ramp is an absolute nightmare sometimes. So, yeah, just trying to get down two at a time is absolutely awful. So, it would be good to move this up. And it looks like US Flash instead is going to try and move out. I'm not too sure about this. It might be just trying to take this ground here to get an expansion ready up and going, but he's definitely not leaving this base anytime soon.
Well, no, he had to move this now. At some point, you got to make sure you're on the low ground because you don't want to be caught going down the ramp like you were saying. The AI is not great. This is a very equal force between the two. US Flash has like one extra zealot, and he gets the bigger engage early on. Certainly losing a couple dragoons early. All the zealots are basically getting cleaned up here, but US Flash still has a slight dragoon advantage, and certainly knows he doesn't have to do anything. He can retreat to this high ground if he wants to slow things down, or retreat all the way the hell back home because that Nexus is done. He's done his job. He bought the time.
Yeah, that's it.
And I like what we're seeing because we just don't see it very often. Like I see a lot of CPL players forget this. Look at the bottom right. Look at the top by the 12. Even if you're not planning to expand these anytime soon, scouting pylons like scout drops. That's like your opponent's big tool to get back in the game, and this will give you so much warning that it's coming. I love when players do this because it's one of those things that's easy to forget, but will win you games if you do it and it catches something.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, like StarCraft is a game of information, of scouting, and sometimes, like you say, it's just the difference between seeing a unit move across your minimap and reacting, and that can win you a game sometimes.
Yeah, now we're going to see US Flash is prepping up for that counterattack. You can see now finish up second Reaver, working towards the shuttle. And they're positioned far enough forward that without an observer, certainly doesn't know if there's a Nexus or not. He's going to have to poke forward to see. And you see US Flash's army is actually significantly ahead. He's down 11 workers, but the supply is pretty even. So he's going to push forward, try to engage. He has Reavers. They're not involved in the fight yet, but still a bunch of free damage from these Dragoons. Neither player getting a great engage. Circling actually getting his army split up a little bit. Loses Dragoons. He doesn't really have to. And US Flash's army, once he has that shuttle and 2 Reavers, there's a lot of muscle behind this. He's got to be careful not to be caught out of position again.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you say, so much of this matchup is leaning into your advantage, and yeah, US Flash knows that this is his lead, so why not go for it in this regard? He knows he's killed off a bunch of goons and taking good trades the past couple of engages, so yeah, why not force the advantage here?
Circle's going to camp that high ground, make it hard to move across. You can see Yotes Flash doesn't even really want to try here. He's got an observer, but both sides do as well. Setting up the battle lines, 2 years going to help. The shuttle goes down. That should shut down the aggression immediately, just because you cannot move quickly anymore. Yotes Flash is going to have to remake a shuttle, but Circling can back off here. The Dragoon's going to chase it a little bit, and then you see the Reavers, they're even slow crawling. They need to get something done. So they don't care. They're going for it anyway. A lot of Dragoons back at home. Circling has the first Reaver of their own, but no shuttle to go with it, just like that muscle if they do end up fighting.
Absolutely.
They're trying to buy as much time as they possibly can as we slowly crawl across cliffs this long distance. If these goons pounce forward and can kill those reavers, that'd be fantastic. The Flash doesn't really have the units in position to block a move like that. But circling isn't overforcing the issue, keeps retreating, going nice and slow. He just wants to catch these reavers out of position a little bit. And here comes the move forward. Big engage from circling. Giant concave from both sides. Finally focusing the reaver. First one goes down. Going to move forward towards the second one. Should be able to kill that out before the reaver goes. But the damage is done. US Flash has a lot of Dragoons left over. Reaver's so powerful in these little fights. Circling tries to get the fight done, kills the Reavers, but loses too much to do it.
No, this is going to be very, very tricky. Obviously, this Nexus has been mined for so long, but there's not much here for circling. And if US Flash pounces, it's all going to come down to this Reaver and what good shots it can get off.
You can see the little bit of engage here. Second Reaver to reinforce. Certainly should have the muscle to kind of survive this. These Dragoons from US Flash starting to take some pretty critical damage, but the ground force is slowly going away. The Reaver did not stay on the high ground. No high ground chance to help it survive. There's a shield battery, but it wasn't really being used that effectively either. So both sides starting to dwindle their attacks as they go forward. Circling still has good production, still has this Nexus, and hasn't lost anything behind it. I think they finally barely going to defend it. What that means, they kept their economic lead, but you can see like that's all it is. It's just an economic lead. Both players around the same army-wise, and that Nexus trying to go for US Flash. I really wanted them to kill that Nexus there, but just couldn't do it.
Absolutely, and yeah, circling, although a bit beaten and bruised after that last sort of engagement, it has, like I say, got that Nexus up and has comfortably got a lead here, but not spending all those minerals to 1k at this point as well. It just really needs to start pumping things out and just, let's say, get some of that muscle back and really prepare. And but both armies have been reset, both players on taking a breather in that regard, it feels like.
I mean, certainly is adding gateways behind now. That'll help spend the money. He's been on 2 base economy for a while, so 4 gateways just quite isn't enough production. You see those Flash, he's actually significantly behind on the gateway game. He's really going to have to lead into these Reavers to kind of do most of the work. But gets that Nexus online, transfers some probes over. Still a very significant worker count deficit. And you can see certainly feeling pretty bold. Going to actually take another base up at the 12 o'clock as well. So really going to lean into this economic advantage. But I want to see more Reavers being made, more defense, things in position. It's like, you don't have to go forward if you're going to commit to grabbing all these advantages here. But we need to see, make sure circling is prepared in case another attack comes. And pro's moving around the side, just scouting for a base from US Flash to see what phase are on. Being so responsible with these scouting pylons.
I was gonna say, we were talking last game about Flash getting the drop on the snow with the hidden expansion in the top left, but circling's obviously learned from that game, hasn't he? Really, and that's again one way you can get back into this game. Hidden expansions are just a nightmare to deal with. If you don't spot it, you can have a huge lead and not even the other player not know about it at all.
I mean, I don't know about other pros players, but I will make way more observers than I have to. They'll just be flying around, man. I'm not getting caught up by any of that kind of bullshit. I'll make an observer. It stays in the top left of the map for the rest of the game. I do not care. I do not care at all.
I feel like, it's certainly, once you've been burned by it once and you get burned by it badly, it's like, I'm never letting that happen to me ever again, really. So there is an element of paranoia sometimes, and you have to be like that. And this probe really getting a good scout off of everything. Yeah, really admirable here. But you see the shuttle here, going to be picking up these Reavers, and I don't know, US Flash has got up a fair bit of muscle again, but we'll have to see if he wants to try and do something with it. Whereas Zini hasn't got his Reavers up, really. He's got 2 sat here, but no shuttle yet, so I guess that's on the way. But we'll see. We'll see how these players plays out, as it's going much longer this game.
Yeah, both players, I think, just don't feel comfortable attacking. But because US Flash, they're not using their observer, so they're not getting any scouting info. They don't know about this third base. They don't know what kind of army comp we're seeing, how many gateways are added, what the tech's like. They're kind of playing in the dark and just trying to catch up. Absolutely. I think a big part of that is that the attack we saw earlier was supposed to kill the Nexus. Maybe not even win the game, but if you kill the Nexus, take your own behind it, then you'll take control of that economic lead. It just didn't get enough damage done. Absolutely. So I think US Flash is prepping for a big attack here. And we're going to see, he's got Zealot legs on the way. The Templar Archives is about to finish up as well, so they can keep moving forward here. This will be a pretty intimidating army if he wants to go in once these Zealot legs are done. Yeah. But Circling's got plenty of army too.
Absolutely. But Like I was saying, in terms of vision, if you just take a look at Circling's vision here, he's obviously doesn't have anything in the middle of the map, but has just got probe and all these pallets about, so he knows that he's got the lead, he knows that the advantage is his, and I think in these positions that you've got to think, how can I lose? What can kill me in these sort of situations? And I think the only answer at this point is a massive army. So let's see if Circling is prepped for that sort of win condition that US Flash could try and force.
Seeing Templars getting added on as well. Storm is about halfway done, so US Flash could have that as available as well. But, I mean, Templars, if you don't use shuttles to move them, they're slow. Like, you're going to see things here. You see US Flash starting to move across the map, not going through the high grounds that we saw last time, actually staying in the middle where everything's flat ground. I like this choice. If you got the Zealot legs, you want to be doing it. Both players have that kind of upgrade for the Zealots. They both have a lot of just core ground units. And I think Circling's army is slightly better. Like, he's just got a little bit more stuff in every direction.
Yeah.
His Reavers are way off away from the fight. Like, this is if US Flash kind of engages here, he's going to get sandwiched, and this is going to be really hard to fight the way out of.
Here we go. As players move in here, the shuttle isn't around to pick up the Reavers, and there we go. But huge flank from this high ground here, and just going to collapse on top of all the Dragoons. And good storm there, but going to massacre a lot here.
I mean, a lot of the fight from Circling isn't actually involved here. It's still a good amount of army from the south side pushing things back. The Templar get eliminated. The Reavers are saved, get pulled back. Circling just has so many Dragoons here. The Storm did help, but there's just not enough splash damage. A much better concave. The Reavers get saved from both sides. The Dragoons are going to get all eliminated. Circling is going to have a massive army lead, and they should be able to walk right the hell across the map and punish.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, at this point where you've got 3 bases and a huge army, there's little else to do, and Circling maybe just recuperating a bit after that, but yeah, no reason to dawdle here, push across the map and take the advantage.
Well, certainly disagrees. I see a probe up at that 11 o'clock. I think he wants to think about another base. Like, he's got scouting pylons at every base. He knows it's 2v3. You don't need to keep like having this ridiculous advantage. You could just chill one base up. Like, he's got plenty of workers. He's up 50 supply now just from grinding out units from the gateway. So you can see both sides could afford to add on some more production. They're having trouble spending the banks they have. And I've seen a lot of upgrades going down for Circling, but he is going to start that 4th Nexus. Like, I mean, okay, man. You play whatever way you want to play. I feel like it's unnecessary that you could just go and close the game.
Absolutely.
But if you think a fumbled attack's when you're going to lose, I respect Circling for playing it slow and patient, because he's got this lead and he doesn't have to force anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, like, we're in the finals here and there's so much stress. I remember, yeah, Circling going into this game and being a bit stressed. So I can completely respect him just wanting to really take out the lead. But like you say, he's got eyes on every single base and he knows what's up. And there's a probe down here in the bottom right that maybe might try and take a 3rd base, but Circling will spot if he wants to go for that. But 153 supply to 101, yeah, Circling is laughing in this sort of position.
You see a big army standoff happening at the 2 high ground pods. Circling has a lot of army backed by his natural that's not here. So if a fight happens right now, US Flash is actually kind of close. But whoever moves first, they're going to be stuck in that low ground. That's not where you want to be.
No.
That probe down at the bottom looks like they are going to see what's up, thinking about putting that Nexus. But they see a pylon there. So I'm not sure if that's changing the decision. But this is just buying so much time. That 4th Nexus is about to complete for Circling as well, as he keeps building up this army. And he's just in a good position. The US Flash got to make something happen soon, or this is going to get out of control.
We can see now finally, like you said, there was reinforcements that were chilling outside of the natural Circling's going to get moved up in a bunch of High Templar. Not enough energy in either of these for good storms at this point, but he's got the position. And, you know, although there is this Mexican standoff, it definitely feels like Circling could just really push through here. Even split off a few units and go around, essentially, and, you know, maybe you can try and counterattack, but there's no 3rd base to counterattack. There's no way you can really slip into the main, I guess, so it's tricky, really tricky.
Well, Circling is being so responsible on cans, far more than I ever would be. So US Flash trying to send a DT off, wants to scout if you can get anything done here. Unfortunately doesn't. You see a lot of DTs incorporated with his main army, figuring if he can kill all the observers, like that would be a move. These DTs could do big damage. But he's only got 1 observer of their own. There's only 1 observer for Circling, so that's like a big important, like, don't lose the 1st observer. One Zealot's going to move forward, get an idea of how much army's here for US Flash. And sees the positioning, still has all that army backed by the natural. But you see little pockets of units here from Circling. So much army to work with. As approaching max, he's going to make the first move. He's willing to fight on the low ground. He's got all the upgrades he needs. Storms are available. Half the army not involved in here. Certainly taking a lot of free damage he doesn't need to. But does he still have the muscle to break through anyway?
Here we go, yeah. Things well underway, and still plenty of storms behind this, so even if these... Looks like these Dragoons will get wiped out by these Dark Templar dude. They're dealing massive damage, but here come the storms, and here come the Zealots on top of it, and although it looks like the certainly is getting thinned out massively in this regard, and it's just, again, thin things out, it's dropped in supply, but there is still a huge army waiting outside the natural here that can probably come for round 2 here, and really, yeah, thin things out, and there's still no third base for US Flash at this point, so each unit that's lost is going to be even harder to replace.
Yeah, it's like US Flash moves where I think he won the fight, but really it's boss fight phase 2.
Ooh. Great
storm of these Zealots do a lot of big damage, but still it's a lot of units here. The Reaver's still getting dropped, has 11 kills right now, trying to do as much damage. Storm goes down, the Reaver gets killed, and US Flash is going to tap out. Certainly just has too much to work through.
Absolutely. Fantastic game there on either side, and yeah, I feel like Circling, I don't know, obviously a bit hairy after being pushed with that counter pressure with the Dragoons and stuff like that, but really I kind of snowballed things after getting that early damage with his gateway open, and yeah, played things out admirably.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like that first early push we saw against the Nexus trying to counterattack, that is a prime example of play into your advantage. Where it's like, my advantage is this Nexus. If it stays alive, I'm good.
Absolutely.
And it's Flash like, my advantage is I got these Reavers. My armor is as strong as it's possibly going to be compared to yours. I need to attack now, and it just wasn't strong enough. He lost his advantage, and eventually the game went south.
Absolutely. And yeah, I can respect both players. I think, no really huge faulty decisions like it, and he's like doing a few things, but I don't know, both players playing a straight game, and yeah, I can respect both of them for doing what they could do in that regard. Moving on to game 2 here, we've got Circling in the top right of Playpoint, and in the top left we have US Flash displaying as purple once again. Both players no trunks this time, I want to say. So,
ooh, okay.
Yeah,
now we're getting primetime entertainment. Let's go.
This is it. It's late night here in the UK, so I don't know. All bets are off. Nobody's watching from the authorities, I imagine. But yeah, we'll have to see. If Circling in this game wants to go for that 2 gateway opening again, or yeah, whether he wants to change things up.
Oh man, we'll see how it goes here. We're on Polypoint, much more macro-focused map, and certainly Circling was pretty comfortable getting the expansion up early. I don't see why they wouldn't do it here. The chat's saying you're a little bit quiet. If you could turn yourself up, or I could turn myself down. You let me know.
Give me a second again. 2 secs. That should be a bit better. I'm not sure.
Well, the chat will respond in time. But the casters you got tonight is it's me, Sade Zero, and the UK guy, as you so nicely phrased it, is Camodas, 2 of the casting coordinators that help make CPL 6 run.
Absolutely, and a pleasure to be here. And we'll see, Circling opening up with the 2 gateways again, and it looks like, it's Flash also going for this 2 gateways, so we're going to mirror build again.
I mean, it's not what we saw in game 1. I like the Flash is going to try to mix it up with something else.
Yeah.
His opponent did show they're willing to do this more modern 2 gateway style and knows how to take the advantage of it. And if US Flash just doesn't feel as comfortable dealing with it, doing the build they want to do, just adapt, do something else instead.
Absolutely.
No big deal at all.
Absolutely. It will be interesting to see. I know when I go into my games, I generally have a plan prepped and stuff like that, and I try to stick to it as much as I can, but sometimes I do go completely rogue, and it kind of turns into a coin flip of whether it works or not, really. So yeah, I would be interested to see how these players have prepped beforehand, whether they did really think these builds through, or whether they're just playing it by ear more so.
I would say PvP is one of the mirrors you really don't want to be stuck on one build. There's definitely, every build has something that can kind of bully you and abuse it.
Yeah.
So if you only know one, even if you just know 2, and they're like notably different. Like that's all you're looking for.
Mm.
One of the core ones, if you're gonna only do one build, would be 2-gate Robo. It would get you a decent amount of muscle. You get your Reavers reasonably fast. You get your Observers. Gets you everything you need to be safe.
Yep.
You are seeing it is a gas and a Cybernetics core for you. It's flash off. There's 2-gate, but not from Circling. He's not getting that gas early. Looking like they're gonna set up for the fast Nexus instead. Maybe a Forge behind it get the detection.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we'll have to see how this divergence goes. This Scouting Probe actually still alive in the base of Yo's Flash, whereas Yo's Flash himself has not got one in the base of Circling. So again, Yo's Flash playing in the dark a bit about what's going on, whereas yeah, Circling kind of sees all if he chooses to move down and keep tabs and everything.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised we're actually seeing Yo's Flash. He's got 4 Zealots up. I think that's supposed to be 5. A little bit of a goof up with the build order, I think. Got supply blocked, unfortunately. But still, this is... One of the things you do with this build is that you try to move out. Because, again, if it's Zealots versus Zealots, you just run away. Like, they can't catch you. No big deal. But you want to move forward. That way you can see, is it a fast Nexus? Maybe you see, like, is there a lot of Zealots at the ramp? Or are they doing the same thing as me? Like, what can I expect? And you can see just a little more comfort with the builds. Look at Sterling. There's been no conflict at all. He's up 2 workers and supply on Zealots.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it definitely looks like Circling knows this is his bread and butter build and knows how to push it. Knows this can take the advantage. And he's going to move out with these initial Zealots. And with only 3 Zealots on the ramp and 1 Dragoon, it's going to be tough. Going to be tough with 3 Zealots bearing down on you. 6 Zealots, should say.
Yeah, I think this is more of the skill check kind of move. I'm going to force Yo's Flash to know how to micro against this, know how to deal with it. He didn't build because he didn't get the scouting info. There's no shield battery to help out, but still, it's 2 stacks of Zealots. He's got a couple Dragoons as well. Circling's got a lot of Zealots, but he's going to go for the attack. We'll see if he actually wants to go for it or not. He's going to go for it. He's cycling his Zealots a little bit to take some of the damage between them. Trying to mix it up the best they can. Looks like some of the Zealots going down for Yo's Flash. 2 remain. They're both quite healthy. Circling loses 3 Zealots and gets some bruising on the other ones, but it's all shields. It's no hole. And he's going to back off here. He doesn't want to keep pushing into it, but sees that there's Dragoons being produced. Should have an idea what's happening here. And Yo's Flash being extra careful. I actually got a Forge for detection, making a cannon just in case there's shenanigans, and a 3rd gateway behind it.
It's quite interesting. I just saw Circling cancel a 3rd gateway there, so I wonder what enforced that decision. It looks like it might just.
He wants that Nexus.
Yeah.
Like you see that pro moving out.
Yeah.
Well, I thought he did, but he's moving out in a weird way. I wonder if there's going to be some kind of hidden tech or something crazy instead. This is interesting. I thought this was going to be a Nexus for sure, because that makes a lot of sense. You are seeing a Robotics and a 3rd gateway for Circling instead, making a Forge as well, which. If you're building the Forge and you're building a like, why? Like, I guess if you're really worried about detection because you didn't see a lot of Dragoons, I don't know. Like, this is a weird spot where you would have to see the player vision, be in their head, and like see like, what are you thinking? But certainly reading it right, because here comes that Citadel Vadoon. So it could be DTs, it could be a rush just to straight Templars as well. Finally, that Nexus goes down for Circling.
Absolutely. I guess that is the lead here for Circling in this position. If he can get that Nexus up and keep it secured well, he's obviously got the probe lead, so if you can push that even further. We saw how that goes in game 1. It can, yeah, really spiral out of control. But yeah, we'll have to see. Upgrade's obviously finished for Yo's Flash with the Goon range, I believe, and yeah, it looks like he's going to try and take his own Nexus at this point.
Yeah. I mean, things are just a little bit slower. Can be made at the front, and we're actually seeing it's a shuttle. So this is going to be a shuttle. You put the bay behind it, and then you're going to get a shuttle into Reaver. And so instead of getting that fast Observer, although certainly hasn't started that support bay just yet, don't delay it too long. And there we go. So going to be rushing to maybe open the opponent up a little bit with some kind of Reaver drop, try to get some harassment done. Yo's Flash still hasn't started that Nexus yet. They're starting to set up some of the groundwork in case they want to. But also, remember, the units are far forward. You're not going to be able to scout whether it is or isn't. And here comes some more of those great scouting pylons that Circling was so diligent about. Absolutely. But he doesn't see the move out from this Yo's Flash army across the map. And it's a lot more Dragoons compared to the amount of Zealots Circling has, but they don't have speed. No. So this could be very interesting.
Absolutely. We see 2 cannons here. I'm going to try and help him reinforce as well. But yeah, this is going to be a tricky fight. All going to come down to these engagements and how much damage can get done. More coming across the map now as well for Yo's Flash.
Yeah, Yo's Flash trying to consolidate a couple more Dragoons before they push forward, but he's buying time, circling. His Reaver's about to finish up. He's already got the shuttle as well. If he doesn't attack before that's online, this is going to go have a lot lower chance of making it happen. These slow zealots are going to still be annoying. You still have to do the micro to deal with it. Circling still has that probe moving around, looking like a scatter pile is going to go at the 12 just to see if there's any drops or anything. Finally, Dragoon range started for Circling, so big advantage again for Yo's Flash if they got that Dragoon range earlier on. And you see a Nexus being started, they're pushed far forward, but there's no knowledge, there's no scouting. He's playing in the dark, just like guessing what his opponent's doing, hoping he's right.
Yeah, absolutely. See, that shot did move out, and oh my god, if that got caught there in the high ground by those Dragoons, it would have been a hell of a lot of trouble. But yeah, now this shot out, it's going to be much harder to sort of push through here. And yeah, I don't know. This is kind of awkward, and the probe leads continue to skyrocket ahead for Circling here. So the longer this goes on, the more awkward it's going to be for Yo's Flash, even with the upgrade lead.
Yeah, well, he's got these speds else. He's going to walk forward. Does get hit by a cannon shot, so at least has an idea that there is some fortified defense. I don't know if he went far enough forward to see the Reaver. So I think you're just assuming there's some reasonable defense here. But you got your Nexus finished back at home. If you want to be a little more cautious, I don't think there's anything too wrong with that. Circling, you can see that Reaver's done. Shuttle's done as well. He's going to load it up, and I'm thinking he's going to try for some harassment across that top side where Circling has a scouting pylon, but Yo's Flash is blind.
And this is it, yeah. Obviously, maybe Circling knowing that Yo's Flash maybe is playing in the dark all the time here, and just hesitating a bit with this shot. He could come in here, and absolutely nothing left behind for Yo's Flash. So if he can get some big hits off of this natural, it's going to be a heck of a lot of damage, and it looks like he is going to try and move for it here. And
yeah, there's no cans in that mineral line, no observer over the ridge to give you any kind of warning, so you have to react fast. It's Yo's Flash. That shuttle is even parking a little bit beforehand. Now, if there was an observer, you'd see it, but he wants to make sure full attention, so Circling's got to do that. Drops the Reaver behind the mineral line. There's no reaction just yet, but behind the mineral line, these Scarabs tend to struggle, but those first two did struggle doing anything. Lots of damage done.
God.
Finally, Pro's getting pulled, and Circling's up 18 workers after that successful harassment.
Wonderful word there. And yeah, even though this army for Yo's Flash here just looking a bit, I don't know, it's not accomplished much. It's obviously controlling the space, but you know, there's no extra nexus that's come down for Yo's Flash. He's lost so many probes, and this is painted into an awkward spot really. And yeah, I don't know, this is painful for Yo's Flash.
Yeah, I mean, you never want to see mirrors happen like this where it's like you see this giant army, Yo's Flash is like so far forward, but it's just for containment. You see the shuttle's going to go in for round 2, but there are units to defend it this time. There's Templar here. If you can actually drop the Reaver kill those Templar, that'd be phenomenal. I would love to see him try. It looks like he's going to go for it. Oh, this is brutal. Don't do it.
Oh,
this is ridiculous.
Oh, one hit.
Oh, they're moving away. The shot doesn't do full damage when you're running away from it like that. So these Templar don't explode immediately, but still, that's going to trigger a little bit of action up at the front of Circling. Some of the Zealots moving out, trying to get something done. Circling, while getting a lot of good harassment done, starting to float a lot of money back home. Needs to add on some more gateways, focus a little bit on that macro, because they're still on 2 base. They haven't started a third one. They have to actually get out here. And look, there's plenty of room because Yo's Flash isn't far forward enough. He's going to set up a great concave. I think he's going to try to bust up this high ground advantage and just not give a fuck.
I'm not so sure. Finding onto any high ground is always a precarious thing, and I don't know, try and avoid it as much as you can. You see some absolute nightmares again. Sometimes.
Oh, here comes that Reaver, dropped again at the natural. It's in cannon range though, so the shuttle and the Reaver both take damage, mainly to shields. Doesn't get anything done, but no big Scarab, doesn't get any more. But still, I like that he keeps poking around, trying to find some kind of opening to get some damage done.
Yeah, absolutely. And I imagine for Yo's Flash, just knowing that Reaver's there somewhere in the background, waiting to pounce on your probes again, it's put you in a bit of fear, really. But yeah, we'll have to see what goes on here. And see, finally, a few more gateways being thrown up for certainly will get last, but still floating a lot of minerals, not taking that third base yet. And meanwhile, Yo's Flash is actually taking his own third base much long before, even though, I don't know, it's been a bit awkward here.
Well, this is a little bit worrying. Look at that supply count. Remember, there was some successful harassment, a decent worker lead. Yo's Flash basically caught up on the army supply, which means Yo's Flash actually has a stronger army. Remember, they got Storm, they got these Templars banking a bunch of energy. They got +1 weapons and armor as well, so they got like a little bit of advantages here and there. Circle Lake had a nice economic advantage, didn't do anything with it for a very significantly long time. One Zealot's going to move forward, try to get something done. Maybe a little distraction. The shuttle's going to keep looking for opportunities. He should try the main. Like, he's going to, like, this. The natural's covered. Like, it's like, you poked in there 4 times. You keep seeing defense. Here comes that shuttle moving around. Circling's got shuttle speed on the way as well, so definitely don't want to lose that shuttle and Reaver. That'd be not the way you want to be doing it here.
No, absolutely.
But yeah, that third base is up for US Flash. It's about to finish soon, so if he makes more probes, maybe he can swing back that economic advantage.
Yeah.
Circling, I think, just being a little too passive here, or at least needs to add on some more production.
Yeah, and this is unfortunately the way some games go sometimes, is that you're ahead and you're thinking, okay, everything's rosy, everything's dandy, but if you are just too passive, you don't really push what you have. It's, I don't know, again, it just gets so much tougher. The scouting power on the top will eventually get pushed out, but meanwhile, this looks like the shuttle is going to finally go for the main and might be able to get something done, just stopping short for the time being. I wonder if he does spot this third nexus. It doesn't quite, actually does move it over, but no, oh there we go, it does spot the third nexus, so he should know immediately that I need to get something on, I need to get my third nexus up immediately, and see the probe and response finally doing that. I might actually get a shot Reaver off here. Good, good Scarabs, good Scarab.
Yeah, I mean, I wish my Scarabs hit every time. I have not seen him done anything yet. Reaver going to get dropped in front of some Zealots, but doesn't get any real damage done. They just try to slow down that third base the best they can. The probe did move over to the 3 o'clock, but hasn't started the Nexus yet. And here comes the unit. They're going to chase down, but remember, shuttle speed. It's quite the upgrade. That's a very quick shuttle. It's going to be hard to catch here. But we see circling army starting to move a little bit more in the way. I wonder if it's going to try to navigate around this high ground pod. But we're seeing just one Zealot just get randomly thrown from one of the armies. Every so often, a big storm down the south side. It looks like finally the fight might happen here. Circling is trying to bait things down to the south side. Here comes the attack. It's Flash has a great vertical line of army. Circling is attacking from 2 points, top and bottom. Great storm on the first Reaver, does a lot of damage. Fight on the bottom side is going Circling's way. Flash cleans up everything at the top, including those Reavers. And you can see here, there's still a lot of splash damage. These storms were so banked up, so much energy. And the fight's going very even between the 2 players. It's going to be neck and neck who actually goes up. I think it's just going to be that defender advantage from Circling to hold on here, just barely.
Absolutely. Razor thin here, razor thin, and Storm comes up finally for the Templar as well. We're going to clean up finally these last remaining Dragoons, but I don't know. Yeah, both armies kind of reset, but I don't know. The game is much more even at this point. Only 46 probes to 42, and army will might get cleaned out. I don't know. There's still a lot of cans back here. It looks like Circling just needs to maybe back off a bit, reinforce back here, and yeah, another Storm going to maybe come forward here and no backs off. But yeah, this is awkward now because US Flash has, he's still got the army advantage. He's doing well here. He's really thinned out the army of Circling, and he's still got this third base up. Hasn't got anything droning on it quite yet, but yeah, it's tricky.
Here comes another attack up forward. Decent storms on both sides, kind of dissuading the front line from moving too far forward. There's more storms to US Flash available. There's not a lot of Zealots from either side. A couple of Archons kind of in the mix as well, making Zealots a little harder to use. But here comes that defender advantage reinforcements. The shuttle is finally back home, going to use that Reaver to help defend here as well. And you can see, still paying attention, doing that Reaver micro. Certainly, actually winning this fight a little more decisively before. It's going to repel Yode's Flash away. And he takes back that supply lead he had before, about 20 up. Finishes that Nexus over at the 3 o'clock here. And finally alleviates this pressure Yode's Flash has been putting on that high ground area for like the last, 10 minutes? It feels like just forever.
And yeah, it looks like behind this, we're going to take this high ground, and taking this high ground feels so good in any matchup, really. It just kind of gives you a bit of safety. It's still a bit of an army here for US Flash there, so could try and push up, and this could get overwhelmed. We'll have to see another speed shuttle zooming out here, but no Reaver inside of it, so we'll have to see if US Flash feels, I don't know, eager enough to kind of push up. Has got 2-1 upgrades, where only 2-0 to Circling's here, but behind this has got up his third base, is even got the extra gas if he wants to potentially take it, but has transferred his probes and is sitting pretty, whereas US Flasher was a bit delayed on transferring his probes to this third base of his own.
Yeah, I mean, this is where it's going to get weird. Both players mined out their mains now. There's more room for production buildings, which is nice, but you're going to have to establish another base. You don't want to be sitting on the mineral only that Yo's Flash took as their third. The natural should be drying up reasonably soon for both players as well. Yo's Flash going to move forward. A lot more zealots compare, but still, it's a lot of Dragoons on the high ground. They got Reavers and Storm for support as well. The Yo's Flash is deciding better of it, doesn't want to try to force their way up that ramp. That's not really the choice you're looking for. Both players looking like they're going to chill out, just kind of keep working on those upgrades, maybe add some infrastructure or something back at home. But I want to see another Nexus, and Circling delivers, taking that base at the mineral only.
See, there's actually a bunch of Templar just sitting in the main of Circling, so maybe it just Rally's not set up for these extra gateways he added on later on. It really needs those in the action because yeah, he's going to get into high energy and just going to be sat there not engaging. Some Templar now moving out to the middle map for US Flash and might try and storm his high ground and take his own lead here. Does get a good snipe on the Observer with this storm, but yeah, Reavers are still in position though.
Yeah, I mean, he's also got a couple of TIE Templar in that speed shuttle down at the south side of things. So if he wants to hold this, he can move out that shuttle, do some massive damage, much faster than a Reaver can. You already seen he's been very proactive about getting his damage. Here goes that shuttle moving across that top side. I think he's going to look back at that Naturals like, you still got those Dragoons there, dude? I'm going to make you have those Dragoons there. Unfortunately, they are. But I don't, even High Templar, they could just not care. Honestly, they could be like, I'll die for the cause. Give me one good storm. I'll kill the probes. It's worth it.
Absolutely.
Yo's Flash keeps probing. How strong is his defense? Another good storm, doing big damage on some more Dragoons. Though Templar does get a little bold, walks too far forward, and gets cleaned up. But the Nexus does finish, the high ground not being yielded, and here goes that shuttle at the natural. Or not, like, man, it just keeps teasing me. I see it move, I'm like, all right, we're ready. And
let's get him ready, it's building up, and there we go.
Oh, there we go. Oh, man,
please.
No probe reaction, yes.
Oh, my God. Massive.
Great storms. 13 kills on the one Templar. I think they died during the storms. Everything getting cleared off, including the shuttles, because of these cans, but still, it's a big move, does a lot of damage here. And Circling, I see a probe down at the bottom right. If they want to set up another base here, take this main down here at the bottom right, that's a great move. US Flash set up their own base over at the 9 o'clock, so far, everything looking pretty even, but certainly sets up this bottom right area after doing that big storm and getting some more of that economic lead. I can see this kind of growing how we saw in Game 1, where just Circling slowly kind of kept building and eventually ran over with a big army.
Absolutely. And yeah, this is... Let's see how much it's going. I don't know. Is there set timers that you go for expansions in PvP, like for a fourth or fifth base, moving towards the ultra late game? Is there like, by 20 minutes I should have 6 bases? But yeah.
No, dude, you can have PvPs for about 20 minutes. You shouldn't even have a third, like, because it all depends on how aggressive the players are. It's because you can see like how you've seen some of these fights. It's like it looks like it's barely won. But then the barely wins like a 6 Dragoon advantage.
Absolutely.
So it's like, it's so hard to know when can I afford to take a Nexus. So usually my strategy is, when I'm floating too much money I can't spend it, fuck it, Nexus.
No.
Like, that's usually the goal I'm going for. Absolutely. But you can see Circling is playing for their expansions. They're controlling a high ground area. They're not trying to move forward. They're like, I got the economy, I'm good to go, I don't need to do anything, you're going to have to attack me and break my position.
Absolutely. And this is, some players really struggle attacking into players who are very defensive, who just take these high grounds and know their advantage, because it's hard to break it. A high ground position is really, really difficult. So we'll have to see if US Flash is comfortable taking this on. He is building up a huge gateway force with a few storms that are in there, but yeah, I'm not sure. Would Reavers be remiss for US Flash? It kind of feels like they've missed a trick with Reavers this game. Not really. Whereas Circling's really.
If you got storms, Reavers aren't as necessary. Having both is great. Like, it's not like Reavers are a bad unit, but storms kind of outclass Reavers. So if you want to not have the economy for that, it's also Reavers are very mineral intensive. So like in comparison, if you have a shuttle and a Reaver that's 400, 100, that could have been a storm and like a Dragoon and a Zealot. So, like, there's definitely balance. A little Zealot Force gets sent over to the bottom right. They are pretty upgraded here, 3-2. So, very strong Zealots. They actually bust their way through 2 cans. They don't care at all. But they do confirm that's here. Giant Zealot reinforced to the bottom right as US Flash tries to send a little tiny force, but he's going to fight some Zealots in open ground. The upgrades for Circling, all attack, but no armor. So, Again, it's just not that big of a thing. US Flash going to move forward a little bit here. I'm not sure about this. A couple of Dragoons looking like they're going to give their lives just to confirm if that army's still at that mineral base.
Yeah, this is trying good to do. Just I don't know, maybe it's in one unit, not a whole group, but just try and keep tabs on the army, see what position is going on. Did they force the whole army to move down to this bottom base or not? But Sergwin not overreacting, just getting things up. Another force is going to try and move down for US Flash here, so it's like Sergwin needs some kind of reinforcements to hold this on, because cannons are made of paper and they die very, very quickly. So I don't know. We'll have to see if we can break this.
Well, the one thing I keep looking at, and we're not seeing any advantage being taken of it, but like the reason Polypoint has these high ground, but you have a middle area you can move around. We'll talk about that later. There's a little bit of a fight in the bottom right area. There's only a couple Zealots here, but you see a decent amount of Dragoons and some Templar as well. So the US Flash is really going to try to push forward. They want to break this base. More cannons being added on. So we're seeing if you can manage to get their way through. These storms can't do. You can't storm a cannon. It does not do anything to those. The Zealots too far back, not getting engaged on. And we're seeing another storm go down. The Zealots run through it on the ramp and trying to engage on these Dragoons, but get cleaned up pretty reasonably. There's still a decent amount of cannons here, but that definitely went good for US Flash. And we're seeing more reinforcements now going down. They're going to try to clean up that force.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if if Sergwin can secure this spot right location, again, a huge thing of PvP or products in general is just having that space to put down infrastructure, more gateways and stuff like that. You see, we can just take this bottom position and just throw down a bunch more gateways as well. If something happens to the main base, you can he'll have a bunch more gateways than the bottom right as well to really reinforce. Whereas US Flash is still really dependent upon all these gateways in his main in that regard.
We're seeing another shuttle up by the top area here. It turns around immediately, thinks better of whatever it was about to do here. US Flash has a big army here. He's trying to reinforce up at that top spot. And what I'll say is, like, there's more than just these high ground spokes. You can move around the center. Finally, US Flash. Just gonna say that middle base, I don't care. He keeps teasing me. He wants me to say something so he can make me wrong immediately. But he's walking through the middle now. Like, this is what you can do when someone's playing like Sergwin, being so defensive over one spot. Just go somewhere else.
Yeah.
You don't have to go crazy. This is a great spot for Sergwin because if you see a giant move out, you can counterattack very quickly. But you can see Sergwin's army is a little bit piecemeal, a little spread out here. And US Flash is going to try to force the issue, find a little squad down the south side, getting a big win here, finally taking a supply lead for the first time, it feels like in forever in this game. Going to keep moving to the right, another little group of Dragoons. Like, Sergwin's losing a lot of units right now. He can't be affording to lose here, as US Flash finally navigating a different spot, trying to bait Sergwin to move away from that high ground. He's not budging at all, has no interest in it. I think US Flash feels fine about that. He can just go kill this 3 o'clock base. He can go towards the natural, cut off reinforcements. But here's that big engage, monstrous storms happening between both sides, doing so much damage to this blue army. These Templar from Sergwin have so much energy. They're going crazy. The storms alone wiped out half that army. And now look at the reinforcements. There's some more Templar behind this. There's no real ground army, though. It's going to be all storms to get the damage done. You can see US Flash keeps pushing forward. So much real ground army that's not just freaking Templars. There's just no Zealots here, nothing really to defend this. US Flash ends up, despite taking all those storms, does have enough force to break through this. Reinforces going as well. That mineral base should be able to get pressured and taken down. And US Flash finally has a stable lead for the first time this game.
And yeah, Sergwin definitely falling foul of, you can have storms, as many storms as you want, but eventually they run out, and it doesn't matter how many hurricanes they've been in this sort of situation. It's, US Flash endures, and as soon as those Templar go, there's, like I said, there's not much left, and it looks like US Flash is going to try and force the lead here. More storms going down, my god, does it ever end, but it carries on, and we'll actually end up sieging this base here.
Yeah, things keep moving forward here. There's nothing at this base. I don't think you're really taking this for the value. It cuts off the production, which is nice.
Absolutely.
So if you want to put that foothold out, it's going to be hard to build up any kind of army again. But you can see US Flash. Now a small supply lead. They got to be careful not to keep losing too much here. Both players floating a lot of money, having trouble spending it, just because we're so far in the late game, some more bases than you're used to having in PvP. But a little bit of pressure still going forward. They're going to try to attack the best they can. But that fight we just saw, that little sequence in the middle, is exactly what I was talking about in game 1. That it's not about upgrades, it's about, like, where's your unit comp? Do you get the good engage? Another storm trying to defend this for Sergwin. The US Flash just found that great engage, got a big fight win, keeps reinforcing this. Zergling's actually, I see a lot of money just disappeared. And he queued up these gateways real hard. And remember, you're talking about the lack of rally on some of them in the main.
Yeah.
That's kind of hurting him now. I think there's a lot of units he kind of forgot about. Here comes Yo's Flash up into the main. Can he start working on some of these pylons, shutting down this production so he can really lean forward in this match?
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's not much left here. Finally, Serwin does control these units that have just been idling outside these gateways, and will force things out back briefly. But it's again, it's very, very tricky at this point. There's such a huge momentum shift here for Yo's Flash. Supplies do even up though, so it's a bit of awkwardness. But yeah, Serwin still has the base lead, I guess, but it just feels like Yo's Flash just has the momentum to really push this off, and here come more units to really seal the deal.
Yeah, you need the units to be able to defend this. Some reinforcements, but I'm not sure if it's quite enough here. Like, it's no splash damage, it's just these core units. The Dragoons from Yo's Flash have a much better concave. They're getting these around, they're focused firing as well. They're not just hitting the Nexus or whatever they do. Yo's Flash still this late in the game, doing a good job controlling their units, trying to get the most out of these fights they can. The supplies keeping even, but Yo's Flash still has much more of a bank available, so I think if it keeps going this way, things will look good. But using that high ground advantage to take this fight even more handily than the fights have been going. And one Zealot trying to be a hero, punch everything to death. More reinforced for Yo's Flash. He's really just trying to put his foot down on Zergling's throat. And it's like, I won a game 3, dude. I'm not in the mood for this crap anymore. Like, where's your high ground to defend now? I'm going to keep attacking you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Some Templar are going to pop out, and I don't know, I've done a lot up to this point. Just doesn't feel like there'll be enough though. It is purely gateway units, like you say, for Yo's Flash at this point, but there's just so much. It's such a big flood at this point, and I don't know. It's hard. First Storm does go down, does get landed a few units, but still, the rest of the actual brunt of Serwin's army is just wiped away, and nothing left here. And Zealots will start getting on top of Templar, and there's not much left.
Yeah, it's not enough here. It all came down to that one fight that kind of broke open that base for Yo's Flash to keep being aggressive. Because, like, both players had a ton of money, but they didn't add on a bunch of gateways. Like, you do that in all the other matchups when you get to the hyper late game. You add on a lot of production facilities, so that way when you hit max or close to it, you can reinforce very quickly. And that just didn't happen this game. So when the army finally got broken through and Yo's Flash could keep putting the pressure on, certainly just can't recover. He's got a decent amount of gateways. I see DTs in the making right now, which I don't see any observers. So this will be able to slow things down, but still, so much damage being done. That supply lead for Yo's Flash keeps accumulating and getting better and better. You see certainly trying to pull some shenanigans. So he's got some units coming from that bottom right base to try and reinforce, but this is just too much damage. I don't think there's a way to recover.
No, the whole production of Serwin there is absolutely good. There are a few gateways down in the bottom right, and trying to throw out more desperately, but you know, it's I don't know. It just feels really, really desperate for the Serwin in this sort of position. DTs do pop out eventually, and is awkwardly going to start cleaning up this army, and it's one of those facepalm moments of, oh my god, I don't have an observer here, so I guess you win for the time being. I've got to back off, so I don't know. It's awkward.
I mean, 2 KP boys, they cannot kill this army this fast. They're still going to get a lot of damage done. Even with all these upgrades doing 49 damage a hit, like, they're ridiculous, but it's not it's not that ridiculous. You can see that supply lead for Yo's Flash. He's even leaning into it a little bit. Going to take that 12 o'clock base to get something else online. I see observers finally moving their way through. They're not going to the army, but they're at least in the area, so...
Serwin did get a huge storm drop off in the 9 o'clock position, but it doesn't really matter at this point. There's Serwin dropping down to 59 supply, and here come the observers as well to finally pick off these invisible men, and the rest of the production looks like it will get good here for Zergling, and yeah, it looks like probably gonna move on to a game 3, I expect, unless something miraculous happens. I don't know.
Well, miraculous would definitely be the word here. I don't think there's a way to kind of recover from this. You can see all the tech for Zergling is gone. I think this is like one of those, like, the game's lost, but you're playing it out for a couple minutes, so that way you're kind of like getting your mind off and getting relaxed for game 3. You don't want to lose a game like this, because, like, think of how this game was going. If you're Zergling, you'd say for over half that game, you were ahead. And then what the hell happened? One
Yeah.
bad fight that snowballed out of control because
Yeah.
you didn't make production behind what you were doing. So I can definitely see if Sterling, like, let's slow it down, take some time, maybe reset the mental, maybe because you might be a little bit like tilted right now
Yeah.
after losing the game like this.
And there's nothing worse than in a series just to be angry, leave immediately, and then next game get going, because that tilt will carry over and it will start to just plague everything. Whereas, like you say, if you can just take a few minutes to compose yourself, you can really, really do wonders to your mental game.
Yeah, I mean, it does make it hard for us casters. Where it's like, hold on, let's think about everything. What is he trying to do? It's like, no, I think he's just trying to reset the mental. Like
Absolutely,
which is,
absolutely.
what, it happens. But you know what? It was a good game between both players. Nice little standoff. It's just, I think Sergey maybe learned from this, be a little more proactive.
Yeah.
He had such a lead for so long, and he was just willing to be defensive. He gave himself the opportunity that for Yo's Flash to find a good fight and then take the advantage away from him.
Absolutely.
So I think just be a little more proactive, or just go crazy with the shuttles. Like, he was doing a lot of shuttle work early on. Just go nuts with the shuttles and be defensive behind that. And just keep destroying the economy. Finally, the attack down at the bottom right. There's not a lot of units to defend. Cans aren't that good. There's some tempo here to storm, but they don't have a whole lot of energy. You can see the desperate dance trying to turn into Archon. It's not going to be enough. And I'm expecting that GG any minute now at this point, because you're breaking through the last source of production. There's just nothing here to stop it.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, here comes the final sort of probes here in the bottom right, and the GG from Sergling. And there we go. That's a longer game there, certainly from Sergling. But yeah, it's tough, and yeah, you do feel for him in that sort of position. Just like I say, he was in the lead, and there's nothing worse than a game getting away from you and just not knowing what happens and how you got there. And I guess a question for you, like, do you watch replays between the games? Like, do you watch the replay after you've just played it, or to try and see what happens, or do you just go into the next game and you just want to brush things off and keep going?
I'll watch the replay real quick if I have a very specific question. It's like, did he take another base? Like, what did he open? Like, I'll just look real quick. I don't like watch the replay and study it for 20 minutes, but it's like, hey, 8 minutes, what the hell's going on? Give it like a 5-second look, be like, all right, all right, I see you.
There is nothing worse. I'll just update the scores here with actually, yeah, we completely missed this with Sergling and it was Flash going up to 1-1 here, so give the players the credit they're worth during it, and let's move into this first game 3 and see what can be done. Moving on to Sylphid for the first time.
Yeah, and Sylphid PvP gets wild, man. you can go a little crazy on Sylphid.
So, yeah, just kicking things off on Sylphid once again. As we're saying, at the top we've got Yo's Flash, and in the bottom right we have Sergling. So, yeah, Sylphid, a funky map. Like I say, I'm excited to see what funky shenanigans both players could really bring out in this sort of situation. But are there certain positions that favour certain builds and stuff like that? Because I know, say for example, like ZVT or something like that, if Terran spawns at 12 o'clock, it's very, very hard for them to hold mute or harass and stuff like that, so generally Zerg players go for that sort of build in those positions. Is there anything like that in PvP, or is it again just a do what you like sort of situation?
I mean, do what you like, but for all the same reasons that you don't want to deal with defending 12 o'clock, it affects here as well. Just because if you think about how that 12 o'clock, all that giant ring of fucking area that you can deal with, Reavers can come in from any angle, all angles. It's ridiculous sometimes. And because you got the gas on the left side, it's like there's less terrain where it's like, oh man, I can't get the Reaver in the spot I'm looking for because like there's just minerals and crap in the way. Even like look at with the two bases we see. The mineral line on the right side, it's all touching. The one on the top has gaps for scarabs to go through.
Very, very true. Very, very true. And it's very strange how just small little things like this in the map can just have such a big difference, really. It's, yeah, I guess there's probably a lot of thought that goes into designing these maps, and I imagine things like this are probably designed on purpose, but yeah, I imagine if a scarab does fit through that little gap there, you will be cursing the map maker for that design choice, really.
Well, I mean, come on, it's that 12 o'clock base. Like, why would the minerals be more harassable while the gas can't be defended? Come on.
Really added salt to the wounds there, I feel like. But with this game on hand, it looks like 2-gate again from Serling, really liking their build, and it's Flash feeling that also wants to try and do the same again as well. And yeah, I don't know. Serling feels definitely comfortable with this build, so I feel like last game obviously they couldn't get those zealots into the main base as he did in game 1. So let's see if he can pull something off again this time instead.
Well, the thing is, remember when we saw that move out in the game 2, he was moved out with like 7 zealots. You're supposed to like move out with your first 3. Maybe you wait for 5 if you want to like really get in there. But the whole point is like if you're trying to be aggressive and force your opponent to have a certain level of defense, you want to do it early on so that way it breaks the wall open. You can start being crazy.
Yeah.
And you can see US Flash, he's actually respecting this far more than he has to. He's walling, he's setting a probe to wall that front already. Like that's economic loss you do not need to do.
Absolutely, and I can respect it. This is game 3, obviously. And whoever takes this takes the series and another precious point for your team. So, yeah, but sometimes players do this and go into, oh my god, I need to defend immediately, and gonna miss out there. So it looks like Serling will move out with these 3 zealots, like say, probably listening to you and saying that I could need to do something here and move out a bit earlier. But
here's the difference. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off, but there's a US Flash adding a 3rd gateway with no gas. This is zealots. This is zealots. Like this is not. I don't like this. I don't think this is good. But it's still gonna have a lot of robustness behind it. It's not a shield battery. You can see here. Look, he's already got 3 zealots blocking that wall off. Certainly arrives with their own zealots. They're gonna try to force the micro fight, but if he breaks through, there's gonna be so many zealots behind this. And you can see, certainly even knows like, you know what? I think I'm good. Walking right out instead. He's got his gas. Certainly went for a gas. Got a core behind it, adding on a 3rd gateway. So they're going to be able to get into that Dragoon production a little bit faster. And it's finally an assimilator and being started. But there's no cyber core behind it. So Flash's tech definitely being delayed. That early pro blocking the wall cut the economy a little bit. So he's down 2 workers now from that as well.
Absolutely. I love that certain builds have like certain names like 2 Hatch Muda or 2-Gate Goon or stuff like that, but for this it's just Zealots. That is the name of the build essentially, and we'll have to see if it'll work out here. And there is no ramp obviously on Sylphid, which does make attacking a bit easier in that regard, but as these Dragoons sort of come out, and I imagine these Zealots will plug this gap here as well, should be enough. So we'll have to see if US Flash can really do the damage, being the aggressor this time instead of being passive in the early game.
He's attacking on 5 zealots, so like I was saying, didn't wait significantly long. 2 zealots are going to block off the wall. One's kind of getting bugged out, pathing away from the fight. But these 2 Dragoons helping out with the damage. The wall does get opened up. The zealots are going to be able to get in. And now it's going to be up to Micro. They're not chasing the Dragoons, just trying to fight zealots for zealots. It ends up being 3 survive. Here come reinforcements Dragoons. Micro, not great. They're still taking some decent damage here, but doesn't actually lose too much whole life on any of these Dragoons. Keep everything alive, picking off these zealots slowly, and Serling manages to survive, keeps all the Dragoons alive, and US Flash really can't keep reinforcing. Despite having 3 gateways like this, you can see it's just, what are you going to do with slow zealots against Dragoons? It just isn't going to get anything done, and range is going to finish so quickly for Serling. That slow tech, there's no Templar, there's no Reavers. I think Serling gets his Dragoon range and just goes attacks.
Absolutely. He's got the lead here. These zealots get on top of the Dragoons again, but just needs to micro back, focus these downs, and just keep pushing. More units popping out for Serling here. Needs to reinforce really, but yeah, this is such a commanding position here for Serling. And again, if he could just push across the map and maybe set up that reverse container or stuff like that, as we were talking about in game 1. Should be alright. Some Dragoons are popping up now for US Flash, but again, the cyber core's been done, and these Serling's obviously got the range, so I'll have to see what he can do with this.
Yeah, I mean, we are seeing a deviation as well, going towards Citadel. So this could be for Templar, but I'm actually expecting it just to be for very fast Zealot legs, trying to lean into the build they were going for. Serling did end up getting a Robo, not rushing to take a Nexus, but there's a little bit of a micro fight here. And remember, that Dragoon range is way done for Serling, so Flash hasn't even started yet. So this Dragoon versus Dragoon fight, this is not what Flash wants to try to force to happen. You see, he's slowly getting things picked off. Serling, the micro, not as great as it could be, but still, repels off the forest, everything settling down without too much issue. But Serling's up a couple workers, got probably the more favorable tech to start with right now. And, like the supply looks decent. And finally starts the Nexus behind it. Everything for Serling looking great. I am very concerned with the way we saw this build play off of Flash.
Mm.
It feels like one of those, I got an idea and he didn't
Yeah,
practice it.
yeah, yeah.
That's what it feels like to me. And I don't like
Absolutely.
not to throw shade on Flash, but it definitely feels that way watching this play out.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, this is the danger of it, and it's the way those games can sort of go, unfortunately, these times. And whereas Sergling, you know, he held on, he had his build, and he knew what he was doing. And you know, it was a bit dicey, obviously, when the Zealots first broke through, but he microed admirably and sort of, yeah, and now it's now in really, really good position. And still no Nexus for Euro's Flash, yeah, at this point, and all these Dragoons bearing down. There is a Dragoon lead for Euro's Flash, so Sergling will have to respect this and back off. And yeah, I can't really take that, but still, all he needs to do is just buy time and get that Nexus up and keep the lead, essentially.
Well, the problem is what we're seeing with Sergling. I like him being aggressive, I like him moving forward, but he's not using the Dragoon range. He's like stopping and fighting. He's not trying to cut you outside the range where you can get a bunch of the free shots. As you can see him doing right now, like this fight is going so much better. He's going to push forward. If you can go far enough just to see there's no Nexus, that's all you need to do. You don't need to break through or do anything crazy. But Zealot's speed is about to finish. So is the Dragoon range for Yo's Flash. So that might be the opportunity if Sergling gets caught off guard. But look at all his production behind it. Reinforcements moving across the map. Still has 3 games of production, even though unfortunately one of them's not producing anything. The Nexus is finished. Can start working on some of that. But all these upgrades for Yo's Flash are about to finish. Is that going to be the go-word to try to move forward with these Zealots and fight these Dragoons straight up?
It's going to be very, very tricky trying to move through this little choke. Obviously, leading with the Zealots will help a lot here, but one Zealot only coming up for Sergling in this position. Has got a random probe as well here. I'm not quite sure what this is for. It does send it away just in time, but yeah, this is the awkward Mexican standoff in that regard. Let's see what goes on here. Bit of a good fight here, and here we go.
I mean, these Zealots do have speed. They're going to move forward. There's nothing to really tank this up. You see Flash going to move out here. Does reclaim the space by his natural, but not immediately moving across the map trying to get something big. And certainly doesn't have to force the issue. You got the Nexus. You know you're up a base. Like, again, just be defensive. But just don't be defensive for the next 20 minutes like we saw in the last game. Build up a bit of advantage, then use it. I would love to see that kind of stylistic change. And see, I'm already seeing changes. I like that he's already going up to 6 gateways so quickly. He's not caring about the Reaver. As I said, that starts a support bank. That's fine. That's cool. But still, he's got the Observer to be safety. He's got the worker count lead. He's got to have his economics. And once these gateways get online, he's going to have the stronger army too.
Yeah. We'll have to see. It looks like Sergling has managed to maintain his composure, but he knew in the last game that he was ahead from the other game. And yeah, like I said, just making these little adjustments can make the big difference between a lot of stuff, really. And looks like Yo's Flash is going to try and move across the map here. Has got a sizable Zealot lead for it. Quite significant, really. But there are a lot of Dragoons here, and has got things set up. Obviously got this pylon here, which will soak some damage as well. But yeah, I don't know. Still no Nexus for Yo's Flash, and it doesn't look like by the mineral count that there's going to be one anytime soon either. So again, it's going to come down to sort of a game one sort of position of Sergling has the economic lead and Yo's Flash has the army lead, and which player can survive.
Well, I would love this attack if it hit a little bit earlier, but that first Reaver's about to pop out. That would give it the extra damage. But Yo's Flash moving forward has plenty of Zealots. They got that speed upgrade, and he's waiting for. If he's waiting for +1, he's not gonna have that nearly in time. But here comes the engagement. The Zealot's gonna move forward. There is that pile up the front that could buy Sergling a bunch of free damage. If that takes damage because there's not any kind of micro, the Reaver does crawl forward, starting to build some scarabs, get some decent shots off, but Yo's Flash has a lot of Dragoons here with a decent concave. The Reaver gets taken out for doing too much here. And this might be enough force from Yo's Flash to break through, attacking at just the right time before that Reaver can get set up and in position.
It's one Dragoon that wasn't actually firing all throughout the fight, was attacking workers, and it does look like that's just going to give enough to push things back, but still the advantage is still for Sergling with the drone, the probe lead, but yeah, it's difficult. More reinforcements coming across the map for Yo's Flash here.
Yeah, the amount of fights these players have had that have been like knife's edge who's supposed to win or not, there's been no like snowball landslide victories. Finally, some reinforcements for Yo's Flash is picking off the Dragoons. Good focus fire to kind of target things down. He's going to get that pylon killed to get it out of the way so he can maneuver a little better. But he's doing great focus fire, and actually I'm a little bit worried that he could kind of keep snowballing this. He doesn't keep reinforcing units. Finally, I see stuff moving across the mini-map, some Zealots to help out here. I think when these come, there might be an opportunity to get something done because that Reaver just got started. There's no like reinforcement one to replace the one that was lost, and Zerglay's barely hanging on as it is.
Absolutely, and here come the extra zealots here, which will obviously massively help on getting on top of these zealots of Sogan's own. These not quite engaging straight away, and it's very, very tight here. Only one zealot left over, and Dragoons fight very, very awkwardly in this sort of situation. But army starts to deplete. But again, it's so tight. This is it's insane how much is going on. Defenders' advantage not quite kicking in for Sogan. Stuff trying to pop out of gateways, but you see more moving across the map for Yoet's Flash, and this is going to be very, very tricky.
Alright, there's the first real win. Pulls the probes, knowing he can't, like, he's gonna have to buy a little bit of time to get some production rounds up. There is a Reaver completed for Zerglay. You can see that supply is about even despite a massive worker lead for Zerglay. So, Yoet's Flash army definitely more robust, but if Reavers can do some serious magic, Dragoons are gonna try to move forward. Can they pick off the Reaver? They're not real. It's not being protected, but they just barely can't get enough. The Zealot does punch it to death as it dies into a Scarab. Defender's advantage kicks in yet again. Zergling barely holds on, and all he has to do is hold on. Remember, there's still no Nexus from Flash. He's committed to winning on this attack. He has no backup plan. He's been just rallying units for the last like 8 minutes, and finally gonna calm down a little bit. Maybe get a little collected before the next wave. But the longer this goes, the better Zergling's feeling about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. There is a probe at the natural, but I feel like by this point, trying to take it naturally, you're just going to be so far behind. It's your win condition is try and break this down, but as we say this, there's just so many units popping out for Zergling now, and I do not know how he held that. That last Reaver held on so much and really wiped out US Flash's forces. It's razor tight, razor thin, should say.
Yeah, it's a very close one. Managed to sneak a probe out, get some scouting info. Maybe he thinks Flash managed to take another base.
Yeah.
He got this Observer. I would love to see Zergling actually scout with Observer, confirm no other bases, no Nexus, anything like that. But you can see both sides still reinforcing. But you can see that army for Zergling, it's slowly getting a lot bigger and better. Absolutely. And Flash doesn't have splash damage units. He's going to have to rely just on these Zealots. Going to have to get enough. Another Reaver appears. The bane of grouped Zealots like this. You don't want that Reaver to get off a decent shot. I think Zergling held out for long enough and should be good to go. But here comes round number 7 of the fight. We're going to keep trying to go through. The Reaver is not quite involved yet. First Scarab goes off, doesn't hit too big. But there's just so many Dragoons from Zergling. These Zealots getting wiped out. No pressure on that Reaver. And this is finally it. Zergling has lasted long enough. Flash is going to think what to do now because they never took a Nexus. There's no tech behind this. I think Zergling did it.
Absolutely. And I don't know. I don't know how this held. Watching PvPs like this, I'm like, I could never play this matchup because I would have multiple heart attacks and maybe a stroke.
This is fun. What are you talking about?
I do say this, like playing ZVZ and you got Ling fights and stuff like this, but this looks so stressful and good lord, both players, I do not. Yeah, my heart would be beating out my chest at this point. And here comes another fight. So, it's Flash trying to get something done, but this Reaver just getting huge shots off. Dragoon's left over. It's going to eventually start to repel this, and there goes the last units of US Flash. GG, well played, and what a game free. What a game free from Zergling and US Flash there.
Yeah, so Zergling clutching it out 2-1, getting another point for IKEA. So now IKEA's got 5 to Amigos 2. IKEA so far doing pretty good. I guess your Protoss guys, you got it done, man.
Yeah,
they're good.
Absolutely, absolutely, and there's been I know the in the last week a lot of the process we have Master Ray as our coach and asking so many questions throughout the week, like how do we do this, how do we do that, and just trying to really get things tight. And I don't know, I think Zergling looked very, very tight throughout that game. All 3 games he had the other game advantage. It was just that game 2 he just really slipped things off, and US Flash pounced on it really, but composing himself and holding on for a lot of pressure there in that game 3. Definitely well-deserved victory.
Yeah, that was definitely a fun one. Finally, it's not Protoss, so you can carry the weight, right?
I'll try my best, but yeah, we'll move on to here. We've got Yvolo versus Rizzo, I guess, and we'll kick things off, moving back onto Eclipse for game number 1 of this. And I'll just change the overlays so that we can see the players, and here we go. So in the top right we have Rizzo as the purple Zerg, and representing Amigos. In the bottom left we have Yavolo representing Team IKEA, and yeah, we already see something funky. I guess no. I thought Rizzo wasn't building drones there. Now I'm ready for a
No,
fight.
you are so ready to overreact. Like, oh my god, he's got a 5-pool.
I say this because I got 5-pooled in one of my CPL games, and every game now I'm like, it's a 5-pool. There's got to be another one here. I'm not the only one that got 5-pooled.
I wonder if that's what I casted. I remember we casted one 5-pool and a DBZ, and the chat lost their minds. They're like, this cheddar cheese, this cheesy kind of piece of... And I was like, guys, like, you need to practice against cheese too. Like, me and LeBlanc were all for it. It's like, no, this 5-pool's brilliant. Great. Good job.
I can respect it. When it's against me, I respect it less, you know. I'm like, but we see here Rizzo going for 9-pull. We'll have to see if he wants to get a quick gas, which he is. So it's either going to be 9-pull speed here or 9-pull lair. It's all going to come down to that first 100 gas. Whereas Yavolo, you know, going up to that 12 drones. So we'll have to see if this is going to be 12 hatch or a 12 pull here. This is 12 hatch. It's going to be straight for Yavolo, but it all comes down to where this drone gets sent, and it looks like it's going to be a spawn pull. So yeah,
I don't like that. That's 12 pull, but they waited to 300 minerals. That feels like you're delaying your pull, you're delaying your tech a little unnecessarily, just to eke out a little bit extra economy. I mean, it's still a long rush distance. I think you can protect your ramp without too much issue, but I'm really hoping we see Yavolo. Maybe like I think you have to go lair. Absolutely. Either you're adding a second hat trick very early, committing to lings, or you have to go lair and you're never getting zergling speed, just being willing to be defensive. And either way, I'm not in love with it as much as like 9-pull and then going fast tech, or you know, like that. Like I like early 2 hatchery in base for link play so much. We're seeing a hatchery actually on the low ground, which okay, you're the Zerg player, man. How do you feel about hatcheries on the low ground because you want that extra gas? How do you feel about that?
I mean,
these 6 legs move across the map.
Yeah, you can do it, but I don't know. Especially you can hold this with 12 pull, but things need to be tight. You need to get down this spawning pull so much earlier, and it's going to be very, very hard. By the time these arrive, you know, you need lings and drones to pull to really defend this, and it's not impossible. Lings do pop out, but there's only 4 of them. We'll hold the ramp, so we'll stop them getting up, but this hatchery is most likely going to die, and really need to pull drones if he wants to try and take out the top. This is 4 versus 6 lings, but he needs to pull in these extra lings from the high ground here, but more and more reinforcements come across the map for Rizzo, and this is very, very hard here. It needs to pull back Yavolo, and this is hard. This is really, really hard. Ling's getting now through the ramp, and yeah, this is hard. This is really, really hard. There's no way around it.
I mean, Yavolo, I think, like, brass steel tax, like, refuses to build. Like, he has this extra money. Build a sunken in your main. You can tell this is about to get out of control. You can see the legs going down quickly. Starting to work on that drone count as well. He's trying to, like, drill and do what he can, but that's stopping all mining while this is happening. Reinforcements from Rizzo come across, and that's just enough. Yavolo's going to say G. This is your boy. Go ahead, defend your boy.
Well, he said 1G, that was enough. It was a game, is what he was saying. He was like, okay, game. It's, if you ever play Super Smash Melee or any of those games, you know, that's how the games end, I guess, really. But yeah, Yavolo, I don't know, rough. It's, those games really, really can throw you off sometimes. It's just like, I don't know, it's the luck of the dice of ZBZ sometimes, and I don't know, especially in a map like that, you have to be ready for 9-pull speed. It's such a popular build, especially, you've seen it not only in CPL, but on ladder all the time. And if you're going to go 12 pull, you have to keep things tight, and you have to be ready.
Yeah,
for
the
that.
12 pull at 300 mid-rolls, and then you get a gas, and then a hatchery is like, not this matchup, dude. You don't have the time to do all this. Now, if you're just hard reading, my opponent's going to go 12 hatch. Maybe that's like a faster tech, you can use it later, but I don't like what I saw. I think that's just, it could be better.
Yeah. The 12 hatch is a middle of the 12 pull is a middle of the road sort of build, and it can do wonders, but you have to be confident, you have to be tight. So moving on to Polypoid, refreshing a bit, we've got Rizzo at the top right and Uvolo in the bottom right as well. And yeah, after losing a game like that, you can be frazzled. So we'll have to see if Uvolo can pick things up. I will shout out Uvolo again. He's someone who practices a lot. See him a lot in the IKEA spaces, and always happy for a game. So I don't know. I've faith in my boy here. Hopefully he can bring it back.
I honestly, like, this is why you need to be a team admin for whatever team you're on forever, because you are just hyping these people up on the pedestals. Like,
yeah.
it's like, you know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like whenever you hear interviews from like the Korean pros, like ASL, it's like, who don't you want to play in the group? It's like, Action. He trained so hard. It's ridiculous. Like, I don't want to play with Action. It's just like you keep hyping up these players. Like, they practice real hard, and like, they've put in a lot of work through this season, and I can't wait to see them play. They've done so much work, and I bet next season, it's like, I feel like I could script it on a piece of paper, and we can just leave the name blank.
It's true, very, very true, and yeah, I've got to give my boy credit. You know, yeah. We can give him his time in this sense. But this game, moving to it, Uvolo looks like he's going to go for the 10-9-9, and I like it. It's generally on this map. Again, it's hard to scout this. You can see top right, the overlord going the wrong way. So it's going to be a while before Russo really sees this. So I expect actually cancelling something there. I wonder if that was an accidental overload that he made there. But yeah, here comes the spawning pool, and I expect a gas after this, and we'll be going to heavy amount of lings. Whereas on the other side of the map, Russo getting up his spawning pool, quick gas again. So it looks like it's going to be ling battles again, and can be tricky.
Well, I mean, Russo did 12 pool, and this one looks a little bit tighter. So what would you expect from here? Actually, don't even answer that. I see that drone position. Here comes that second hatchery.
There we go. And yeah, not being as greedy as we saw in Uvolo in game one. You're going to logo and just choosing to put this in the main. And yeah, it looks like it might be a committal to the lings. I would expect this first 100 gas just going to the speed there and sort of play things out from here. And yeah, this will be nice for Russo if he can secure this ramp, or just build up enough. If he sees that this is a 10-9-9 eventually with this overlord, the game against 10-9-9 is just build sunkens and win the game. Eventually, you will get the lead. Really.
Well, I mean, didn't we see that yesterday, though? We saw these kind of fights, and it ended up being that the player that went for the lair got the mutas, ended up surviving just long enough to get the mutas out, and then ended up winning shortly after because there was no anti-air to defend it.
Exactly. In 10-9-9 builds, it's rare to see players really go for that lair sort of build. So if Uvolo chooses for that, it's going to be hard. And you can see, I actually didn't get gas. I completely missed this. So this is going to be slow lings, which is definitely not what you want in this matchup.
I mean, it's a lot of links at least. You have a decent amount of production, a decent amount of money here. But yeah, when you don't take gas, I remember harping on this like so hard yesterday. So like, when you commit to not getting gas, you just eliminate all your options. You're never gonna get lair tech. You have to get evo chambers. You're losing all the drones. And here's a little Zergling fight, but there's more Zerglings for Russo. That defender advantage. So Uvolo trying to have this extra larva, these extra lings, and that first attack already doesn't go the way you want it to. Zergling speed is about halfway done for Russo, and he's feeling comfortable to move on the map as his lair's about to finish.
This is it, yeah. Uvolo, I wouldn't move out of this. You know you've got no ling speed. You know that he's got the ling advantage. It's suicide. You just move back, and Russo will be pushed back a bit, but with these hatches in full production and speed about to kick in, slowlings versus speedlings it's I don't know, it's a horror scene.
Yeah. And there's 5 sets of lings on the way, so speed just finished up, and the Uvolo's not in the base. Like, there's no retreat anymore. You're gonna have to take this fight. There's way more purple Zerglings like moving forward. Russo gonna take an easy win here to dissuade all the aggression, and he even has the option. He doesn't have to go crazy. He has the forces to go forward, keep taking these fights, but he can retreat to that ramp and just keep buying time. The lair's done. Spire hasn't started yet, though. That is the one thing I'll say. And Uvolo's just making a lot of lanes behind this. He's really trying to end the game with these unupgraded links.
Yeah, this is all he can try and really do, but this is just awkward. There is an overlord in Uvolo's base, so, Russo sees all this. He knows what there is, and he probably sees that there's no gas as well, so I don't know. I'd be very weirded out as a Zerg here. I really don't know. And I don't know, it just feels like that Russo just needs to move across the map with these lings, and I don't know, there's still a lot here for Uvolo, but you can dance around for days.
Yeah, I mean, speed links, you don't even have to like you don't have to move around with everything
No.
because you could just if your opponent's like being aggressive, keep a lot back at home. But like you got your lair, start your spire, which that spire placement's scary. It's so far away from everything. So I don't know if I love that, but this is what I was gonna say. Just start making some creep colonies.
Yeah.
Your opponent's gonna have to end the game with links that can't be microed well.
Absolutely.
A couple links get caught out. Yvol's gonna keep moving forward. You can see that there's a massive supply lead for Yvolo. He's got these links. I wish there was an upgrade. Can Ruzo hang out until that spire finishes?
This is it. There is 3 hatches worth of production, which is obviously why he's got the lead, but holding this high ground as with Lings is always a nightmare, and will retreat Ruzo, but he's got this sunk up, and his win condition at this point is the spire on top of everything, so if he can just hold out, move back to this middle line as we see here, and get favourable trades, some Lings trying to pick off this sunk, and there is slowly starting to fin out more Lings do pop for Ruzo, and it looks like it will stabilise just, but as this sunk is doing huge amounts of damage.
And Sunk is down to about 100 here. The units do trade up for pretty evenly between the two, but Ruzo Yvolo still just making a lot of links back at home. And if Ruzo has to make more units now, when that spire finishes, he can't afford Mutalisk, so he's actually kind of strained for money. I like that he stopped mining gas. He knows that minerals are really important right now. You can see Yvolo's going to gear up everything the best they can. And I think he's waiting to see if he sees some stuff being morphed. You can see the first Muta's on the way, and this might be the time to attack. It's like, oh, you just spent your money. It's not on Lings. If I'm going to break it, then I'm going to break it now, or probably never.
I would like to see Ruzo just hold the top of this round, just stop these Lings getting up, because that's where the danger's going to be. It looks like it will hold things back, does too choose to retreat and maybe help out, ask for this sunken for help, and here comes the Mutas at last, and that's going to make things easier, but one Muta is not going to be enough to hold off this amount of Lings.
I mean, here comes a couple more. The drone's going to try to run away. They run to the extractor the best they can. 5 drones do survive. Yvolo does get some decent kills, but Sunken barely gets harassed from here. The Mutas are starting to accumulate a little by little. And you know what? I think it's going to be much harder to keep going, but there's no Lings here. They're not guarding the ramp. Ruzo's got to be very active here. We're seeing that now. Attack the links before they're trying to hit on your drones. Whittle the count as best you can. Yvolo, though, just looks like one of those like gauntlet machine generators. Just send links until they win or until they lose. The game will be decided. I've done faking decisions.
I would like to just see gas of some sort from Yvolo, because he had such a huge lead, and I know it's an investment, but I don't know, it's just at least group up your Lings more, as we see here, trying to move in a bit more at a time, but this is tough, and it looks like it will be able to snipe the Sunken at last, but here will come more Lings for Ruzo, and with the Muta's going to pick things off, but this is 3 drones to 7, and my god, I do not know what's happening in this game. This is madness. This is utter madness.
I mean, there is a spore in the main for Yvolo, but I don't know if it covers the very south end of the mineral line. So I think you still get some harassment. You see Ruzo now is actually going to work on some of these overlords, try to get something done. I need to see him make more drones. He needs to recover this at least a little bit.
Yeah.
But the Muta Force, there's still a decent amount on the map now. I think now we're looking at 3. So, you know, it does some reasonable damage. Yvolo is not just making a million Lings to send across the map, adding on a second creep colony in the main. Can't really make too much use out of that hatchery that's all forward like this, just because, you know, there's no defense to really do it. It's just going to be extra production, which is why I like it in the main instead. It's so much better.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we're seeing Ruzo finally making the attack. He's going to start working on the hatchery. If he can cut off some of the production, that would be helpful. But we'll see what ends up happening there. I think there's just no real way to defend us.
No, absolutely. See, there is still a hatch in the main for Yvolo, so I guess it's not the end of the world and well secure, but you know, only now just getting gas, only now probably going to get to lair, and it's still slow Lings, and there's a lot here, but these Mutas can just pick these up as they go across the map, and actually on move command, unfortunately, not attacking the Lings, and things get thinned out. God, it's
difficult, yeah. It's a difficult situation here. Yvolo's going to try to add on drones behind this. You see him slowly starting to get some gas now. So eventually going to be able to work their tech out of this. You know, get something going here. Adding on a couple more drones. Both players get back up to 9. The links do get thinned out here, and we're seeing still 3 mutas available. So some links being reinforced from Ruzo, and he's going to try to move forward. There's actually not a lot here to defend from Yavolo, despite having so many links early. Maybe there's an opportunity to get something done right now.
Absolutely, absolutely, and yeah, the longer this game does go on, it will be hard because obviously Ruzo's still got his Spire up here. That wasn't killed in the midst of this madness, so you know there's just going to be more and more mutas produced eventually, and it's going to come across the map. A big, huge Ling reinforcement coming up behind this as well, and there's not enough Lings here to defend for Yavolo. It needs a sunk of his own.
Well, what do you think that Ruzo should do when he goes for the attack? What do the lanes do? They take the fire? Are they trying to kill spores? Like, what's the plan you want to go for to really maximize the mutas?
I mean, killing drones is always nice, as we can see here. You just get more and more of a lead, but if you can get a free pick on a spore, obviously go for it. But for now, just try and whittle things down as much as you can. And it does repel this Yavolo looks like, but yeah, it does kill a few drones in the midst of that. So I guess that it's still the drone lead, but yeah, if you can snipe a spore in this position, you're laughing. Like say that if you can kill that top one, especially, most of the drones are exposed at that point.
Yeah, now Ruzo didn't really see this because Lynx died right before, but Link speed is now done for Yololo. Muta's gonna have a much harder time slowing things down, and you can see here comes that counterattack. There's no sunkets here. There are a decent amount of links from Ruzo. He's gonna be able to block off the ramp and just keep buying time. Slowly adding on more and more mutas. You can see there's 4 on the map picking away these units. There's 1 back at home with another one about to pop, so that'll be up to 6 here. Here's that fight at the top of the ramp, though. Yavolo doesn't really have a giant force. It's going to be hard to break through. And with the mutas on the map, you should be able to pick that all off. I think Ruzo survived long enough. Now the Spire Tech's fully online. He's got mutas enough to actually do damage. And this is what I was talking about, man. Like, you got to get the gas. You got to have a plan B if you're not going to hard commit to the links finishing the job.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I don't know, yeah, it really feels like you've really missed a trick with all those lings. Just if there was speed, if there was something, just getting up a layer, like you say, as well, just anything. The gas is such a huge thing in this matchup, and yeah, here comes these 6 mutas now, trying to come in, and Will's just start focusing down this spore. Like Tasteless said, I think in an ASL, you don't need like 20 mutas to kill a spore, and wow, actually, Yavolo taps out, feels like he can't stay in the game. And
the lair's not even done.
Yeah.
The spores didn't cover each other. They were slightly too far apart. So I understand that. Ruzo going to take another win. So that's a 2-0 for Ruzo. Finally giving us a point for Amigos, right?
Absolutely. Yep. There we go. And yeah, very back and forth today. Very back and forth. And
yeah, I am not complaining about that.
So moving on to here, coming up next, we've got Slayer and Balance SC, and so it's going to be good old ZVP. Let's update these scores, and with Ruzo taking the 2-0 there, and yeah, things going to be moving on, and let's just quickly shift things over to here as well with Slayer in the Balance game, and let's get the game on the way. Lots of people.
I'm getting bullied in the chat right now. Yeah, I don't like this.
The chat is, I don't know. It's like the Roman Colosseum, you know. Sort of, they can turn against you sometimes. I don't know, man. You got to be careful. You've got to be careful about it. Moving to the game. In the bottom left, we have Balance going by MM, which is a strange nickname, and in the top right we have
it's the face, dude.
It's
a little face.
I guess, yeah, I see it. Okay, yeah. But yeah, this always confuses me because I know all throughout this series now I'm just gonna be looking at it and going like, oh yes, the MM is taking the lead here. Like, I'm just gonna have to constantly remind myself.
Balance, man. Just say Balance. It's all good. And the top right in the red, it's Slayer from Clan Rev.
Yes. And yeah, let's see what's going on. I've been playing a lot of ZVP lately, and I have a love-hate relationship with this matchup. I love watching it, and there are some games where I really like it, but I don't know. There are some games where it drives me mad as well. I don't know. How do you feel about ZVP? How's your ZVP? Would you say?
I have a hate matchup. This is by far my worst. This is garbage. I hate this crap. But you know what? I'm here to watch. We're having a good time, and I respect it. Tier 2 play, Slayer is going to offer Gateway Expand. It's something you usually see at more of the higher levels of play because it's real easy to mess up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm excited to see how this goes.
I've spoken to a lot, especially in the tier 2 and tier 3 range. I've seen a few processes in that, especially on my own team, like going for Gateway Expand, and I think some of it comes down to the frustration of with Forge Fast Expand. It sometimes feels like you have to sit back. You know, you let the Zerg do what they like, which isn't always the case. But with the Gateway Expand, if you know, you can get a lot of damage done with it, and it does throw some Zergs off.
I feel like every time I do Gateway Expand, I get 9 pool speed open and I can't defend it, so fuck this. I'm not dealing with that. Okay. I tried learning it for a long time. Yeah. You see this probe actually slowing down his hatchery a decent amount. It bounces up to about 400 minerals now. Gives it up. Oh, man, just keeps baiting it around a little bit. And he's just going to take the base over at that 9 o'clock instead. That's always the smart move. If you see a probe trying to piss you off, just take it at the third. You can take the one, the natural later. There's no rush. But that probe's alive, gonna get that scouting info. But here comes that first zealot, and I'll be curious if it's gonna move across the map and get anything done. Especially with that probe staying alive, you can really take some easy fights against some of these drones and links.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, here we come. We'll have to see how this goes. This drone actually come through. I think this is a second scout. I mean, did see this before, so I don't know. These lings, I'm gonna have a bit of a nightmare once they run into this zealot, and probe gonna get away scot-free. No lings actually not been built for balance here, so this is going to be hard to hold on against this zealot, and this so disruptive for a Zerg. If you can see now, 3 more zings, 3 sets of lings being added on now, but force so much, and those lings should really be drones. It should be at least like 4 lings to hold off this zealot, and that should be all you need to do for this.
Yeah, I mean, it got in here. That probe isn't around to make it easier. Using the probe to attack with the Zealot, you tend to kill a lot of these early units a little bit faster. So you see the Zealot's in here just getting as much info as he can, sees the gas time, which is always super helpful. That third hatchery is about halfway done. So we're going to see what we're getting from Slayer. It was a reasonably fast Nexus after his gateway opening. Here's that Forge behind it. So yeah, Slayer did not commit the cardinal sin. I'm going to yell at everyone for doing both the gateway and the Forge before the Nexus, doing everything they're supposed to do. But they're going to just be able to build up a decent ground for us and force Bounce to play in a way that's not going to get beaten up by a bunch of zealots, and he's going to move forward with all these links. Yeah, there's a lot of holes in this wall. It looks like.
We'll have to see if he can slip by. Does move forward and isn't feeling too brave, but as soon as this cannon finishes, it's going to put a stop to this. And you know, having these lings is nice. It looks like generally with Gateway first, there is a move out at some point with these zealots, and these lings will be on hand to deal with it. But I don't know. This frazzles a lot of Zergs, and let's see if Bounce can really recover. He's starting to drone up now, getting up he's got his 3 bases up, and let's see what he wants to go for, really.
Yeah, still no Cybercore started.
No,
I feel at this point it feels late.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure on the gateway expand timings, but it feels like this could have been started a little bit earlier, slowing down the tech a decent amount. And there's no scout on the map, so you can see here, Balance. He's still on hatchery tech everywhere, but also hasn't started a Hydra Den.
Yeah.
So I'm a little lost from both players from what they're doing. So we'll have to see what ends up. But here comes the Zealous moving out across the map. There's a decent amount of links, but not enough to take 4 straight up. But speed's about to finish. Here comes some reinforcement links. If they can catch these zealots in the middle of the map and eliminate them without too many losses, this could actually be a great opportunity for Balance to get control of the map.
We'll need a lot of links here. Putting down this Hydralisk Den at last, but yeah, this is strange. Well, there should be enough links to hold on to this. It just needs to stop them wide walking their way into the drone line there, but it does back off. We'll probably try and scout this third, and these links will get a good surround on this, and back into a corner. Some links starting to try and wrap around, but I think he will be able to pick these off. Barely, maybe not. It's going to be close if he holds this off, and unfortunately, the 2 zealots to survive. And my God, if I was in this game, I would be crying at my keyboard at this point with 2 zealots left over, and you're like, where, why?
Well, the one had 1 health. Did you see that?
Yeah, I know. It's
6 kills, 1 health. This guy, give him a medal, turn him into a dragoon immediately. He deserves it.
So speaking to Balance's build. Like there is a late layer, and that's reasonable against Gateway Expand. Like you don't need to get, you can opt to get layer up quickly, but a lot of Zergs do opt to get up like a quick 5 hatcheries and just really like play things a bit slower in that sort of sense. Get up a lot of drones and kind of go for it that way. But it's a tricky style to pull off really, and I don't know. Let's see how well Balance can do with this. These still not enough here to deal with these zealots, and there are a few Hydras being produced, but not enough to deal with 4 zealots.
I don't know what Slayer's waiting for. He should be harassing this. He does get 2 zealots looking like they're trying to block off the ramp the best they can. A 6 hatchery going down to this 3rd base right in front of these zealots. Just more hatcheries, does not care. Decent drone drilling, just trying to buy as much time as possible. The weakened Zealot tries to fight a Hydra. 3 health left from the Hydra, unfortunately. But here comes the reinforcements. These Zealots doing as much damage as they can, getting some decent drone kills. This buys time for that first Corsair to hit the map. This is going to get that full scouting info, but, I mean, you got these Zealots over here, and you're seeing Hydras attack, you kind of have an idea what's going on.
Absolutely, absolutely. Found this, there is a Stargate up, there's a Corsair coming across the map, and there's no Spore Crawler, no Hydras at the natural, so if this Corsair can stop being annoying and pick off Overlords, that's going to sit back Balance significantly as well. And here we go, just gone to taser this Overlord to death. Hydra's not yet reacting, and now starting to be moved across, but it looks like he might lose one Overlord.
Ooh, well, I like what Slayer's doing. He's adding a lot of gateways now. He's gearing up for a really strong 2-base push, I think. He's got that Zealot's, the +1 just finishing up. Zealot legs are close, and then he's got these gateways going. Templar Archives on the way, so I think he's maybe planning to get some storms and move across the map. Like, because you see that balance, like the tech's very delayed, but he's trying to drone up really hard. Even with the damage done, look, still 35 drones. So, I know this isn't like named after it, but like every time I watch this in CPL, it's Art of Turtle to me. This is an Art of Turtle game all the way. So, like, this is it's the style. Every time I watch it, I'm like, why doesn't everyone do this? It seems to be so good every time I watch it. It's just not everyone does it for some reason. But here comes.
Sorry. The Zealots now moving out, and we'll try and get up in this round. These Hydras aren't long for this world. Won't be able to stand up to these Zealots, and more Hydras are popping here though. And this is the power of 6-hatch Hydra. You can just lava into Hydras, into anything you want really, and it's very, very powerful. 2 Corsairs still buzzing around, and let's see, won't be able to get too much with Hydras in the natural as well, but more reinforcements coming out for Slayer there.
Yeah, poking around the Overlords just a little bit here. Finally, Spire on the way, Lurker aspect as well, and the Overlord movement, so all those great Zerg mid-grain upgrades that you're looking for. We haven't seen anything else coming out of the Forge for the Protoss, but they're adding on a lot of gateways. They need to make sure they get a robo reasonably soon, as I say it, literally, God damn it, people.
There we go.
I swear I don't watch these games beforehand, so I can be like, say it at 9:19, so you can look like an idiot. God damn it, it's ridiculous.
They found a way.
Of course, you find a way. Of course, they're still trying to poke around, be as annoying as they can. But you can see this Slayer's building up that count, looking like they're trying to get something going. Storm's about to finish, and the first 2 Templar on the map. Look at this move from the Zealots all the way on that top left side. There's nothing here to really scout this. They might show up here. There's still a decent amount of Hydras and drones at this base, so you can bust through. Maybe you get some good damage done.
So many drones here. Getting up into a nice healthy 40 drone. You should aim towards 55. I know ultimate for Zerg, but yeah, I feel like once this Lurker tech finishes, it will buy a bit of time. Obviously, it slowed down the game a lot, really. And actually, having to kill his own gateway here at the front, which is a bit awkward, but yeah, it's feels like if you can just get a few Lurkers down, just stabilize a bit, it's going to hold off this big Zealot pressure here. No observers yet I see out on the map. I'm not sure if I've missed one, but yeah.
No, not yet.
So yeah, definitely a way to slow down the game. Just get yourself up, and you can produce drones for days. You see, going up to 53 here, very, very healthy for balance. So yeah, we'll have to see what can be done here.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that the egg didn't get killed at the wall instead of the gateway. Like that would let these small gateway units flow without too much issue. A Hydra did show up at the 12 o'clock and stopped the Slayer from taking a 3rd base. There was a probe up there looking like they were in position to take a look. You're seeing the Corsair still scouting around, confirming that balance is still on 3 base. But I mean, when you see Zerg still on 3 base for a long time, you gotta start thinking like, they're not taking another expansion. They got to be gearing up for something. And there's still a decent amount of lurker tech available here. Seeing observers in production finally. A lot of zealots here, but no dragoons, no switch to get in that dragoon range, and like really adding on that anti-lurker force.
Absolutely.
So I'm a little bit worried for Slayer. If he takes a bad fight, it can go real bad.
Absolutely, absolutely. And let's see what's get done here. As you say, lurkers on the way, and as soon as they get this high ground, it's going to be hard to break this with just Storm and Zealots, like you say. And, you know, let's see what gets done. And Slayer is taking his own third base, though. And as soon as you see that, there we go. Zerg going to move out and try and take his own fourth base, get that fourth gas going. And, yeah, gas is the limiting factor in this game. You can see there's so many minerals, but you really need the gas to kind of back this up, get a ton of lurkers and hydras to keep things going.
Well, I mean, good thing Cliff's got that double gas base, or the two bases in the bottom right there are so close together that if you want to really swell up the gas count, it's pretty easy for Zerg to do so. Gotta say, Cliff was a balanced map choice. It's like there's no salt here at all.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And here come a few Scourge. We'll finally pick off these Corsairs. Say that one survives with barely anything to it, but now these Zealots going to move in. No lurkers actually on this high ground, so these get a few good storms. This is going to be really, really hard. Oh no, Hydras do try to move forward. There's a sniper Templar there, but there's so much left behind here for Slayer.
Yeah, you gotta remember, like, the supplies didn't look so bad, but remember how many drones there is. The actual army for Zerg is not significant here. Really, the big muscle is going to be these lurkers, but there is an observer with the army. So if you want to keep being aggressive, and that +2 weapons is about to finish as well. Looking around, that there's one Templar, but it has a crap ton of storms charged up, about to hit max energy. The other one has 2 ready to go as well. And if you can see, Slayer's looking like they're gonna keep pushing forward here down this wide ramp. The Hydra's are going to move up. They're going to try to engage, but the lurkers are a little too far back. Here comes some storm. First one going down. Not particularly great. Hits a decent amount. Not hitting the lurkers at all. These Zealots fighting in the lurker field, taking some damage, but it's only 2 lurkers. Not giant DPS from either side. Slayer's got plenty of army to go through, especially with that +2 recently finished. Here comes more observers, but that was a big fight win for Slayer. He gets a good control on the map and should be able to keep pushing forward as long as he got some storms behind it.
Absolutely, absolutely. This supply is absolutely huge here for Slayer, though, and only 100 behind it will start to kind of clean things up as these Zealots start to get thinned out, and Dragoons do not fight well against Hydras by themselves in such huge numbers. So Slayer is forced to back off and maybe re-establish. He's got 2.5k minerals in the bank, so just throw down some quick hatcheries and just try and get yourself secure. But Slayer himself taking a 4th base and roaring ahead with his economy here.
Yeah, I think the big thing was just that as the fight kept going, there wasn't any more High Templar. There was so many core ground units, and like once the Zealots died, you don't get any splash damage. Like that fight's over. But it did buy time. Slayer's got a 4th base on the way. Zerg's still on 3, so that's like terrifying that the pro is actually out expanding here. And you can see Bounce has a lot of money banked up, but just having trouble spending it all. Like, you know, it's when you're trying to just make a lot of Hydras, they're so cheap and effective, you need a lot of larvae to go through this. So Slayer's position keeps looking better as the game goes on. He's actually even adding on support bay, gonna start going Reavers, and finally that Dragoon range getting researched. I wanted that done forever ago, but you know what, better late than never.
Absolutely, absolutely. Some lurkers are being established at this 4th base, so if Bounce can sort of secure this position, he will get himself going, and especially if he can start to move towards this top left and get that double gas as you were saying before, that can be really, really useful as well. But yeah, I don't know, this is tricky. It's still only 1-1, I think. Yeah, 1-1 for the upgrades of Zerg, and really needs to be pushing ahead. It is started 2-2 as things go, and actually getting a 3rd Evo chamber as well, so let's see if it wants to start adding on it's called those melee upgrades as well. But I'd like to see Hive at this point. If you see a Protoss go beyond 2 bases, start moving towards that Hive, start getting that Defiler and sort of crackling sort of tech, adrenal glands and such, and yeah, that's what you need to really be doing.
Yeah, I agree with that. We're seeing Slayer's actually added on 2nd Robo, so I think we're really going to start turtling up. Because he's got these Zealots over at the bottom right. I think if he establishes those, basically get that Cannon Reaver, like that real hardcore defense set up. Because like this 4th base he took, that's going to be hard. There's so many entrances there, that's hard to really like turn up and feel effective about. But if you could set up the other side, you see there's a little bit of move forward, trying to get something done. Some Scourge, I think, got killed as they were poking to see what the Protoss army was doing. And a couple Scourge flying over to that bottom right. So there's Zealots patrolling, there's Scourge hovering with that bottom right completely unoccupied by anything that could actually fight each other. Slayer's gonna move forward, but it's a lot of lurkers. I don't advise this.
Yeah, there's still not a Templar here. Only a few I see actually. I'm trying to break up this. I don't know. It feels like suicide in this regard. No need to try and do this. Just maybe taking over the position because there we go. First, Storm does get down, but behind there's so many lurkers in the high ground, and this still big force for Slayer, so we'll punch through with 172 supply. And what do I know? You know, it doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, we're still seeing hatcheries being added on. There's a lot of lanes being made as well. Upgrades going through, including drops, but Slayer's still pushing forward. There's not a lot of Zealots left. A bunch of lurkers do hatch up. Decent Storm actually does a lot of damage to these lurkers that have to get taken down before they even burrow. There's just one left over, but there's still observers. No big deal here. Slayer's got enough force to keep putting pressure through. I think this fourth base from Zerg's gonna get taken out. Balance is going to keep trying to reinforce it, but now you're just down the lanes, and Slayer was very good about his upgrade, so I don't know about this. Like, I don't think it's going to be enough to do the job.
And again, these Lings, no Adrenal upgrade on them, so they're just going to absolutely melt in the face of all this. And yeah, as the fourth base goes down, becomes hard. 4 base Protoss versus a 3 base Zerg, it's just so difficult in this position. And yeah, Slayer actually, there's no bank behind it, I guess, but and balance is still up nearly 3k now, but just nothing to spend it on. No really building out his lava for a while there throughout this fight.
Yeah, I think a big part of what we're seeing here, really, the problem is just that lack of a fourth base, a lack of the extra gas to really make Balance's army stronger. He's just having so much trouble actually producing anything. Slayer going to keep moving forward. He doesn't even have that many Zealots. Like, it's a decent little group front, but still, so many Dragoons behind. And there's still Storms to help out with everything, pushing straight downward. He can go towards the natural or cut over to the third as well. And that's going to be enough. Balance knows this game's out of hand and is going to move on to game 2.
Absolutely. And Slayer really looking commanding there from start to finish. Got good damage off with his early Zealots and such, and really through Balance for a bit of a loop there, really. And I don't know, this is awkward. Obviously, rooting for my team over IKEA, but I don't know. Seeing a Zerg die to Protoss is always makes me cry in some respect.
Hey, that's a classic CPL. Where's your loyalty? The race loyalty or the team loyalty?
Indeed. So we'll move on to the next game and see if Balance is able to bring things back on Polypoid. Okay. And yeah, let's get this game underway and see what if these players want to change things up and go for the same sort of strategies. Just we move on. So top right again, Balance representing good old Amigos, and in the top left for IKEA we have Slayer from Team Rev or Clan Rev. I don't know what
Clan Rev. Team IKEA.
Team IKEA Clan Rev, of course. Yes. So yeah, Polypoid. I like ZVP on this map. I really like the high ground positions as a Zerg, being able to get lurkers on those. If you can take that, it's really good. But these positions, yeah, we'll have to see how both players want to get things out, really. I'm not sure.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with what we saw from Balance that game. Everything looked really solid. It just didn't get the fourth base up. They couldn't spend the money.
Yeah.
It's so many drones. The economy was so set up, but there's no point in having the economy if you can't make use of it. So if that gets cleaned up, I think the Balance's game looks really solid. And that's not to say I don't like what we saw from Slayer as well. Like, that's solid. Let's get a lot of units out, get on the map. The timing of the third base felt good. They were good about all the upgrades, and they got the observers before lurkers hit. Like, everything seemed pretty clean from Slayer as well.
Absolutely. And I know you're speaking in the PvP before with circling is like when you have a lot of minerals, you just throw down a Nexus or something like that. And something you can employ as a Zerg as well. If you've got 2k minerals or something like that, nobody's going to shout at you if you just throw down 3 hatcheries and stuff like that. Get it down, get more lava. Just, try and spend your money. But again, it's the stress of the situation. It's hard to think straight in these sort of situations.
God, I don't want to say something. The chat's here, they'll know if I'm wrong. But we see that gateway opening, and I feel like in my notes, the forge is supposed to be on the left, not the gateway. I feel like that's right.
I'm trying to remember. I can't remember
I am.
actually. Yeah,
I feel like that's correct. So I
yeah,
don't know. We'll see if that plays out. If that ends up being a little bit of a problem. Yeah, fortune on the left. Returns got my back in the
yeah.
chat.
Good old,
another great CPL staff member helping us out. And he's
indeed.
helping me out here, not look super dumb, instead just average dumb.
Good old return, always on hand to help us out as always. And first scout does get off here for balance. We'll see this gateway, and they go hatch first this game. Very very ballsy because I'm petrified of doing hatch first versus protest because I get kind of rushed every single time I do it. But not this game. Not this game. Looks like first zealot will move across the map, and you know this pull will be up in time, but it's gonna be hard. This zealot will be able to get in, I imagine.
I don't know. We'll see how this ends up going down, though. We do see, ooh, look at that third hatchery. That location's a little bit spicy. Far away, securing another base. And this definitely kind of signals to me we're gonna see a very similar style as before. Because, like, if you're gonna go that big drone, that big hatchery, slow down the tech. If you take a second main on a 4-player map, that's the fourth base, the fourth gas that you needed that you couldn't take in the other game. So I'm signaling that we're gonna see something similar. But here's that first zealot. He's in the base and just trying to piss everything off. And lanes are being hatched now, but still, like, this is disrupting a decent amount of things. Although hatchery first is still, you know, it's still an economic build. You're not actually killing a lot of drones. You're just kind of pissing off the Zerg.
Absolutely. Second zealot does run in, which is going to be even more annoying to deal with now. And Lings will probably stop it getting from behind here, and yeah, gonna force a few more Lings though, and we'll pick off that probe, which is nice. But oh, unfortunately losing all the Lings. That another zealot on 21 health. My God, and I don't know. Yeah, this is awkward. First zealot could be moving in as well. There's a way to tell a Zerg player this is the way to do it. Any Protoss players in chat, please take note and.
Yeah, keep doing it. Sounds good. Now, I am concerned. Slayer's money has been floating up pretty big. He's stopped the Zealot production, and I saw 500 with basically nothing being made, even with the Nexus like already in process. So Slayer very focused on the micro, but lost a little bit of the efficiency of the build. You see a Forge going down now, going to be able to start adding on cannons. The Nexus is complete. Probes have not been transferred. I think everything, because he got the Zealots in, he's like, ooh, I got a great opportunity. Let's do something crazy. He kind of lost a little bit of the chance to get some big things done. And this wall just terrifies me. Oh, God, no, man. Everything about this wall looks bad. I don't know. It's going to be a rough one to hold.
Balance actually doing really nice, like fanning out of the Lings here. I'm not sure why you do that. I know you're trying to look for extra like zealots that might be going about, but I don't know. You killed off 2 zealots. Try and get the advantage. You go on the other side of the map, be annoying, attack the gateway or something like that. It just feels like he's missing a bit of a trick here. Lings, zealots are going to move out now and spot these Lings, and I don't know. These Lings could just move around and just try and move in, but not on the ball here. And yeah, Balance is forced to retreat as these zealots pushing across her again. Now, again, this is much better, I'd say, this game. Last game, I think Balance was a bit slower getting this macro hatchery. Like, if you're going to open, like, a no lair, try and get up your macro hatches as quickly as possible and really go into that production. But, yeah, it looks like a bit of an adjustment here. And Zealots are going to come in. Ling's going to try and fight. We'll have to see if they can pick this up. And unfortunately, Zealots are very tanky. Very tanky. And there we go. So,
well, especially if you let them fight against the wall. This is going to shut down mining from that hatchery first. Now, there hasn't been any moves from Slayer to that bottom right, so that's kind of the thankful part. That third base so far away that it's going to be hard to put pressure on it. But Slayer's still just doing a lot of disruption. You can see that drone count very stifled compared to where you would want to be. We're seeing hatcheries being added on. One at the natural is completed, and another one being added third. So very similar style to what we saw in the first game. But these Zealots disrupting things so much, slowing down that drone count, and letting Slayer have the time to get their whole thing on the way. And we're seeing there is a cybernetics core. Finally, the Stargate gets started, and Gators are going to get added on behind this.
Absolutely. I couldn't actually see that cyber core, and I was like, oh my god, surely he's not skipped a cyber core this long. But no, he's doing very well in this regard. I really don't like this bottom right base. I've got to say, like, this might be my personal preference, but it's so hard to reinforce this. If a bunch of Zealots come down here, try and bring like Lings from your main and natural, it takes so long to do. Even though Lings are speedy, it's just very difficult. And if you can get it going, like you say, you get this fourth base very nicely. But I don't know. I'm a big fan of trying to take closer bases.
I mean, I don't like the thing I'm looking at here, because if you're gonna take the close base, like the one of them is a mineral only, which
Yeah.
has less patches than normal, so it's not an ideal base to take.
Yeah.
It does help secure the fourth, but if you're good at the Sim City, which you can already see the makings of this, the Sim City is gonna be very annoying for Zealots to go into. And if you get reasonably fast lurkers, like
Yeah.
by a force coming down enough to deal with that, there's a great opportunity for a counterattack, and you just be willing to take the trade. I think that might just be a stylistic choice, but definitely something viable Zerg can do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Corsairs are going to be popping out more Lings, more Zealots moving across the map, and there's actually no Lings about to deal with this, and it looks like balance is going to be caught short again, unfortunately, as these Zealots moving into the natural for the second time, and it's going to disrupt mining once again, and very, very painful, very, very painful here.
I mean, I'm having a great time watching this. Zealots coming in. It's like you got these like cute little bugs, and they're just trying to grab minerals. And here comes the football team. They're punching them to death. Like, honestly, like it's kind of just fun. I don't know. Like they just bully them to death the Protoss way. There's one Hydra here, but you see they're in the drone line. Good drone micro to try to disrupt this as much as possible, take minimal losses. But these Zealots still doing big damage back at home. Now they're gonna turn on these Zealots. Drone's trying to help as much as they can, but so much disruption. More Hydras finally come to reinforce, but look at that drone count, down to 19. These little Zealot attacks are doing so much work.
And there we go. It's more than done its damage at this point, really. And yeah, behind this, getting up more gateways. He's got his Templar tech. He's absolutely laughing at this point. But again, there are 5 hatcheries here for balance, so we'll be able to get drone things up. But again, it's very, very difficult. Let's see, 19 drones going to be moving up to 25 here shortly, but the damage is more than being done.
I don't know. More gateways being added on for Slayer. He's going to be able to move into this mid game with a pretty scary force. And given how much disruption he's already done, you can see these Corsairs moving around. They're going to find that other base location. And now I can see why you're like, I don't like these far apart bases. If you get disrupted this much and you just don't have the money to invest in like this SAG defense and all these kind of things, knowing there's a base hanging out there, there's a great opportunity to get something done. Balance is going to have to try to cut as many corners as possible just to stay in this game without falling too far behind. But now he's got an extra point of weakness, and we'll see if Slayer makes the right choice about where to attack.
Absolutely. It did have these Hydras out. I would like to maybe keep them, just something to spot outside the front. Obviously, you can't have Overlords at this point of the game. Just something to spot if there's a move out. Because if Zealots do start moving down this way, you're going to need Sunks. You're going to need something to really hold on to this base. And this is your life force at this point. Keep this going. Keep this healthy. Has got up to 32 drones. Drone like an absolute madman. So full respect to him here. But yeah, definitely needs to be careful. Does pick off the Corsair, which is very, very nice though. And
yeah, the Hydras go down. They're going to reinforce that far base. And you can actually see the Robos started ahead of the lair. So the observers will definitely, like, there's no lurker surprise, no kind of shenanigans happening here. But you can see everything from the balance compared to game 1, very disrupted. And the Slayer army is definitely going to be looking strong. He's even adding DTs, looking for an opportunity. Maybe there's some observers that are going to be like some overlords not in spot to see what's going on. Or just add that raw DPS, be able to fight it straight up. Dragoon range being added on, but so far ahead of the curve. Balance is trying to be as greedy as possible, though. Every time I look at that production tab, I just see drones. It's just drone constantly. He's playing the I hope you don't attack me game. And I don't think Slayer's about that life.
the T-Rex build is admirable, but unfortunately, yeah. But then again, it looks like not moving out just yet. Slayer opted to take his fair base instead, but I would expect some kind of move out soon. I don't know. If you do let a Zerg drone this much, it's gonna be hard. And killing his own gateway again. Aren't Protoss supposed to kill their own gateway? I know. I don't know. Should you kill your own gateway here? I don't know.
No. You kill the leftmost cannon there. There's definitely an opening between the buildings. You don't need to kill the gateway.
Okay. I was like looking at that. I was like, something feels wrong, but I don't know if I'm just a Zerg and I ain't being an idiot here. But I don't know. Regardless, looking in the main, there's so many gateways here for Slayer. So I don't know. Do what you gotta do.
We'll see. Spire on the way. More drones behind it. Lurker aspect about to complete. And adding on some Evo chambers. So Balance is trying to get all those things up where his late game will be looking strong. But remember, he's got to survive to that point. And here comes that army from Slayers moving down. As a lot of zealots, they got their +1 armor upgrade just now, so these are pretty robust at 1-1. And a couple Dark Templar and a little extra DPS. There is no static defense here. There's just some Hydras, not even Lurkers.
Yeah.
This is going to be trouble. They're going to be here before there's any chance to get any real defense. The Lurker's going to get morphed, but Slayer's going in for the attack.
Absolutely, and here we go. And again, you'll see from the main now the panic of quite quick. I need to move all my Hydras, and this is why it's difficult. This is why it's hard to hold, and you need spotters. You need to see if this base is vulnerable, and especially as the High Templar move down here, these bases are going to get absolutely wiped out. Storm lands and the Hydras, and absolutely gutted in this situation.
I mean, the Lurkers do manage to get burrowed. One does get taken out by the storm before it really gets anything done, but the observers are here. All the drones getting cleared out, despite still having a massive drone count. But Balance knows the damage is going to be too much, taps out, and Slayer looking really confident, taking that game 2-0.
Quick games from Slayer, and absolutely playing very, very well in that regard. But yeah, again, it's a mixture of go Team IKEA and also, oh my god, I feel for Balance in that sort of situation. I know Balance probably had a good season, I believe, and I think he was on. I can't remember if he was on my team last season. I remember seeing him about anyway, and he's someone who puts a lot of effort. So I don't know, Balance. I don't know. I still commend his position.
Yeah, it seems pretty reasonable here, but you're making a cardinal mistake. You're trying to remember stuff or do math on stream. Don't do that.
No,
like that's the cardinal move, man. You don't want to be doing any of that. But that does end up Slayer's taking a win, so that puts IKEA up to 6 compared to Amigos 3. So IKEA looking like they're starting to pull away with a little bit of lead, but we still got 2 more sets tonight. We're gonna see what's going on as we keep moving forward.
Absolutely. So moving on to Bale versus Ashen with a good old TVP, so my Zerg knowledge has become redundant once again, so we'll see how things proceed here. Let's move on to the game. So let's change things, change the layout, and there we go. And moving in the top right, we have Ashen from Ami. Good old Amigos, and in the bottom left we have Bale representing Team IKEA and Clan Ash. And there's a bit of lag, I don't know, I'm just going to put on, oh, I can't even change it. How do you change, can you change the,
I got it, man, I got it.
Thanks, yeah.
You gotta wait till a certain point in the game.
Oh, do you? Oh my god, I didn't know that, thank you. Yeah, so moving to this game, TVP. How do you feel about TVP? You said ZVP wasn't a hate.
No, I love me some TVP, but Eclipse is shenanigans, so you never really know. And here goes that SCV to prove my fucking point.
Oh my god! And
God damn it, Ball, you piece of shit. Hey, that's all good. These are 2 CPL mainstay players. Ball, he not historically a Terran player, using this season of CPL to train up the Terran. He's played other races before. And then Ashen is one of the guys I remember when I first started in CPL. He was in Tier 3 with me and clearly stepping up and becoming a much stronger player. But here we go. Every time I watch Eclipse, I go, there's so many great spots for proxies. Why doesn't anyone proxy on Eclipse? But here comes Ball. He heard my prayers. He's coming at you with the BBS.
I admit I had knowledge of this. I speak very closely with Ball. He's a good friend of mine, and he said game 1, Kamadas, I'm gonna BBS, and I was like, you know what, you do you. It's a finals, and it's I love to see it, man. If it's not being done to me, you can do it. I'm very, very happy here, and undetected. Gateway coming out here, obviously for Ashen, but I don't know. Can Ashen hold in this position? What do you do as Protoss? Is it all about knowledge? Is it all about knowing that this is coming at you?
I mean, this is just a rough situation. It's going to be really important. How fast does he get that Zealot? There is a core. There's a lot of Protoss players that don't get a Zealot. You can go Z into core, you can go core Z, or if you try to delay because you want to just get 2 gateways in Dragoon production, and that's looking like what Ashen's doing. Oh, dear God, no.
If there are any Protoss players in chat, I mean, you had the ZVP last game, I would look away now. This might be a hairy one. It does look like first SCV and Marina's going to move out, and Ashen's going to see this, and he's going to be hitting himself.
Yeah, Ashen with the scout time that I call we're playing an honest game, right? Like where you're not going to detect it in time. It's not honest. But you see two SCVs roll up in your base. Here's a Marine. You're like, God, no, what is happening? Here goes that bunker. Actually using the SimCity against it, much reduced surface area. That bunker is going to be able to fire really good at the pilot and the mineral line. Decent Marine micro so far. Probe's trying to get pulled. The one Marine does end up going down, but the big thing is you got to stop that bunker from finishing, or you got to make sure Marines never get to enter it. But the probes are guarding it off. That oh man, they're trying so hard to intercept it, but two of them get in. And that's it. I think that's going to be game.
Oh my god.
Ooh, they can actually get the repair on here. The probes trying to do the damage they can, but still, so much being done. Here comes that first Dragoon, and is SCV still alive? That repair going down. No Dragoon range, so you're taking damage to try and fight this. And that bunker is fully alive. So much damage done already. Ball isn't really working behind this, but Ash doesn't even want to deal with it. We're going to game 2.
What again?
God damn
it. You've got to throw it in, you know, it's been too honourable to this situation. You know, we've had 9 pull speeds and stuff like that. Not really cheese, BBS. Ball never fails to disappoint, I'd say. And yeah, I don't know. I commend it. I absolutely commend it in this sort of situation. We'll have to see if it wants to be tricky 2 games at the bounce, or I don't know, maybe play some mind games and play a straight game. We'll have to see.
Well, I mean, 4-player map. If you're going to beat us again, you monster, you animal.
I did cast a game between Inkjet, who did no, actually, I can't remember. Inkjet did something tricky, though, and it was absolutely insane. On the 4-player map, I was like, my god, yeah. The balls on this man, I swear.
I mean, we'll see. Well, let's get into that game, too, and see if Ball can play the matchup for real or if he's giving up on Terran.
And here we go, moving things over. And with Polypoid. So, in the top right, we have Ball. Or Bale. I still don't know how to pronounce that. He did say once how it was supposed to be pronounced. Whatever. Representing Clan Ash and Team IKEA. Build orders. It's on the top right here, and in the bottom right we have Ashen from Clan Ami, representing Amigos. So, no immediate SCVs been sent out, so I don't know.
Well, it wouldn't be for a little bit, so, you know, hold your horses. You gotta wait a little tiny bit on this one. But, you know, this could change how Ashen plays, where, remember, I was saying he got a gateway, he got a core, he didn't build an early zealot, he did a very delayed scout, because typically you don't have to rush to get the scouting info. So maybe on a 4-player map, he feels like you wouldn't do that again. That was just like an Eclipse thing. But we'll see if Ashen does decide to play it a little safer this time. And that could give an opportunity for Ball to do all sorts of things. Like, he can go for a Rax expand, he could go for these kind of macro-centric openings where it's like maybe your opponent is going to play a little more conservatively because you just freaking cheesed them into the Stone Age.
It's a really good way to throw off your opponent, and I don't know, there's a lot of players say, you know, why cheese, why it's so dishonorable, you know, the whole autosis of...
No, we're in the final. You win.
Exactly.
You're in the final now. Win.
And again, I know there's probably some coach somewhere shaking the head at the BBS, but you gotta respect it, man. You gotta respect it.
I mean, I know the amount of times I tried to play on ladder, and it's like, all right, it's Eclipse, let's go. And the most ridiculous cheese hits me. I scout for it. I always scout for it when I play Eclipse now. I know it's coming. Like, it's, I just don't know where it's coming from. That's why every time we watch games on that map, I'm like, why are people playing straight up here over and over and over? It's like, I go on the ladder, that's not what I see.
It does remind me of when, you know, Silphid was still in the rotation of ladder. Every Protoss I played, Proxy 2-gated in the middle of the map, and it just got to the point where it was like, I'll send the drone there immediately. There we go, yep, I'll collect my free victory, please, in that regard. It's, yeah, there are certain maps where shenanigans are aplenty.
Yeah, see, I was an honorable PVZ on Silphid. I built my 2 gates in my main, because I'm honorable.
I don't know about that. Any amount of gateways early on, I don't know. But we'll see.
Well, we'll end up seeing what's going on here. Now, Ball is walling themselves in, and they got the gas. They're working on that first factory. We're going to see they're not pulling guys out of the gas yet. Usually, if you're walling off and you keep guys mining gas, it tends to be 2 factories. So, Ball I mean, it's like we're elevating a little bit in the honorable kind of play here, but I'm not sure about this one.
Absolutely.
Dirty two fact could be very strong on this map, definitely, especially since it's going to be that short rush distance because it's not cross map.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think Tupac it's a strong build, obviously, as I'm sure many pros are aware, and we'll see how much he can get done with it if he does opt to go for it. I don't know. Again, is this all a matter of scouting for the Protoss? If you know Tupac is on the way, is it something you can hold comfortably, or is it always going to be tight?
I'm sorry, I got distracted.
It's
Freaking
okay.
ball messaged me on Discord saying I can yell at whatever I want. God damn it. Oh man, I'm sorry, but no, like, so if you're Protoss and you're going up to the Terran base, you don't get the scout in there, which unfortunately Ashen did get the final scout. You see the probes cutting back across, going to use the first Dragoon to get in there, but you see a wall off, and it's like that's red flags. Like you should at least start thinking about it. Now Ashen still does have that early nexus, doing a 1 gateway expand. Now, a big part of slowing down these pushes to make sure you can survive enough is being forward across the map and actually slowing them down. Use your Dragoons, take pot shots as best you can. If they just march across the map and show up at your base, you're probably going to at least lose your nexus that you're trying to get that expansion for.
Absolutely, absolutely. And see, there's actually no second battery come down for Bart. Then just go for it up to an Expo instead. So this is tricky. We'll have to see what he wants to do with this. I'm not overly sure.
Well, no, this is one of those optimizations I always try to read into. It's like, because if you're trying to get the expansion, you should pull guys out of gas while you can't really make use of it. I'll get the expansion a little faster. I know there's probably plenty of people that are just like, I never remember to put them back in if I do that, so I'm not going to do that. So I get it. Like, that's completely fine.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And obviously getting the expansion down will give a bit of, obviously keep pace with the number of Protoss bases, shall we say. And I don't know, we'll have to see. It looks like lifting this barracks, though, probably going to float down to the low ground, move with these siege tanks, and just secure this natural position, and we'll see how things want to go.
Yeah, well, it's going to be able to go at... God, I'm getting so distracted. The chat's telling me not how to say his name. You know what? You guys can cast it. You can say it however you want. Like, that's where we can go. But the CC does end up finishing. The rack's going to land on the low ground. There's a decent amount of tanks made, so it's like still a pretty robust amount of units here. And I think there's nothing weird about what we're seeing from Bale. Okay. Whatever. Like...
Yeah.
Oh, we're having a good time. But siege mode's done. Nothing's on the high ground. That's always like one thing I'm always worried about. That you should always have at least one of those siege tanks on the high ground, so they can't get like busted in case you're a little bit out of position.
Absolutely.
But Ashen still 3 gateways. Gonna have a robo to get some observers, get the vision. But they need to take a third base soon. Otherwise, they're just not gonna have the muscle to keep up with Terran.
Sorry, I know going back to the name, but I remember now Bale saying that there's a Diablo 2 boss or Lord of Hell, I think.
Yeah, it's Diablo 2. But the thing is, Diablo 2, I played that game listening to music when I was in high school, so I don't know how anything's pronounced. Like, why would I? I was listening to like Linkin Park, being a real cool kid, like, just crunching monsters after school every day.
So I was going to say, how do you pronounce Deck of Cain? But obviously I've just pronounced it then. But is there some other weird sort of pronunciation there as well? But that's that's interesting. But yeah, moving to this game, Observer flies in, gets sniped immediately. Good turret there, and yeah, feels like I don't know. I don't feel like either player's got too much of an edge in this sort of position. Obviously, warding off those early Dragoons was nice, but you can help your expansion. But I'm not sure. Would you say either player's ahead in this sort of position?
Well, as far as like raw ahead, like if you're just gonna play, perfect vision, everything, I'd say it's reasonably even right now. Ashen is starting the third base. They're gonna be able to add on some gateways soon. But the big thing is, like, look how defensive Bale is being here. Like, he got the turret ring up in the main. He got 2 turrets at the natural. The first observer got killed. So there's no knowledge from Ashen about how many factors are being added on. How many add-ons are there? Are you going armories? Like, are you prepping for like a big 5-fact push or something? Or are you doing like 2-1? Are you maxing out? Like, he kind of has no idea what's happening. Because that's one of the big things you need to do at this point. You got to get vision, know what you're preparing for, and actually prepare for it. And you can see this observer. It's trying to find a spot to enter. But there's these turrets, like, I've never seen the turrets play this defensively, but holy crap, it looks annoying.
I hear Flash is a fan of multiple turrets to protect his main, but not at this stage of the game. And I don't know, respect to denying vision in StarCraft is a big thing, and it's a big move out here with a lot of siege tanks, it looks like.
Yeah, remember I was saying, you gotta be able to slow this down. The observers don't catch this. It's gonna show up. They're actually getting some free damage. They're gonna take out some of these Dragoons without any issue at all. Ashen gonna have to retreat. No more pushing forward here. And nothing's really like put together. He's trying to take a forward Nexus over on the side, but this is a scary force for Bale. He's gonna move forward. He doesn't have any upgrades to go with it, but it's just a lot of raw tanks. There's just not enough Dragoons. Bale's gonna muscle through without any issue.
Ooh. Siege tank's not obviously in a vertical position here, so not getting auto firing, but does eventually group up together and will start going forward. Good mine hit there, getting a few hits there, and the one Dragoon on absolutely nothing. Will push this back, I guess, yeah, and it's too much, not actually a lot here at the natural of the Protoss, so this could get dicey.
Yeah, especially since the observatory is at the front, it's going to make it hard to leave out here. You can get in a real good siege spot. These mines are scaring the crap out of me, though. It's going to be so easy to mine drag or drop into those. Remember, the observers are made, so shuttles are an option. You can see the pros being pulled. They're trying to fight that tank. They're doing the absolute best they can, but Ashen taking big damage. First mine hit goes off, kills probes, kills Dragoons. One of the tanks finally goes down, but here's some reinforcement vultures. And if they can get in the main and start mining up those gateways, this is going to be a nightmare. Suicide units just trying to eliminate everything it can. It does kill off all the tanks eventually, but so much damage is done. Bale's in a great spot.
Absolutely, absolutely. Moving up into the main now. We'll start taking down a few of these drones. Dragoons do pop out in time, so not as much damage as being left to free reign, but behind this, I mean, Bale on the 31 supply, and yeah, just really rocking it in this sort of position. But there is still a third base for Ashen, so I guess not the end of the world, but a lot of damage taken.
Yeah, I mean, you lost a lot of the probes. That's kind of the whole point of this. And if you look at the other bases, basically once Terran finds them, how do you defend them? There's no cannons. You can see there's a pile on one side, but you don't have any like units moving forward. And you can see he's got to be careful because that mine's trying to make sure you move forward. That Dragoon does go down. It's one vulture, so eliminating the probes at that third base. There's still mines made, like for any units that try to rally out if they go too far to the left. And now it's just down to Zealous. They don't even have speed either. Bale's gonna keep making tanks. They're adding on an armory. They don't need to take another expansion. They're doing so much damage as it is.
There is something tricky here for Ashen though. Taking the bottom left base, 4 bases after you've taken this much damage. Good lord, that's. I don't know. It's one way to do it, and it's a way to get back in the game if it goes uncontested. If Bale plays passive, I guess, but I don't know. We'll have to see. It looks like he hasn't been macroing too much off the back of this though.
Yeah, a lot of things getting added on now production-wise, finally working on those upgrades. It's still a lot of factories made. Actually can't even add on more gateways. When Terran has more factories than you have gateways, that's a problem. That's already a problem. And I feel like it even disrupted things, because there's a Citadel that didn't start Zealot legs. And that's usually on the path. At this point, you want to start going towards Arbiters.
Yeah.
I think they got disrupted so much. Ashley can't even get that Temple Archives. Can't take that next step because they just need to make units to survive here. And even what they're going to make is just not going to be enough. Don't walk into those mines. You got them. Please.
Very good. Very good. Catching in time as Observer moving up. And yeah, it looks like Bale instead going to take his third base on this high ground. I mean, you're in the lead. Why not? It's can siege up this high ground, and it's going to be hard for Protoss to break this, but yeah, tricky position for Ashen this, and so, yeah, like I say, so many factories, so can be siege tanks for days here.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're up to 3 machine shops, which, to my knowledge, the rule of thumb is 1 per gas. So this might be a little bit more that can actually get sustained. Like, you think you're going to be cutting into things, but you'll still be able to get quite the army up. Especially once that armory finishes that first +1 weapons, that might be the signal that Bale's going to move out and try to put the pressure on here. But Ashen is recovering pretty well. That the probe count after getting decimated, 4 Nexus does let it recover pretty quickly. I'm hearing scans go down, but they're just at the main, just trying to check out what the tech is, which is just a couple gateways getting added on. Finally, a Stargate Temple Archive, so working towards Arbiters, but there's still be quite a while before they're effective.
Absolutely. There's a small, I don't know, recon force you want to call it for Ashen here, and trying to move out, but we'll probably just confirm that this third base is here. Ooh, bottom left, the Vulture
Oh
gets in, sees
no,
this, and
no.
oh, his Bale paying attention isn't quite moving it yet, but there's a panic of Ashen of quick, I need to do something, and Bale putting down 1, 2 mines. I don't know. I'll just go for the probes in this sort of situation. Get as much damage as you can. One Vulture isn't going to be long for this world, but he knows that's here, and that's half the battle. First mines do go off, but yeah, I guess knowing that this is here, he can start to react.
I mean, still, that's Vulture's going to get up to like probably 6 kills. It's even forcing 3 cans to get made, so there's a lot of investment for Ashen to defend one singular Vulture every day of the week. That's worth it for Bale, and he just keeps accumulating what's going on. That mineral only fully set up, plenty of turrets to defend it. I see another SCV moving out here. Looking like it's going to go to 12 o'clock and try to get another base online, at least another gas, or is it just walking around for fun because the scenery is nice? I'm not sure.
Who knows? Who knows? But we'll see these, Dragoons moving out quite strangely as well. They might also be looking for extra expos, see if they can get everything else done. But yeah, I don't know. Ashen has managed to take a supply lead after everything is said and done, and has got up his probe lead very, very well. So, not probe lead, but his matched probes, should I say. And yeah, recovered strangely after such a disastrous opener.
Yeah, I mean, reasonably enough, but everything did get delayed. It's either the gateway count's not that big. For 4 bases, 6 gateways not nearly enough. The Arbiter Tribune's about to finish now, so you're still going to be miles away from having the first Arbiter made, having build up the energy to be effective. And you can see, like, this was a supply. The supply between 2 players is pretty even. And Bale's got a crap ton of SCVs as they're taking a 4th base here. So they got an early lead. They're using that to just smoothly transition into the next part of the game. Science facility done so they work on some of these other armory upgrades. They didn't make a second arm. Oh no, they did. It's in the main, so that's starting to +2 weapons.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything Bale's doing, everything looks pretty good so far. Nice and stable, not trying to overreach, but it is giving Ash time to get back in this game.
Absolutely, absolutely, and yeah, we'll have to see how much this Arbiter tech can do. I know some Terrans are absolutely terrible dealing with recalls and all sorts of shenanigery from Arbiters, but yeah, I don't know. It has got obviously the turrets in the main if there's some kind of mass recall there, but no mines to add the extra light protection there.
Those turrets will not stop a recall.
No.
Like the Arbiter might die on the way, but that recall's happening. That will not be enough to stop the job.
Absolutely.
You're seeing more factors get added on. Depots just added where they can be here. So trying to build up whatever macro they can. I think if you want to stop the recalls here, you got the best thing that Bale can do is actually start putting mines in the base. But look at this Pro-S move out towards that 12 o'clock base. It's all Dragoons. There's a wall here, a couple tanks. They got they got the +1 upgrade. This is an easy setup that's going to be hard to break through. Ashen's not even going to try, but notice his opponent now is on 4th base.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, knowledge is power in this sort of situation. Did notice that there's Spider-Man at the bottom left as well, so going to stop any more sneaky expansions going up for Ashen in this sort of situation. But yeah, this is tough. This is tough. A lot of zealots moving out as well, so this is very, very gateway man sort of thing. But did see in the bottom left as well a huge swell of gateways for Ashen, so starting to take advantage of the huge sort of economic lead he's had at least.
Well, you say huge, but even on this many bases, that's not enough gateways.
Oh my god, okay. I mean, talking like 30, 40, should he take the other main base as well? My gosh.
Well, like, you can see, he's got a decent probe count. He's up to 67 now. And all the bases are still mining. It's not like the main's mined out. He's back to 3 or whatever. You can see he's going to start approaching max really soon. The big thing about having all these gateways is it lets you do a recall or do a fight, you exchange it, and it immediately go back up. It's not about producing out of them constantly. It's about the remax after you take that fight with Terra to start whittling things away. But Arbiter's now on the field. He's got 2 Stargate production. Here comes 1 Vulture trying to see whatever they can. And Ashen's army pretty far forward. Doesn't actually see the Arbiter. And I got to take a look. Do you actually see any science vessels?
Actually, that's, very, very good point. Looks like it's just
that's one thing.
Completely missed. I say that here comes the science vessel in the production tab, so one is on the way, but I don't know. This could be awkward if this moves forward. I guess there's plenty of scans also online with the comsats and such, but yeah, it definitely needs that vessel count up.
Well, yeah, we gotta start working towards it. You see EMP Shockwave being researched as well. That's the big thing I'm always looking for. That's the best recall defense. Just
Yeah.
just send its energy to Shadow Rep. Don't let it happen. We're seeing these vultures trying to line off, like restrict some Ashen's movement. If they're gonna attack, it's gonna be from certain angles. But that bottom left, that mine does get cleared out, so a fifth base going down for Ashen. Everything looking pretty stable. And this is we're gonna wonder if Bale's gonna regret giving Ashen so much time to get reestablished, get back in this game here.
Yeah,
But still, it's a lot of ground army. The upgrade is looking good now. 2-1 completed, and the level 2 armor on the way. Hasn't started level 3 weapons. A little bit of a ball being dropped by Ball. He could keep doing better things here, but still a lot of arbiters here. More nexuses going down. I see 2 in production, so there's got to be another one somewhere.
top left, yeah, taking that extra, mate. I mean,
Yeah.
you heard that we need more gateways, so take that and get more gateways on the way. It seems to be the aim. Big move out here, and here come the arbiters as well, and no science vessels, so I'm gonna need the scans to try and get this out. But there's so much here for Ashen. My God.
I mean, the siege tanks are layered pretty good. There's not going to be a good opportunity to do big stasis, but there's a lot not involved in the fights. You can see there's things over at the top side. There's not a lot of zealots. They're starting to get thinned out, but still a lot of dragoons. One stasis hits a single thing, and the arbiter's going to die. The turret's off on the side. Unfortunate, but still, Ashen taking a big fight, gets a nice little supply lead. Here comes the science vessel chasing it down. It's got the EMP, and it's going to try to go for this arbiter. It does knock it down. Didn't have a lot of energy to begin with. But here's some more units. Ashen taking a good fight, getting all these extra expansions around the map. And now it looks like Bale, he gave him too much time. Like, this is actually going to be something, Bale's going to be proactive, do something about this. Maybe dropship play, something to shut down one of these other bases. But as it is right now, Ashen's doing exactly what we want to do. Limit the army, you have a ton of gateways, keep reproducing, and just swarm the map with a million nexus.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's difficult when you get a big lead early on in a game. Sometimes players just don't know how to close things out. How do I keep on pushing? How do I keep on forcing that advantage? And the worst thing you can do is be too passive and let your opponent get back into the base, into the game, should I say. And Bale will, with these vultures, scout this base, but still unaware that in the top left, that's already begun more gateways on the way up here. But will also spot this extra nexus, but not been mined from yet, but knows the situation that he's in, that, yeah, Ashen's taken the map.
Yeah, good thing there's cans here from before, so the probe damage is going to be a little bit limited on the bottom left, but Ashen actually retreating with everything, wants to go in there, get what they can done. They can stop this. All the upgrades going through, still a lot of production from both sides. Ashen back to max already, so you can see how the power of having all these gateways late in the game like this. And there's some arbiters, they got a lot of energy. Recalls could start threatening soon, especially that, well, not that 12 o'clock base. That is turning in a way I've never seen before. So 12 o'clock, you have that 12 o'clock. We're not dealing with that 12 o'clock.
You can take
but, you know,
yeah, but the main.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of turrets all over the place other than the main. If you can find an opportunity to go in. But I think Ashen might actually be better served trying to push through and use stasis instead, because it's going to be hard to actually defend all these locations.
Absolutely, and maxed out Ashen, if you're maxed out, you've got to do something. Throw units away, trade, do something with them, because the more the time goes on, you're allowing Bale to really get up and catch up in that lead as well. And it does start to move out now, and looks like there might be a bit of engagement. Bale probably needs to siege up if he wants to try and take this fight, but looks like I'm unfortunately missing it.
Oh yeah, no siege, not in time. Here come the 2 arbiters. This is a great opportunity for a good stasis. There it is, 5 tanks out of this fight. So Ashen has a superior number count, moving forward with a great amount of units. Good amount of arbiters here as well. Where's the science vessel with the EMP? It's going to be so important here. And we're not going to try to find out. Bale's going to lose this game.
God damn, it's very, very strange game. So just moved very breakneck pace towards the end out of nowhere, and yeah, I feel for Bale definitely in that situation. Strong start, but just wasn't able to close it out, unfortunately. And Ashen knowing that the way to get back, taking more expansions and get your drones up, and yeah, sail through.
Yeah, well, I think this is the kind of game that corrupts a player, right? EBS, easy win. Play it straight up. Like, no. For us, that's Protoss at you. No. I'm curious to see what the strategy is in game 3.
Absolutely,
Oh,
absolutely.
on Sylphid too. Oh God,
Oh,
this could be bad.
I did speak to Bale, and he was like, if it gets to Silphid, I could BBS again. And I'm like, you do you, man, you do you. So we'll see what the game has on offer as we move into game.
That seems like a self-defeating strategy. But you know what? We're gonna find out what's happening here.
Absolutely. In the bottom left, we have Ashen taking a good game with many expansions. And in the bottom right, we have Bale, as we've now established, thanks to chat's help, and yeah, representing Team IKEA. So yeah, we'll have to see what goes on, and actually immediately a pro being sent out this time. So I wonder, maybe Ashen saying,
My dude, let's go. Return the favor. He's moving up into that middle spot. There's a great opportunity. And look at that tree. That tree is so obnoxious, man. You have all sorts of good stuff happening here, but I mean, that's very early. If you're doing a proxy, that's actually a little too early. You're kind of cutting into your mining, slowing things down a little bit. But it's in the position, you know, you're doing what you're trying to get done here. It's not so bad. Yeah, here's that pylon. I'm expecting 2 gateways, real hard commitment to getting things done. Bale, understanding that this could happen, he's trying to wall off the entrance, which if you can get a successful wall off here, that will slow things down very significantly because Zealots don't punch through depots that well.
There is a phrase that you cannot choose a cheeser, so we'll have to see if Bale holds true with this. And yeah, here comes down the first gateways, and I don't know that this can be tricky, but again, it's all depends. Like if this wall gets completed, and yeah, what Bale wants to do with this really.
I mean, really, we gotta get in the blind in here. Guest spots, like judge this wall, judge it. But look at that SCV scout. It's going for the middle of the map. It knows what's up. No, oh no, abandoned ship.
Even attacking the pylon, I know what's up. I know what is going on, and this awkward situation of like, I've got to commit, I guess. Yeah, this is really awkward, and we can see there goes the next supply depot, completing the wall for Bale, and he knows what's up. He knows what's up, and it's just, how does he take this game forward from here?
Well, Ashen, like, he has to actually still eventually kill these. Like, the Zealots aren't going to get in. They're not going to be able to kill things off, but it's still 2 gateways of pressure. And, like, if you want to develop into this, because remember, this is a wall off now. Like, this is something you can harass, even making a bunker to really, like, enforce this the best you can.
Yeah.
If you wanted to put the pressure on Ashen, get a gas, go to your cyber core, 2-gate goon, and put the pressure on. But otherwise, you abandon this entirely, and you go for a fast expansion. But you gotta kill that scout if you're doing that. If they scout you doing that, Terra can easily set up a push to kill you.
Absolutely. But could just complete bullshit away this zealot, and still one more zealot being produced from this gateway, but I would expect that to cease from that. And as you say, here comes the assimilator, and looks like yeah, Ashen been caught out with his trickery this game, and full respect to him though. Game 3, last game of the series. Going for that, full respect.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I'm surprised that you know, Bale was so comfortable looking for it, because if that's you playing the map, that's Sylphid.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta check it on Sylphid, but
Absolutely.
Ashen just got messed with early game in a macro game and won anyway. Like, why would you expect him to cheese now? Like, that's like layers on layers of like some real nonsense here. But still, it's a decent amount of Zealots now up. They're you're gonna have to be able to clear them up. And look what this wall lets you do. Like I was saying before. Ooh, 2 factories on the way.
Ooh, very
what
nice.
a dirty 2-factor boy.
Well, I think both players have abandoned any gentleman's agreement, any camaraderie that might be between the two. I think is all being abandoned at this point. And Bale, yeah, going for that 2 factory. Why not? Why not? This SUV, I swear to God, if this killed this this paladin would be disastrous. But it does go down, and yeah. See, the core has been put down for Ashen, getting up that Dragoon range, and yeah, I expect probably mass Dragoon from this point.
I mean, it's what you gotta do. You gotta try to get something going here, because if nothing else, like those are gonna get cleaned up eventually. You
Mm,
have to make use of them now because if you invest in 2 gateways, that's units you're not producing. It eventually gets killed, and then you're down to what we'll see at this moment being 1 gateway production.
mm,
If you're playing like Bale and you're going 2 factory behind this, you will not have the units to do it. So
absolutely.
you can't just pretend like, oh, these aren't going to get anything done. You have to use them while you can. And
Mm,
I like that Ashen's doing that, not rushing for the expansion, because otherwise I think Bale would just win this game in minutes whenever he pushes out. But he
absolutely.
doesn't have any machine shops. This is actually all vultures and marines, no tanks behind this. So
Mm,
I'm a little less sold in this now, if I'm honest. And look at that citadel. One base. If we're gonna cheese, we're gonna into cheese, all the way to Wisconsin. This is ridiculous.
my word. There is no honor in this game, and here come the vultures moving out with a few marines as the supporting cast as well. We'll clean this up, and yeah, I would like to just see these vultures just go for the main, just bypass anything here. I think there's one dragoon here. Looks like Bale is gonna go for 5, but I'm not a fan. Like this, I don't know. I'm not sure. It looks like this is probably gonna get shoot away. Three dragoons is a lot to fight.
Yeah, they don't have range just yet. Will be soon. But yeah, the units that are moving out here. This is why I was surprised to move out without the tanks here. He was really just trying to rush, shut down these gateways before they can get too much done. Everything does eventually get cleaned up, but look, the reinforcements, one is going to pop out, the other one got started very late, and he's not focusing the pylon to shut down the production. And here comes that first one to pop out here. If you switch to the pylon and depower these, that's the move you want to go for. Don't actually try to kill the gateways. You can do that later. That's no big deal at all. But Citadel's done. No Templar started yet, so no rush to DTs immediately. But Ball still has plenty of units on the map, putting the pressure on. And here's that machine shop working on tanks. Ashen is in trouble. let's
Yes.
be real. He is in trouble.
Absolutely, and Bale, in the midst of all this, did get a vulture into Ashen's main, so he sees the citadel and he knows that something tricky must be going on. So absolutely no secrets in this game for Bale. Doing a masterful job of scouting, and yeah, is going to get up some turrets as well. Does not want to take any sort of risks.
I suppose so, but if he was in there, he saw no Templar archive. Like, you already have a pylon in the middle of the map. Like, how much can you invest hiding all this kind of nonsense? Either he be looking for this with this vulture for other tech, and assume you have plenty of time. Like these turrets, it's safe, but it's like overly safe. Like, what are you really expecting to happen right now? Because you can even see the stuff coming. Like, you have a wall, you have time to build the turrets, so you have the eBay finished. That's all you're really looking for. Even mines are completed, so. A little critique there about the choice, but still, Bale in a great position. He's building up a big force, and Ashen, without a lot of units behind it, is trying to take a Nexus that doesn't have any defense. So, whenever Bale gets a couple of these tanks up and moves out, I think it's going to be real hard to defend.
Absolutely. This vulture at the top does spot, like I said, this probe trying to maybe take another expansion here, double expansion. I swear to God, if he went double expansion behind this, that was crazy madness. But yeah, it kind of feels like Ashen feeling a bit desperate here. Like, what can you do? And here come the first tanks moving out with the vultures here. So let's see what can be done. Will small dragoon force out here, which will spot the move out, and I expect that there will be a quick retreat.
Yeah, I mean, it's still just not a lot of units here. Remember, decent amount of tanks are available. Some Vultures and Mines, here comes a third tank. I think that's what you're looking for here. Vulture Speed's on the way too. Robotics, but no Templar Archives just yet. So still, can't make those Templars, can't be doing too many shenanigans. But here comes a fight in the middle of the map. If Ashen slows down, buy some time, that might be good. He still has to keep using these gateways in the middle, but reinforcements are about to finish. He's moving forward. He's triggering a lot of mines. He's trying to get some tank kills, gets 2 of them. He's going to manage to get all the tanks killed, and Bale moved out, didn't control as well as he could, and Ashen has a great defense.
Absolutely, and things having to cool off for a bit, and as a result, Ashen has got up his natural, so definitely allows him to relax a little, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. Has got up his robo, and yeah, it's just take things slowly. A bunch of these vultures, yeah, I like this, just picking these, keep these, split these off from everything else, and try and get some pro damage maybe. And here we go, gonna move into the main and natural here, and throw down a few mines, just be annoying. No cannons here as well, so let's see what gets done.
Yeah, there's no defense here at all. And there's nothing even out of the gateway, so no reinforcements. Here come 2 Dragoons finally, but it's still 2 Vultures going to be able to get some damage done. Ashen taking some more probe damage. The econ stays low between 2 players, but this does buy enough space and time. Bale's starting their own CC, so it's going to be 2 base versus 2 base. There's still 2 gateways floating around in the middle of the map. Eventually, they'll get taken out, but this does just kind of make things a little bit hard. It's like how much you try to protect these. When are you willing to give them up? But Ashen's done a good job spending the money they have. It's a lot of goons. No flash, not spending money on superfluous things that would slow things down. Just trying to get some decent muscle, and its force is actually pretty intimidating because of it.
Absolutely, and yeah, considering how this game began, I think a lot of pros players after getting their 2 gate scouted would just be like, there's no point playing this out. But Ashen not being deterred and is going to try and play this out as much as he can. Bale pointing down some nice spider mines will actually catch his probe again for the 2nd time, trying to expand, so we'll have eyes and everything. But yeah, it looks like Bale just wants to, like I say, get up his natural expansion and slowly tick things up.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see where this ends up going from here. More factories getting added on, so it's going to be up to 4, but only still 1 machine shop. No armory behind this. I feel like if you're going to sit back and get a little more comfortable, I want armories. I want to see those upgrades rolling for Bale. Get that nice, strong army, or you got to set up to get a big push going. You're buying a lot of time for Ashen. We saw it happen in Game 2. You gave him time to establish, and this Protoss comfort kind of kicked in, got him into the late game, put him in a really good spot, so... I don't want to see the same kind of strategy for Bale where he gets a nice advantage early and then just sits on it for far too long. We've seen enough games of that tonight where someone throws away an advantage they had no reason to.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
And yeah, we'll have to see if Bale has learned his lesson from this. Really, is I don't know. I can respect Theo. He did try the early push out and getting siege tanks caught off. It's hard, but yeah, actually slipping in another vulture, which is always nice, and we'll get more damage, which I guess will force a reaction from Ashen. But good pro damage, and yeah, Bale himself getting up to 35 SCVs now. But yeah, this is, I don't know, and I'm not overly sure. I guess getting up, yeah, as we see here, more factories and stuff like that is the way to play, and just try and get a huge force and just try and go for the bust. I think.
I mean, yeah, I don't think that's a problem at all. You can definitely hit before Protoss is going to have the tech. Everything got slowed down very significantly. And if nothing else, at least push out and get rid of those gates in the main. It's 2 gateways of reduction you could start eliminating. I'm seeing a lot of scans going down, checking out some of these other potential bases. Scans the main and a bunch of stuff over the other locations. I don't think he actually saw the attempt at the 3rd base from Ashen, which is now pylon walled. It's going to be hard for Bale to actually push out and punch this, but if they just want to gear up and keep building up for a while, I don't think that's a bad idea. If you're going to wait, like, get armories. If you're going to push, this is fine, but you have to push if you're not getting armories.
Absolutely. Window will close without those upgrades behind it, and meanwhile, Protoss getting the first +1 is on the way, but again, we'll just have to see what goes on here. There is a huge Dragoon force though here, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger, and will make it harder for this mech force to really deal with much, really. But yeah, game slowing down much slower than I expected. I expected like all action from the beginning after seeing this, but yeah, both players opted not to go insane, which is commendable. And yeah, we see a small move out at last. Few siege tanks starting to slowly creep forward, and let's see if this is just positioning maybe to try and take a 3rd base or something like this, or whether this is going to be a hard meal to attack. You can point down some mines. There's not enough zealots though, really, and I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what goes on here. Siege is up, and we'll sort of control this sort of space well. So if Bale does want to take this 3rd base, this absolutely can be done. Ashen clearing out a few of the mines that have been scattered around, and he's looking maybe to take a 4th expo. So trying to repeat from last game, get mass expansions, and he knew that was the winning formula. So why not try and repeat it?
Yeah, I mean, this is just target the same kind of game. Now, if you see Bale, he's slowly bleeding out. If you get to secure that next base, I guess that's cool, but without the upgrades to back this up, like you shouldn't be trying to play the long game. That's why I kept like saying, it's like I want to see armories, or he's gonna have to commit to this attack. I
Yeah.
like him moving out now. It's before Arbiter Tech's gonna really kick in at all. He's seizing up here. A lot of these tanks too far away from the fight, and a lot of vultures getting killed off. Ashton has all dragoons, no zealots to kind of back this up. Zealot speed just being started now, so this is definitely an opportunity. Bale could really push far forward without that power unit to kind of slow down this tank push. He's just got to commit to actually doing it. And the fact that you don't see any zealots, you should be like, as Terra, just like, yes, I want to move forward. It's gonna be so great. But he's actually not doing it. Look, these vultures being pulled away from the army, getting eliminated. That's going to slow down the push every time this happens.
Yeah, I guess from Bale's position here, I mean, he's cleaned off a lot of dragoons here, but not enough to just move and win, but more just do this slow sort of leapfrog position. And it's going to be hard to try and attack this fake high ground if we can get more siege tanks here. But it looks like Ashen trying to anticipate this will try and move his dragoon force in ready. But we'll have to see if he can get this done or not.
Oh, say more factories getting added on, more vultures. So still no upgrades, still an attempt to take the third base. He's going to be able to reinforce the vultures and keep this push going. He just got to keep the tanks alive. But look how many are so far behind. I just want him to slow down a little bit. Stop having the vultures so far ahead of everything else. But this is buying plenty of time. Ashen is going to be able to finish that Zealot leg speed really soon. Get some more rounds of Zealots up as well. It's going to be hard to actually engage this. You can see the pylon walls to the natural. It's going to make it hard to get a nice little concave, especially since Bale's moving through this little third base with that wall on the right side. It makes it hard to really deal with. But Ash did have these other bases established. Bale's moving forward. We're going to see who's going to make that first move first or take an engagement. It's a little sloppy. There's so many tanks not at the front, though. Actually, bouncing at a great opportunity. Going to be able to kill off a bunch of things for relatively low cost.
There we go. It's starting to kill things back. Not getting too much done, though. Has to respect it. Has to move back, but yeah, push has been slowed a bit, but yeah, it just needs to bring all these siege tanks forward and just really sort of secure this position. A few one Zealot and the Dragoon trying to come find something behind, but definitely can't find any purchase here.
Yeah, I just want things to be a little bit closer together so everything's covering a little bit more. Everything's very spread out. You can see the tanks rush forward, they're getting sieged, basically in Dragoon range, so the Dragoon's going to try to pounce on it. There's not enough Zealots to actually fight this, but all these tanks at the front, they're getting eliminated again. Trading the units between both sides back and forth. Here comes the Zealot reinforcements. But the Vultures are still alive. They're going to be able to make mincemeat of this. And that's a much better win for Bale, in a much better position. But remember those gateways in the middle. Here comes the reinforcements from behind, just for fun, because it keeps happening. But I don't think it's going to be enough to really slow us down from Bale. This army is getting a lot of work done, and Ashen's most of the supply is in pros spread across 4 bases.
Absolutely. The Everlasting Gateway is still, as you say, being useful here, but sieging this natural, as soon as that goes down, it's going to be even trickier. And again, controlling this fake high ground here, it's going to be very hard to assault this opposition. Getting the mines down, really good here for Bale, and even going up his own third base behind this, it's sitting pretty on this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad this attack is doing well. Look, finally some Vultures going to that center base. They're going to kill off that pylon, if nothing else, just to make sure. But hey, there's some Vultures coming up. They're going to trigger those mines, maybe slow down the Vultures. But the attack goes through with the natural. The pros got pulled long ago, but all these pylons killed off, everything at the wall. So Bale can keep moving forward. There's some nice little mines behind it, too. So it's going to be hard to get any kind of flank from anything. But he gets control of the natural. It's going to be hard to get units out on the map, and he can start setting off hit squads on some of these other bases, or just kind of go for the throats, even get in the main.
Absolutely. And I guess from this position, you know that all the production is in the main. There's no real reason to go for the juggler. I guess if you want to, you're feeling really confident, but I would just siege up in this sort of position, scout around, see like this third and fourth base, and just take that off. And as soon as you've cut off the minerals for the Protoss, there's not much that can be done here. Finally, this pylon will die. Well, surely it'll die. Oh my god, these Zealots are going to clean up again.
Dude, that pylon's never going to die. It tried so hard, and I like that. Like, I love that Pros buildings go to fire. They don't burn down like Terran buildings. That's fun. But, hey, look at these 2 tanks. They're up at that 11 o'clock base. There's only pylons here. There's not even cannons to defend this. So they're eventually going to work their way through. Bale still has plenty of army available. A good foothold outside that natural, and he's going to pull back some units, look for these other bases, start shutting things down. So I like everything we're seeing. Finally, Armory's going down, and another CC being made. So they'll move, did the damage they need to, moving towards the next step in the game, and trying to close out Game 3 cleanly.
Absolutely, absolutely. Spotting this third base is massive. This is the next arm of the production, and if you can cut this off as well, it's going to be huge here. Tank's still picking off this pylon wall ever so slowly, and I imagine we'll start to move up and clean off this third base. Start sieging this fourth as well, and one DT, that's all you need. But nope, a scan comes out, does pick it off, but one's better than one DT, two DTs, but a second scan does go down. Will there be a third? It looks like not. But yeah.
I would love that 6 gateways and just staggered DT so you can't scan them all at once. That'd be so freaking good. But Ashton's had enough. Ball's done enough to secure the game 2-1. And a nice, hard-fought series. A lot of interesting strategies. But that does give the win for Team IKEA up to 7 points now. 7-3 over Amigos. Starting to run away with the series.
Absolutely.
You guys are bullies, man. Give them a chance.
It's funny because we had a lot of discussions within the team throughout the season, and Tier 2 had struggled a bit throughout the regular season. Like, there was a lot of inactivity, especially in Tier 2.
Your whole team didn't win the regular season. You smurfed us. You're smurfing us.
But yeah, Tier 2, as I know for this week, worked very, very hard. Worked exceptionally hard, and there was a lot of Tier 1s helping them out, as they should be, Tier 0s and the coaches, and just, did everything to try and help out. And it looks like they pulled it off this week. Definitely, getting that lead, and very happy for Bale there. Very, very happy, getting a good, solid victory, I'd say. And a variety of builds, like you say. I'm still surprised Ashen went for that Proxy 2 gate, but full respect for trying it.
Yeah. I mean, it's all reasonably fine. It's hard, man. When you get a scout, you're like, God damn it.
I'm doing it in the final game as well. Yeah. It's all eggs in one basket, but Ashen still played it out. Yeah,
made a game of it. It was definitely close. But we're going to move into that last game of the series. If you guys are having a good time watching us cast the finals, remember we got 2 more days heading up, tomorrow and Tuesday. So we're just doing rapid fire consecutive nights, probably around the same start time each night, 7 p.m. EDT. So be here tomorrow. I think the blind's going to start picking up the slack a little bit as we get to the higher tiers of plays. He's going to know what's going on. And I promise you guys, there's at least a little bit of TVT action. I know you want some of the blind TVT insight. You guys are excited, but I hope you guys are having a good time. You can subscribe to the channel. There's a Ko-fi link. Follow the channel. Be in the Discord. Blah blah. You know all of this crap. I've said it all season long. But let's get into the final game of the night.
Indeed. Kicking off game between a Bug and Mean Seed. So ZVZ to clean this off, and hopefully things aren't as quick as we saw before. So changing over the overlays, and here we go. In the top right, we have a Bug for Team IKEA build orders, and in the bottom left, Mean Seeds. And I'm excited for this matchup. Actually, I played Mean Seeds in RSL in August, and he was a very, very strong ZVZ player. So we'll see how Bug can stand up to him here. Bug was actually a substitute in this match as well, I believe. I think we had Saden lined up, but he unfortunately injured his wrist, and Bug coming in clutch, stepped in last minute, and really, really helped here.
Oh wow, that's fantastic. I've definitely seen Saden a couple times throughout the season, so it would have been nice to see them play. But you know what? When substitutes can rise to the call, this is how you become the legend, Buenaventura. Like, I don't know if you guys know about that legend, but the legendary Tier 3 Zerg that's the substitute for a Tier 1 game and won anyway.
Oh
like,
my God,
legend.
Stuff, absolutely, stuff of legend. And it's one of those things that we still talk about, Remember that time when Tier 3 beat Tier 1? Oh my God. And it's also made, I'm a Tier 1 player myself, kind of, I don't know, sort of, but it's like, if that happens to me, I'd be holding my head in my hands at that point. Anyway, moving to the game at hand. Looking for a quick hatchery here. So this looks like it might be this 1099, the ever famous build, but I thought, listening to what you're saying, Zero, I'm putting the hatchery in the main though.
Yeah, I think that's the way you should be doing it. Because if you're doing it like this early, you're trying to get the early lengths. Why are you planning to the game to go long enough where you need 2 gases? Like you don't. You just don't.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yep, here comes the rest of the build. And whereas it looks like Mean Seeds just decided to get up his 9 pull and gonna get gas, looks like he's gonna go for early lings here. And yeah, I'm really interested to see how this, because I practiced a bit with a bug for CPL this season, and I know he struggled versus this sort of build, so we'll have to see if he can hold on here.
We're seeing a pretty aggressive opener. It is the hatchery. There's a pool, gas behind it for a bug. Mean Seeds is getting that early speed, rush into it instead of lair with their early thing, and they're going to move out 6 lings. I see in the chats, Return does not like hatchery in base. What about you, Camo? You're a Zerg player. What do you think of it?
I never put it in the main, I have to admit. I don't know. It feels like, I don't know, there's a lot to it. I also learned from Return this build, so I kind of follow his lead. He is the master in this, but...
Well, you gotta remember, I'm a Pro player. Tell me to shut the fuck up. I don't know what I'm talking about. It just makes sense to me, because every time I see it go down, it just becomes a point of easy contention for the other player. Especially if they're going for lanes, it's just easy point that you can start attacking at. And you take a look here, a bug has more lings back here, means he's gonna try to do what they can, but the speed's about to finish, and their lair's about halfway done. A bug pulled guys off the gas, so they're kind of committing to staying on lengths here. Their speed's on the way, significantly behind. Mean Seeds just finishing up, lair about 60%. Trying to take the engage, but the speed doesn't make you have more lengths here. So losing a couple lengths for free, unfortunately, and no reinforcements. They're actually blocking off the ramp back at home, just trying to occupy a bug's time.
This is it. And actually, Mean Seeds not moving out here. I don't like this. You see that your opponent has no lair. He's pulled off gas, got 2 hatcheries. You know it's it's full lings. There's no point trying to flood in more here. It's going to be a losing battle. And yeah, Mean Seeds keeping a few lings to run about, but yeah, this is the correct thing to do here. But pull back. You've got your lair on your way. Get up your spire. Hold things off, I think.
Yeah, that's speed for a bug just finishing up now. Spire on the way. That placement is pretty hard. There's a lot less surface area to attack. I'm not sure if that's exactly what you're looking for in some of these spots. Here in the creep colony as well to kind of keep reducing things. But here comes a bug trying to break up the ramp. It means he says plenty of lings. They're going to be able to hold this off. But don't stop moving around, man. Just block the ramp. You didn't give them an opportunity to work their way through. As more lings show up, I think the engage is going to happen here. Spire is about 40% done. Is Bug going to be able to break through and get damage done before it's too late? That creep didn't get morphed to a sunken, and Bug's in the base now.
It's unfortunate here, but not the end of the world. It's Mulling's flooding in though, and yeah, this is going to be tricky. It needs the sunk to finish, and we'll have to probably bring drones to deal with this. And suddenly there's a lot here, and bigs around, but Bug not feeling too confident about it. But he's controlling the space, but he sees the spire, and he knows that he's on the clock here. He needs to do something.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to choose the path that you never want to choose. Here comes that Evo chamber. You're going to have to just work towards Spore, slow things down the best you can. But look at these lanes trying to get that free attack on the extractor. Even taking the damage from the sunken, they don't care. They do get the extractor. It slows down the gas income. And look at Mean Seeds. That's a 290. That's 2 mutas, not 3. So that's actually kind of nice. Just slowing things down a little bit here. So good little move from a bug. So even though losing lengths to do it, keeps the pressure on, and this buys time for some creep qualities. That will be spores back in the main.
Absolutely, and every drone is so important in this. And you can see now it means it's going down to 5 drones. Had to build another sunken colony. Had to rebuild this extractor, and all of that is just costing so much. And it's tricky. One mutant does come out here now, but you know the economy hasn't stopped here for a bug, and he can just continue to flood lings if he really wants to. Muta are actually passing these lings completely. Second one too, and this could be unfortunate. Nothing blocking the ramp, and here Bug looks like he wants to go for it. And yeah, these Muta are going to find lots of spores in the main.
Yeah, I mean, it's these mutas aren't going to get a lot done. There's only the 2 of them available. The gas did get finished, but the gas really hasn't been mined so much for Mean Seeds, so he's not accumulating a lot more mutas behind this. You can see the mutas in the main trying to get something done, but they're in spore range. They get killed off, like 1 free kill, the one's at 5 health, so That is the threat of the Muta's gun. Now they're just sling defense until they heal up and reaccumulate. And the bug, look at that. So many drones behind this, now working towards the lair. That economy is looking so good for a bug. And Meatsies is in trouble. There's no two ways around it. They just didn't have enough economy. Too many drones made the buildings or got killed from that early ling attack.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, as we've talked before, bug not going into that tunnel vision of spamlings and doing nothing, don't pull off gas completely, is choosing to try and even the game, really. And I don't know, I feel like moving back is, I don't know, you're giving Mean Seeds every chance you can to get something in. But I don't know, I would highly doubt that this natural will finish. But we'll see.
Oh God, so here comes that. It's like, hey, let's get that one. I want to get gas, and now look at the bug because it's down there without any sunkers to help out, no protection at all. You can easily just make the choice. There's a couple mutas here, but it's still not going to be too much damage. Forced to cancel on the hatchery means he's not going to get that extra larva.
Oof.
And they're going to have to spend what they have here. They still have larva they're not spending here. There's 3 sets of lings, not mutas. I'm not really sure about that one. But you know what? It's still repelling a bug. He's going to get that expansion of his own up. He's going to be up to 3 hatchery.
Yeah.
And now with the spire on the way,
Yeah.
means he's got to get something to happen soon, or he's just going to be behind in every way you can imagine.
Absolutely. It looks like these mutants might want to try and harass the natural, but he needs to defend your main at this point. 6 lings is not going to defend against this 8-ling force, and yeah, again, controlling space. Mutants starting to slowly pick away this, but Spire is on the way for Bug here, and a huge spell of lings. Bug knows that, Mean Seeds is on nothing here, and yeah, just needs to really move in again.
Yeah, this is just going to be rough. It's so many more lanes going in. And because Mean Seeds has to be so careful, you can't control the ramp.
Absolutely.
So Bug has shit in the main. You already got to be worried about that. But look at this. Another 12 moving across here for a Bug. So big flank opportunities. Lane's going to get cleaned up without too much issue. There's 1 muta here to help defend a couple lanes. There's only the 2 Sunkage, really. If you can get in there and get some decent engage. But if nothing else, you're forcing Mean Seeds to stay back at home. This 2 muta force is not going to kill a hatchery time before that spire does finish. It's trying to hurt the creep colony best it can. That actually, I'm not sure the math on, maybe for that.
Maybe,
but
yeah.
it's still, Bug's got these lings. They're not being super active. The muta's going to start working on them. So want to see a decision made. The decision is actually just going to be, let's start making mutas, get control of the air instead.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Does this happen? Does 2 mutas stop a spore like this?
Yeah.
It's so... Come on!
There you go. The age-old question: how many mutas do you need to kill a spore? Well, 2 isn't nothing when it's morphing, but yeah, here we go. We'll see. I mean, the natural expansion is still going to survive here for a bug, and another spore going to be thrown down. But yeah, this should shoo it away. And
now the mutas can show up. They're like, hold on, you're not doing this crap again. So the muta's going to be able to push that back. We're seeing 6 sets of lings being made. A bug retreats with a ton of mutas off the side, maybe looking for another spare expansion or some kind of move, wondering why Meat Seeds feels comfortable to be in the game. But a lot of lings being made back at home, more mutas as well. And now back to drones, so really a bug's just kind of ahead on all fronts. Extra hatcheries, extra base, better air control, and has the defense for the only thing Meat Seeds can really use at this point, which is those mutas.
Absolutely. And yeah, got a hand to it, but playing a very, very clean game, knowing his advantages, knowing what to do, and just, yeah, not giving Mean Seeds a chance.
Yeah, really closing off every option here just to make sure that Mean Seeds doesn't have anything. And Mean Seeds knows it's over. There's just too much here, and that's going to be a bug taking game 1.
Very, very nice. Very, very clean game to kick things off. And yeah, let's see if Bug can replicate things moving into the second game. Let's update the scores here. Bug taking 1 game. That's well deserved. And yeah. So let's host up the next game, wherever it may be. I think, yeah, just nearly rehosted game 1 again. That would have been highly confusing, but
and we're back on a clip for round 2, the rematch, the salty run back. Man, you can sell it. You just gotta turn on the radio voice. You can say whatever you want, man.
That's it. If you've got the voice, and yeah, you can say whatever you like. Anyway, Moving on to the next game, we've got game 2 between Bug and Mean Seeds. So let's get things underway.
Sounds good. I'm excited to see this one. Hopefully, Mean Seeds ties it up. We can end the night with a game 3.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, top right, we've got a Bug taking that first victory, as we saw. And then bottom right, we've got Mean Seeds representing Amigos. And it looks like Mean Seeds will get the scout with the Overlord, so that always feels good in ZVZ when you can pull this off. But yeah, we'll have to see what both players want to do. No 5-falls this game, unfortunately. So
that would be insane on a 4-player map like Polypoid. That would actually be insane.
Look, man, we've seen everything tonight. I want everything. Okay, I want 5 pools on 6-player maps if they exist. I don't know if that actually exists in Broodwell, but whatever, man. I want to see it all.
I mean, I'm sure there's 6-player Blizzard maps, and I know you don't want to play them. You don't want to play that.
I do admit, yeah, I didn't play Broodwell until like last year actually, but I've seen some of the maps from the older days, and I do count my blessings that I wasn't part of that period playing on some terrible, terrible maps.
No, man, I have fond memories of playing against some of those Blizzard official maps. There's a map I remember. I was like, "Oh, this map's so cool!" And I looked at it like recently. It's no ramps, and their first 3 bases all don't have gas.
Oh my! Oh my!
I was like, "What
God,
the hell
oh
is this?"
My God, Jesus Christ! Madness.
It's actually insane, but I liked it for some reason. We're not going to talk about why and how good zealots are that don't cause gas.
Oh my God! Yeah, we're Zerg over here, unable to get any link speed or anything like that. My God! My God! But moving to this game, we see
mirrored openings.
Yeah, very, very good, very, very good. And this is it's gonna be awkward. We see both players probably gonna get the gas as well. No gas as of yet. Is Bug gonna expand? That's bold, very, very bold. But yeah, typically with 12 pool, you want to see 12 pool, 12 gas, and then an expansion. But you know, you do you, Bug. Feeling comfortable that you can expand, and it's a 4-player map, but unfortunately this Overlord will come in and spot everything, and everything is laid bare, whereas we see Mean Seeds is going to get this later expansion, but has got his gas up much earlier.
Yeah, I was about to ask, why is Mean Seeds Overlord turning around like he's playing like PvZ? He's like, all right, I'll hide over the cliff now. No, go in that main, see what the hell's going on.
Absolutely. So looks like Mean Seeds will have this first 100 gas out, and we'll have to see if he is making links. So I expect he wants to go for link speed. I would be, yeah, there we go. Would be very, very surprised if they want to. So it's going to be link battles, and it's going to be see who can pull off what. With the extra expansion coming up quicker, I guess you'll have more lava to pump things out. So defense advantage could be a thing here. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I think absolutely will be. Mean Seeds will have the speed advantage, so you'll be able to reinforce later. In a Bug, they do have enough gas; they can start investing in something. And I'm curious to see if it is going to be link speed or just willing to be defensive, going for lair. Mean Seeds actually the first one to lair as well, so a Bug having a lot of gas but not spending it either way so far ends up being link speed, so just a little slower behind, but has more larva to work with, a little bit faster. So we'll see what ends up happening in this game, as the look for both players look very similar. And there's that lair. Just things are a little bit slower for a Bug, unfortunately.
Yeah, the stress of the situation, but you know, trying to keep things up, keep catching. But Mean Seeds definitely playing a bit of a cleaner game up to now, but you know, not being too crazy. He has got a lot of links here, but sees everything that's going on, knows that the lair is on the way, and will start to move down here. And I don't know, this is gonna be funky. Not sure if a Bug is going to move out. Yeah, it will start to move out, and this is all going to come down to the link positioning, really, for Mean Seeds. See, this is something I know Mean Seeds likes to do. Just split up a few links off here and go around, but taking a very, very long path there. But might get caught with his trousers around his ankles, unfortunately.
Yeah, this is going to be rough. And unfortunately, Mean Seeds retreated the Overlord at the base. Didn't see that Bug is not mining gas anymore, even though there's a lair on the way. Like, does not know, so should be fully expecting it's going to be all links. Bug going to get the better engaged since Mean Seeds half his force on the map right here. Cleans up all these links super quickly. It's just going to go for that natural hatchery instead. I think it's an opportunity to go kill a bunch of drones too. There's Spire's attempt to be made, but nowhere near done. Mean Seeds got links in the base, so it's going to be chaos. And both players going to have a lot of damage they can get done. hatchery goes down, Bug's going to start killing drones, but you're also getting drone kills as far as mean seeds. Slightly better drone micro from a Bug trying to survive. And Sunken, he won't be able to be completed. I'm not quite sure. Both sides taking massive damage as this goes through, but a Bug gets some reinforcements, trying to help a little bit back here. The creep colony's not sunken, not even close, but there's no defense for mean seeds. Everything's eliminated. I think a Bug got a better end of the trade.
My word, my word. What a chaotic game, what a chaotic game. Again, it just feels like if Mean Seeds hadn't moved out with those lings at the wrong time, unfortunately would have had a lot more to defend with there, and maybe the whole game would have gone completely different, but it's the way ZVZ goes sometimes. Sometimes it's you lose your base, man, and that happens.
Yeah, I really think if Mean Seeds kept the Overlord in there, was paying attention, you wouldn't see. You'd be like, you have a lair with no gas.
Absolutely.
What are you doing? It has to be lanes. You just be defensive. You force your opponent.
Absolutely, absolutely. But there we go, a Bug closing things out 2-0, very, very clean, and making things look very, very nice there. And yeah, I don't know, but Team IKEA pulling out today, only dropping one game, and yeah, roaring head, roaring head.
Yeah, things looking pretty good so far. We're closing out the night with Team IKEA at 8 points, and Amigos at 3. So a big lead moving into day 3, where we're going to finish up the last set of Tier 2 and start our way to Tier 1. Remember, 11 wins takes the series and becomes a CPL champion. So make sure you're here tomorrow, see if IKEA can close it out, or if we're going to get a very exciting finale.
Well, I have faith. I'm always excited to see more of my players get casted, and I don't know, I'm not casting after this point, so I won't be able to hype up my players on the caster anymore. But
I know exactly what you want to say. I'll do it for you. Don't worry.
I'll give you a script beforehand. Don't worry, don't worry. But yeah, no, it's been a pleasure, and good casting with you as always. Say Zero. So I guess we'll close off the cast for the night. Thanks for everyone in chat joining. And, yeah, have a wonderful rest of the day, and yeah, tune in tomorrow, as Sate says, for more action moving on to the tier 1 side of things.
Yeah, it's gonna be at least in the blind, maybe other people. And hold on. We got a raid for you guys too. You got the viewership here. You guys like Jayun, right? You're not done watching Zerg. Let's raise some Jayun. So hang around. We'll give him support, and then we'll see you tomorrow, 7 o'clock.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, give Joey my love. He is a very, very good Zerg, and love him, love that guy. So yeah, thanks guys, and see you later.